What is up, Friday Nighters? Welcome back to another episode of Just Another Friday Night. I am one of your two hosts, CM Chuck. To my right is Double A Adamantium Adam.
What's up, everyone?
Can we hear us? Do we sound?
Yeah, I can.
Or do we sound muffled? I don't know. Let me mess with our volume here. That's a little better.
There we go.
That's better.
There we go.
Yeah. When we do the little countdown thing, it like comes out really loud in our headphones, so it's like blows our head off, and then when we get here, so. All right, y'all. So you might be saying, but it's not Friday night, CM Chuck. Why are you here with us? But you know us. If we don't mess with the schedule a little bit, then it wouldn't be us, right? But the real reason is because tomorrow is my 40th birthday. So Double A said you should be home, be with fam. Although he is family, you know what I mean? But I was like, all right, I guess you're right. I'll spare myself a little bit of people getting on me by not being home for my birthday.
Because I think we got some shit last year about it. Because it wasn't, his birthday wasn't on a Friday, but he did spend it here on Friday, and I think everyone was like, hey, where you at?
Where you at? Yeah.
And I think it was a late one.
It was a late one. Probably was a late one, yeah. You know, which... I would rather be nowhere else than on Just Another Friday Night on my birthday, and I had completely intended to do the show tomorrow. You know what I mean? But alas, Double A put this forward, and we know it was last minute, so we're sorry for everyone that is expecting us tomorrow, but we're here now, so you will get to hear it afterwards. Again, on YouTube, if you hit subscribe, you get a little bell whenever we put a new episode up, so you'll get that tonight. And some people will probably look at their phone and go, "What the hell?" Like,
hey, you know what, Joe? There's no football games on tonight, buddy.
Oh, there's no Thursday night game tonight?
I don't think so. It's always Friday that he's always...
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Oh, he's probably watching the NFL, though. Thursday night football. Who's playing tonight?
It's Washington and New York. Come on now.
Oof. Come on. Nobody wants to watch that trash fest right there.
Just put that shit on mute in the background.
That's his older brothers' teams right there.
That's my team's rivals. So.
Yeah, I have a lot of those guys in my fantasy league, and I'm getting ready to just dump all Giants, Jets, and Washington football team players.
Speaking of football, man, what do you think? First weekend,
Monday. It was good. I mean, my Pats lost, but by one. But you know, Mac Jones had a good, I guess, showing. You know, except for that fumble at the end. You know what I mean? But. What are you gonna do?
The Raiders Baltimore game.
Yeah,
lead at Vegas Stadium.
Yeah. How about Rodgers in the?
Man,
no one saw that coming.
Nobody.
I don't think anybody picked the Saints with Winston there. You know, new QB, right? You're like, you know, except
yeah, man. But you know what? I should have known that. What's his name? What's the coach's name?
Peyton. Sean Payton.
Sean Payton, man. He can do wonders with fucking QBs. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's all maybe Winston needed.
Maybe so.
Maybe he just needed the right fucking coach.
How about him having the best running back, Camaro, right now?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Hey, my girlfriend's youngest son, you know, Jeremy or whatever, is a huge Saints fan, as is Chris Rizzo of Invincible Comics and More.
Okay.
Rizzo,
okay.
Steve is here. Cheers, Steve. Yeah, Riz sent me a picture of his baby. His baby even has a baby. Talking about you, Rizzo. Your ears are burning. His baby has a onesie thing of the Saints, like the diaper cover thing. I don't think your baby's a baby anymore, right, Riz? But yeah, they're big Saints fans, so I'm sure he was extremely pleased with the outshowing.
Yeah.
We have a Packers fan in our group, so he was on suicide watch. We were like, well.
Ooh.
We know, yeah. Who dat? There he goes, right there, Rizzo.
That was bad.
For sure, man. Yeah, I mean, like that. I was like, ouch. That's got to be tough to take there. So, but hey, he was unhappy, right? They say he's unhappy, so I don't know if that's sending a message.
Man, you don't want to send the message to the other league teams, you know?
Right.
Like, now you're just gonna fucking throw the games? Okay,
yeah.
You know?
Man, yeah. I know he fucked up some people's fantasies real bad. Like, that is like a nightmare showing.
Yeah. Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah.
So, pretty fun.
Riz says she's 9 now. So the picture you sent me, obviously very old, but it was still very cute. So
it was really nice to have football back again. I know everyone's testosterone just shot up like crazy. So, man, real good Sunday. Thursday game was great. Sunday game was great. You know, great. And Monday's, you know, game was fucking awesome.
It even got me rewatching. Thank you for your Hulu, but one of my favorite shows, The League. We got so much talking about fantasy last week.
Yeah.
The League is such a hilarious show, man.
I didn't realize until I was speaking. We'll get into it, but why The Last Man? There's a lot of good shit on Hulu. I was like, wow, there's really a lot of good shows on there.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be shy about it, but I've been making use of you're letting me use your login or whatever. Hulu, don't come after us. Steve says my Ags won. Way to go, Steve. I don't know is the Aggies have a sign too?
No,
down. It's down, sure. Right? The down.
Is it? Okay.
I don't know. Give it. Is it guns? I don't know. That's the Red Raiders. Sorry, Steve. College. You gotta help me out. Riz says didn't expect him to get outshined by Jameis, but I'll take it. Hey, there you go. Yeah, man. Yeah. So, but yeah, I was Lucky from the Dork Dad podcast, and probably more famously now for the Now Watch This with Lucky and Joe podcast. No, I'd say they're equal fame, the Dork Dad podcast.
Well,
Lucky's podcast.
Now Watch This though is just producing more.
Yeah, that's right.
Producing way
more consistent content.
Yeah.
We give that credit to Joe for sure because he is
I can't
committed to the cause.
The last episode he actually had on the
Dork Dad. Yeah, it's been a while. Been a little while or whatever, but he has some really cool episodes.
Yeah, including
he
does
the Just Another Friday Night podcast.
So. No, he does for sure. It's just man, I think that Now Watch This is kind of taking more priority over.
Yeah,
it's like when you have two bands, right? You're a solo act and you have a band, right? It's kind of like, well, which one's my moneymaker? Which one's
for sure.
Yeah. So
yeah. Well, it's been good stuff, and I'm trying to remember the reason why I brought that up. Lucky suggested on their Facebook group, the Watchers, Now Watch This Watchers, that I watch that people watch Reservation Dogs. Now I didn't have access to that, but it's on your Hulu, so I started watching. It's about 6 episodes in.
How is
it's
that?
Funny. It's really funny.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
It's neat. Native Americans on the reservation, and it's a comedy spin on it or whatever.
Steve Martin Short.
That does look good.
That
Selena Gomez too.
Yeah, Selena Gomez.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind checking it out.
I want to check that one out, so I'll probably be watching that.
And the cool thing is that you see like some of the commercials or whatever on there for the other shows that. So I see
well, because the Hulu package I got was like the one with slight commercials. They add on like another $1 or $2 for no commercials. I was like,
well, it's not bad at all. It kind of makes you feel like I'm watching like TV, like regular TV or whatever.
Not just that, but if I do need to take a piss, I mean, all right,
yeah,
cool.
Exactly. And it still has all the cursing.
Yeah.
So
That's
good to me.
Yeah,
so.
It keeps all that.
Yeah, but
but MASH is on there. I love MASH. Smallville's on there, so I'm like, oh, cool. I've been watching Smallville episodes too, so I was like, cool. So it's
very cool. Yeah, that's right. Smallville's on there. Yeah. Steve says Horns got jacked by their first SEC team and some laughing faces. I guess now we can see the emojis finally. That's cool.
Okay. Yeah.
Rich says, "What's up, guys? What's up, Rich? Oh, Rich. Double A, go ahead. It's your turn. Your turn.
Man, what the hell is that about?
Yikes, man.
What's up with the coach, man?
I don't know. Who's that QB? They got.
Carson, I think.
Oh man, yeah. So nobody was going to say nothing, Rich. It's only fair.
He sent you a message.
Happy early birthday, Sir God bless. Thank you so much, my friend. I greatly appreciate that. And Jason in the house from Honda. What's up, Jason? We appreciate you being here, brother.
Coach got there, right?
Hey, yeah. Well, see, I saw it on my fantasy, and I was like, ooh, but. I said, Rich, will he bring it up
Carson
or not?
Wentz. Yep.
Yeah, Carson Wentz. Yep. Yeah. He's not performing at that Eagles
doesn't have
caliber
Nick Foles anymore.
Yeah, man.
Save his ass.
I don't know. I just talked to the guy that he does. Actually, I'm not supposed to say, but anyway, he does this thing with like our cable at the house or whatever. It's not really cable. It's like a TV monitoring whatnot. Anywho, all that aside, he's a Redskins fan or whatever, or Washington football team fan. He was telling me how he wanted, he was hoping to get pick up Cam Newton after the Pats got rid of him, and I was like, that might have been a good fit.
Seriously thought Washington was going to go because of Rivera.
Yeah.
Because he worked with him.
Right.
He knows the man.
And they went to Super Bowl together.
And they won the Super Bowl, but I don't know, maybe Rivera is like, he's not the same guy anymore.
I'm good.
But I seriously thought my brother was hoping they were going to get Cam.
Yeah.
And nope.
I mean, it seemed like Belichick couldn't do nothing with him, so it makes you wonder, like, did he need to be with the kind of a coach that he had worked with already, that they could know each other? You know what I mean?
Yeah, nothing there. Nothing there.
It is what it is. Thank you so much, Steve. I greatly appreciate that. Steve, I've been seeing people post from my former workplace that they're back in the office. So I don't know if that pertains to you or not, but that's kind of cool. I guess maybe a little sign of things getting back to normal.
Yesterday, right, was Amy's birthday.
That's right. Yeah,
Amy,
Untamable Amy,
our guest host,
our leading guest host. If anyone else has more, well, actually, I think she has the only distinction of being the only one to ever actually sit in your spot. You know what I mean, and be the other host.
So it was her birthday. So
yes, happy birthday, Amy. Sis! Cheers to you. The big 3-5. Also, you know whose birthday is tomorrow? Elvira. So that's a big one. And man, sad news, right? Double A from the world of comedy. I feel bad.
Oh.
You've been so good about reporting before me on the Friday Night Faithful that when I report from the page and it lets you share to both, I go look, I'm damn it. I'm double posting. So that's my fault on that, guys. Double A obviously on the ball, posting to the group.
Yeah, actually, I saw it from actually, oh man. Oh, I can't remember. Jesse Campos. Luchador Bar.
Oh, Luchador, yes.
Yeah, actually was like, man, sad news, one of my favorite comedians died. And I was like, ooh. And I was like, holy shit, Norm Macdonald?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, wow. I was like, damn.
My sister's pretty sad because she's a big Norm Macdonald fan. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like Dirty Work might have been the one movie he led, but he's in so much stuff. Yeah, Sandler stuff.
Like, wow. And, Private Battle that he was going through. And, wow.
Yeah.
And, everyone was just flooding with gifts, the Jeopardy shit.
The Jeopardy shit. We're huge fans of that stuff, right? That era.
His weekend updates.
With Norm.
Mm-hmm. And then somebody had posted a really funny clip of him on Conan O'Brien, and he's just ragging on his actors who started in a movie like Carrot Top. And like, I guess he didn't like Carrot Top too much, and he was like, you're gonna. Conan tells the actress like, you're in the movie Untitled, and she was like chairman of the board, and Conan was like, do something with that, big shot, and he was like, I bet board was spelled BORED.
Dude, so classic. That's classic Norm Macdonald.
I guess he was not a fan of Carrot Top because he let this actress have it about that fucking movie.
That looked like back in the day when Carrot Top was probably still a prop comic before he got buffed. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
He was using
that trunk. This was a 90s movie.
Yeah. The trunk of us. Yeah, that was good old classic Conan from back when he was on after Leno. That's when I first started liking Conan. But yeah, Norm Macdonald, man, he has a great cameo in... of all movies, Deuce Bigalow, European Gigolo, the sequel to Deuce Bigalow, Male Gigolo. And his scene in that is so funny. We quote it all the time, but he's supposed to be this man whore, like this Irish man whore, and he looks all like dirty and like old with a cap, and he's doing this thick Irish accent. It's just so fucking funny, man. Like Norm Macdonald, just so funny. But of course, I think of the SNL stuff a lot, and
and then they also showed this really cool clip of him and Adam Sandler. I don't know where they're at. I don't know if they were like on the radio show or something, but apparently he's a huge wrestling fan.
Oh, really?
He was talking about like the old wrestling, like the 70s and 80s.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, holy shit.
I didn't get to see that clip.
He was talking about like the dude doing somersaults off the turnbuckle and everything. I was like, oh, wow. So apparently he was like a huge wrestling fan.
Pretty badass, man.
Yeah, so.
Damn, yeah. So rest in peace, Norm Macdonald.
Tributes up the ass that were coming from everywhere.
Obviously, a lot of people were saddened by that and didn't know, again, like you said,
I was like, wow, okay, taken aback by it. But.
No, for sure. Let's get some comments in here. It says, Jason says, happy birthday. Thank you very much, Jason. I appreciate that.
This might be for you.
I'm sure. Wow, that's a really big news. Another good friend, our good friend Oscar, big podcast buff. I don't know if he's been listening to us or not, whatever, but Oscar, love you, man. And if you're going back, I mean, that's crazy. I'm going to have to do some research on my own after that or whatever. Rich says, very sad news on the loss of a comedic legend for sure. Rizz says he loves the movie Screwed. I forgot about that. I think my sister likes that one too. Dave Chappelle is in that too, yeah. And you love Norm. I think, Rizz, you're the one that I saw had posted the clip with that Double A's talking about him and Courtney Thorne-Smith from Melrose Place. Damn it. Talk about her.
There you go.
She was, seeing her name was a blast from the past. I was like, man, what happened to this chick? She hasn't been anywhere. But, what else? Double A big news was the Hawkeye trailer dropped.
Yeah. Wow.
Dope. I was like, Yeah, like
Yeah.
I love Jeremy Renner as Hawkeye. I'm excited for this show.
I am too, man, and I think they're all for it because it's like they're having their own like 2-3 movies, so they're probably like, fuck yeah,
take that little vehicle and run with it. Because
Yeah.
if you want to do another season, to me the way I see it is like and not that they don't make a ton of money, but Hollywood actors and actors in general are they're independent contractors or whatever. So you know what I mean. It's like steady work can be not necessarily hard to come by or whatever. I mean, but like I have to admit, like Haley Atwell, like I haven't seen her in too much other stuff. I mean, I don't follow her closely, but after the Agent Carter stuff, and I mean now she just did the What If episode, but I haven't seen her.
It's always like Marvel, right? More you just see her Marvel, right?
Right. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that her career is hurting or whatever, but hey, she can probably always be Captain Carter if she wants, or Agent Carter if she wants.
I guess not everyone's like Samuel, right? Samuel Jackson.
Yeah,
I mean, that dude just takes anything, any role.
Man, I'm trying to think who I looked up the other day, and I was like, man, they work a lot. Like they had a lot of roles under their belt, but it was someone that like you really wouldn't think of or whatever, Oh, check this out. I learned this listening to Jerry D's podcast. If y'all know, I was just recently on an episode of Totally Rad Christmas with Jerry Davila. We talked about Pizza Hut in the 80s at the holidays, again, because Jerry's podcast is about Christmas in the 80s, and you're like, Pizza Hut in the 80s? But you probably ate more pizza on Christmas break than you did ham and turkey.
Probably.
You might have even had ham on your pizza.
It's like after the turkey was done, it was like maybe 2 days, and then you're like, all right, let's get rid of this shit. Yeah.
But the reason I bring it up is because I think he said his uncle, I believe, and I'm pretty sure it's uncle. His uncle is the guy in Scarface that gets cut up with the chainsaw in the movie. Yeah, Jerry D from Totally Rad Christmas.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it was like, what the heck? And I looked that guy up.
Angel.
He had a ton of roles. He's in everything.
Yeah.
He's like in every movie with Mexicans in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So a little neat. I didn't know that about Jerry D. That wasn't on our episode. That was on another episode I heard of his.
Holy shit.
But pretty interesting stuff there.
Wow.
Let in the house. Let says hello, handsomes, and happy early birthday. Thank you so much, Let, and hello, beautiful Let, our cousin Let. So, so just a little like fun fact. I was like, what the heck? And I was trying to think of his face, so I had to look him up. And I think that's where I went through his filmography, and he just had like a bunch of roles. You'd be surprised how many people have like a lot of work, and you're just like, I know them, I know their face. When you start watching what our next week's subject is going to be about, there's a couple of people in there I want to talk to you about, because I don't know their names, but when I look them up, I'm like, oh, they have like a lot of shit. You know what I mean? So it's almost maybe better to be. Maybe you're not making the $20 million a movie or whatever, but you're like consistently working. I don't know, unless you don't want to consistently work.
Well, I think that kind of depends on that health insurance shit. Like you do have to put in a certain amount of hours or whatever it is to qualify for that free health insurance that they all have. So.
Right. That's a great point.
I mean, shit. Why not? Why not be a character actor? I would love that. Ned Beatty, character actor.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I don't know if I want to be in the scene from Deliverance, though.
No, but I mean, you got that. You got Back to School. You have Superman. You have Rudy. I mean, shit, that dude was like in a lot of movies,
Well, I was watching The League, right, and I had it on yesterday at my house. A few people came over for my sister's birthday, and Foxy Roxy was looking at it, and she's like, hey, that's so-and-so. And I was like, that guy's somebody? And she's like, yeah, he's in some other, like, movies, I guess, like, from the 80s, like... He's one of the main guys in the league or whatever. And I was like, well, I know some of the other guys. Paul Scheer from obviously has the How Did This Get Made podcast. And then the other guy, his name is escaping me right now. But he's got the show Big Mouth now. It's voice work or whatever, but he's on there. They kind of all got something a career out of that show,
Well, like I finally saw that movie Chef. I don't know if you ever saw it.
John Favreau. Yes. I have not seen it. No,
I liked it. I enjoyed it a lot. And man, there's like so many people that pop up in that movie. Dustin Hoffman comes out.
Wow.
John Leguizamo
comes
out. One of the guys that were kind of talking about that subject. Do you remember the guy who married Scott's wife in Ant-Man?
Yes.
The cop.
Yes.
He's in that movie,
Brian
too.
Posehn.
Yeah, he's in that movie, too. And I was like, he's another guy that I've been seeing a lot lately. He's like one of those guys that we're just talking about. He's in Jumanji, this one, Ant-Man, and, When Trumpets Fade. I'm like, man, that dude kind of comes out in a lot of places.
I think if we're talking about the same guy, I think he used to be a regular.
He's a cop.
In the the
one that Paul Rudd hates. Because he's married to, he was like, of all the guys he married, he had to marry a cop.
Okay, no, I'm thinking of a different guy.
But you'll know. I mean, you know the dude, and he comes out in Chef, and a great movie. It's on Netflix right now.
I need to check it out.
It's pretty fun.
I know he started doing that cooking show based on the chef, and I started watching some of those episodes.
The writing's really good.
Okay,
and it's fucking funny. I was laughing a pretty good amount, So I would say check it out. It's a good movie.
John Favreau is good, and he's got range because I always tell people like,
I'm serious. Yeah, and that's probably one of the better acting movies I've seen him in.
Yeah,
he just kind of lets it all out.
Because he's great in Swingers in that role as kind of like what the young people would call like a simp. You know what I mean? Now, and he is. And that you're like, oh, like I felt for him so bad in Swingers because I was like, that's probably some shit I would do.
Yeah.
But then if you watch him in what's that one where he's the husband? He's actually in that movie. He's married to Jamie Presley or whatever. Like they play a couple. I think it's the one with Knocked Up. I think it's Knocked Up. And he plays like a major asshole, and he is like a major asshole in that movie. And it's like it comes off like I'm like, wow. And even then, they're always like I'm like, how are you with her in this movie? You know what I mean? Like,
I like the dude. He came out like in a kind of like a little story arc in Friends. He was pretty funny in that one.
Okay,
he's like rich that like loves UFC. So he keeps getting his ass kicked like over and over again, So he's funny in that one. Swingers, obviously, he comes out a little bit of Rudy.
Okay,
he's good in that one.
Played a boxer too, right? What boxer?
Marciano.
Oh, he's with Marciano. Yeah. That's right. How was that one? Did you watch that one?
No, I haven't seen it. That's like one of the movies I haven't seen.
Interesting.
And then Four Christmases, man, he was pretty funny in Four Christmases.
He's kind of a dick in that one too, the dick brother or whatever.
Yeah.
So.
But I know they're all cool. It's like him, Vince Vaughn, and even Ralphie from
Joe Pantoliano.
Yeah.
Oh no, that Ralphie.
Yeah, that Ralphie.
Oh, okay.
No, they're all super tight. Like he comes out in that movie.
I had no idea.
They're like a team. So
very cool.
Yeah, because he even comes out in Iron Man 3. Or not Iron Man 3, Spider Man, the Mysterio one. He's the the one that Jeff Bridges gets pissed off at, where he's like, Tony Stark built this in a cage.
And he's like, I'm not Tony Stark.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's fucking Ralphie. Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Man, that guy had a career.
Well, he's a producer, really, and he works a lot. Because they're all tight, he works a lot with Jon Favreau and Vince Vaughn. They're like super tight, all three of them, super tight dudes.
And here I thought Ralphie didn't go into.
He's a big time producer. Big time producer. Yeah.
See, aren't I the fucking out of the loop? Rizz says for Christmases. Jason says, "What's going on this weekend? You know of anything, Double A?" It's my birthday, I know that, but that's actually tomorrow. But I don't know about really anything going on.
Quiet weekend this one.
Yeah, I haven't heard too much of anybody really pushing anything.
But next weekend and probably October is probably the shit. Everything's going to start
Halloween
popping.
stuff, right?
Yeah.
I know there's going to be like a Tim Burton fest.
The ball.
Tim Burton ball. But I haven't heard of anything going on over at Traders. Lou Ferrigno was up the street from us eating that big Lou's. We saw that.
Man, I was like, wow. And even the mayor, our fucking mayor sat with him because he was a big fan.
Yeah,
because he was like a huge fan of Lou Ferrigno. So I was like, cool. And I saw him like one of the pictures. He signed the Big Lou's box.
Big Lou's box. Yeah, pretty sweet,
like,
man. Have the Hulk in your place of business and eat some pizza.
Yeah. And then the mayor too in your place. Shit.
Yeah, it's pretty badass.
Yeah.
What else I got here? Well, we mentioned briefly, but Why the Last Man started. It dropped 3 episodes.
Yeah, which I was surprised at. I was like, holy shit, 3 episodes.
So you think is it gonna be weekly? Do you know, or
it's gonna be every Monday?
Every Monday.
Every Monday after that. So
I feel like you're out of the shop.
3 episodes that about an hour each. I liked it.
I liked it too. I liked it too. It was interesting.
I've never read the book. Shame on me.
Yeah,
I wish I could have.
Yeah.
I think that's just one of those that I just wasn't into at the time. Same like Walking Dead.
Right.
I wasn't into zombies. I wasn't really into like these kind of stories, like the plague stories.
Yeah.
So.
I remember it was consistently talked about, always good. Obviously, Brian K. Vaughan, and he got like, I know he went on to write some stuff for Marvel too, based on like.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but
it was an Image book?
Image.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I might own a couple of issues I bought randomly.
Ass in, huh?
Yeah, they're kicking ass, man.
Invincible.
Yeah.
Walking Dead. Now this one.
Who did I read too that they're gonna option to do a show of somebody like
really?
Somebody's gonna get a show and it was like a random character and I was like, all right, that's pretty cool, whatever. But I think people are kind of getting on the idea that Marvel has with like, oh, we can use these characters not just in a movie but in a show. And
why not? That's probably the best place to go to.
And I think a good thing to do is to get the people that are saying like, yeah, I want to be this character forever. Like, I want to be, I'll keep doing it, Riz says, I don't know if y'all caught that new
Yeah,
What
we
If.
did.
Oh man, super good. Not to talk in detail about it yet, but really good.
We're
We
actually
did.
talking about it before, so yeah, we loved it. We loved the Killmonger character, so it was
Yeah,
a really cool what if.
I loved it. We're definitely going to do in our second part. We'll be talking about that one probably, maybe definitely more in depth, but we might spend a
I
little
think
bit
we
of time
got
on
maybe
that
3
one.
more weeks, right?
Yeah, 3 more weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when we get all those episodes out, the next episode that we do will be. I don't know if we'll do it the same week or the week after. Probably the same week though,
Probably
since it
same
comes out on a
week. Yeah,
Wednesday.
Wednesday, yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to get like hitting it up faster now, whatever the way we did with like Loki. Riz says Oblivion is getting optioned. Is that the video game? Am I missing something on that? I do know. I think I talked a little bit about it, but some new games that were going to come out last week, but like the Wolverine game getting announced,
Yeah, man.
the
Yeah, I saw
Spider-Man
that.
2 game,
Yeah.
and they showed Venom. The new season of Fortnite started. You guys know I do a little Fortnite news, and Carnage is one of the characters. My nephew extremely excited because he
That's
loves
gonna be
Carnage.
hot in a couple of weeks.
Mhm.
That fucking character is gonna be shit hot.
And they moved it up, right? October 1st.
Yes.
It keeps getting moved up a
Yeah,
little bit. So
man, oh man.
there you go, man, right there,
Apparently,
guys.
I guess they were really debating on Shang-Chi if that was going to be a hit or not.
Yeah.
So now that they saw, okay, people
Yeah.
still want to come, let's go ahead and move ours up a little bit. They've already delayed it. It's already been delayed several times.
Mhm.
So, yeah. So it's cool that they're bringing it up. So
And Shang-Chi's still kicking ass, right? It was number
number
3 weeks in a row.
3 weeks in a row.
Good,
yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
But I mean,
it's
it just
risky.
tells you though. I mean, obviously though, the theater business is just hurting. I
Right.
don't know. Like my wife asks me every now and then. She's like, "What's on theaters?" I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah. The last time I did go, which was for Shang-Chi, there was a couple of good things that I wouldn't have minded seeing. Like Free Guy was still there, which I wouldn't mind seeing.
But still,
that.
like we had seen that, so it was kind of like, well, there's not really a whole lot of new movies, and
Yeah.
she's not going to be one for Shang-Chi, so
Right.
it's kind of like,
Right.
so I was like, well, there's really nothing else, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and the HBO's still doing the movies.
Yeah,
Did y'all watch
and-
Malignant?
no, I haven't. No,
I heard terrible things.
Shit, I haven't even watched a Hugh Jackman one.
Oh, okay.
I haven't even seen that one.
It's all right.
And
it was
then,
all right. It was
they
better than
announced-
Malignant, I'll tell you that.
And then they said Matrix is supposed to be same day.
That's
HBO
crazy
Max,
that they
so-
would do that with that. Like, because it's
I guess for them, I guess it's going well. So
yeah. I mean, then that's good. Then Riz also says it's an indie comic. I think that one is from Image 2. Okay, I'm not familiar with that one. Oblivion
song.
Oh,
My
okay.
bad, but yeah, it's a Robert Kirkman. Yeah, if it's Robert
Oh,
Kirkman,
yeah.
that's
I
definitely
mean,
Image.
He's got
He-
free
from-
reign right now. I
From
think.
what I
you
read,
know?
he's the reason why Image is still number 3
Mhm.
and still up there. You
Yeah.
know, still a major publisher.
Yeah.
You know, I always hear it's because of Robert Kirkman. So.
I'm telling you, man. I think they could have easily done probably Invincible live action, and they would have been just as popular and successful. So.
I think so too. So man, apparently he has his own fucking universe. I mean, he's outshining Tom McFarlane.
Oh yeah, I mean
You know,
he's on it, man.
golly,
The
so-
the steam of The Walking Dead has not worn off.
Oh man, The Walking Dead's still huge, still a big universe.
And I think
still-
right now it's some of the best Walking Dead that's been in years. If people aren't watching it, they're sleeping on it, man, because it's good again. I mean, I don't think we ever thought it was bad. I mean, like there might have been slow points, but
we didn't like some of where it was going,
Yeah.
but we still like the characters.
Right.
But yeah, I mean,
Right.
We always say it was Scott Gimple.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
so-
couldn't be more excited for it. Riz says Jake Gyllenhaal is
Wow.
supposed to be in it. Oh, that I mean
Wow.
that's a great. Yeah, that now it sounds familiar what you're talking about. Riz. I do remember seeing him being attached to something in some of the news, and that was like a big deal because he's gonna be in it. So
Yeah.
good for Jake, man. He's doing his
Everyone
thing.
knows where to go, man. The comic book is where it's at. You know, every actor is trying to get in on it now. That's funny, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like, even though it's not funny, I mean, we've had like what 78 was Gene Hackman or Superman, and then
Right.
89 it was Jack Nicholson. So I
Right?
mean,
Yeah.
obviously they knew something.
Yeah, and the thing is too is that it's like I think that as they read through these stories, they realize that it's not all tights and superheroes. It's like there's so much
There's
more
something you
going
can
on
do,
in
yeah,
comics.
yeah.
Yeah, that it's like it just happens to be that's the format that it appears in. You know what I mean?
Even
it's
Brie
like-
Larson, she wanted to be taken seriously, but yeah, dude, it's kind of like, oh,
Yeah.
Captain Marvel, okay.
Which is funny.
cool.
She's in a couple of those early episodes of The League or whatever, and I was like, oh damn, she
Okay.
plays like the nanny or whatever. Jason says, "What do you think about the He-Man book I see last weekend?" Oh man, that was an awesome pick, Jason. Great image of that book. Yeah, man, that's pretty cool. I hadn't seen that one, not familiar with that one before. Did you pick it up out at Traders, or where exactly did you get that one from? If you can let us know. We're pretty close here, guys, to the first break. Double A. So what do you think? We'll stop here.
Yeah.
See if we get any more comments in the next few
Yeah.
minutes while this is loading, and then we're going to get right into the topic of the night. We're joining y'all not only a day early, but earlier than we've been starting.
Yeah,
We've been starting late.
Yeah.
I told some people it's 6:45. They were like, "What?" I was like, so here we are. But if you guys are watching Thursday Night Football, let us know the score. We'll be right back. And you know what? I think now there's not going to be any commercial break, so we'll just be right back. All right, guys. So that was something new that happened to us, is that we found out that the little commercial that I normally do for Anchor, which is where our podcast is kind of housed, went away. So we're not doing any more. If you listen to us on Spotify or any of the podcast platforms, you won't hear that little commercial anymore unless that commercial comes back. But it's like a commercial for Anchor where I tell you that you can make your own podcast on Anchor, which you can. But I'm not advertising for that anymore since they're not paying me to advertise it anymore. They weren't paying us that much, guys.
Nah.
It's like, literally pennies on the thing. But, it's a nice little free ad they give you when you're starting out. So maybe they figure we're more than a year in now, so we don't really need it anymore, I guess.
Bastards.
Yeah, the bastards. But what are you going to do?
Hey, speaking of trailers, too, I've been seeing that more and more of that Many Saints of
the Many Saints of Newark. Yeah. The Sopranos. It's going to be a movie, right? Like a standalone?
Yeah.
But are they thinking like it's going to become a show? Or
I don't know, but I mean, the sun looks good.
Yeah, it looks good, man. I can't wait to see it. And I think that one of the primary characters is going to be supposed to be the dad of that, what's his name? Christopher. That was Tony's nephew.
Yes,
They were always
yes,
together in the
yes.
show. And I think the dad is about kind of how they used to run together.
That's just
or
like
whatever.
another hot property that's probably just never going to die down. you know, unless they really fuck it up. So
I know Rizz is big into the mob stuff, and we've had several conversations about it, so I'm super looking forward to that. Oh, that's right. A great time for a plug there, Rizz. Rizz says, speaking of pennies, don't forget about the new Just Another Friday Night shirts on 3leggedrabbit.com. That's right, guys. If you saw our beautiful shirt designed by Chris Rizzo of Invincible Comics and more, you can go pick one up yourself at 3leggedrabbit.com. It is a tribute to where we get our name from. Our name comes from a comic book called Just Another Saturday Night, which is a Sin City story, if you're familiar with the Sin City movie or the Sin City Frank Miller comic books.
despite what everyone says about the man, we love the dude's writing. So.
Yeah, especially in that genre.
Yeah.
But one of mine and Double A's favorite characters from Sin City is Marv, and this is a story about him on Just Another Saturday Night. And so from that day, when we did our first show, Double A said, well, why don't we just call it Just Another Friday Night? And I was like, sounds fine to me. Let's go for it.
Yeah.
So from that, I showed Rizz the cover, and he was like, badass. And if you just want to rep San Antonio, it says Alamo City on it. It's beautiful. It's a fucking awesome shirt, man. I love it. And in the background, there is the image. In the comic book version, it's the image of Marv from Sin City.
Yeah.
But in Rizzo's version, it is either Double A or myself, our silhouette in the background there. So pretty cool. Pick your poison if you're going to get the Double A or CM Chuck version. I know our friend David of the show, friend of the show, said he ordered one last week. So I'm sure Lucky's going to get that sent out to him.
Badass.
Yeah, but good stuff, man. Yeah, good opportunity for a plug there, Rizz. Let me see what else I got in here. Go check out Chris Rizzo's group, Invincible Comics and more. There's about to start a live auction, I believe, that's going to run through Sunday. Not live auction. I said it wrong. It's going to be like a comment, a bid as you go. Like he'll post a picture and you comment like sold or I'll buy it, and the price it could be like $4, $2, whatever, depending on what it is. And
It's
you just
really good comics. I've really enjoyed these sales. I've done a lot of them for $1, $2. That I'm just like, wow, it's pretty nice. It's after a while you're like, holy shit, I spent a lot of money.
Yeah.
Without even knowing it. But really good comics. I love the comics they put up. So
I love when it's like something will come up random, like a Funko Pop or action figure or movies. Like sometimes different things come up in these little auctions. And so it makes it fun when you go in there and you get one. And I think someone just bought some stuff from Rizz. And in their package, he mailed them one of our stickers. So I think he said our stickers now in where was it? Rizz, South Carolina, South Dakota, something like that.
Badass.
So reply sold is what it's called. But like buy it now. So it's pretty much like if you're on eBay and you do like a buy it now, you're buying it right then. So
somebody's gonna start in an hour. He said.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, so he'll start posting pics and Rizz drops a bunch of pics in that group, and it's like all this cool shit you can buy.
It usually like lasts for like a few days.
Yeah, Arkansas is where he said he just got our sticker sent to there. So hopefully that buyer is going to be sticking that somewhere. You know what I mean? That's not on a toilet. You know what I mean? So I went to a place the other day and they had stickers on the underside of the toilet, and I was like, oh man, I wouldn't want our sticker there. You know what I mean? But
that's not too bad.
You are looking at it when you're I looked at the stickers that were
in
there.
a men's restroom.
Yeah. So maybe it's not so bad. But either way, very cool. Yeah,
I like to read when they're in the restroom.
That's true. That is true. I'll be checking out Rizzo's auction when we get out of here and seeing what he posted up for us to enjoy. There's been some slabs. Anyone that wants to buy some slab comic books, you can go in there, and sometimes there's some of those. So great stuff, man. Always appreciate too. Chris has been sharing the love and sharing our posts and our podcast stuff.
Time,
man. We appreciate that.
Yeah. Here in Jerry D, they like to share our shit.
Yeah, so man, we appreciate that. It's all a little love fest community right here of us sharing each other's stuff. So speaking of which, now watch this. They just did the Monster Squad, and they're now on YouTube too. So they put themselves up on YouTube. So pretty cool. A little bit of a head-to-head YouTube competition there.
What the fuck?
I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Like, it won't be head-to-head because you know what I mean. Like, yeah, it's like but they did it. They did a pretty long show on Monster Squad, and I didn't realize that the two of them were divided. It was Lucky's a Goonies guy, and Joe is a hardcore Monster Squad guy.
It's hard. Both movies are so good, and you feel like there's like one day you feel like, man, I feel like Goonies. The other day you feel like Monster Squad. I mean, I don't know. So it's hard. Yeah,
Jerry D, being the peacemaker he is, said, "Well, why can't we have both?" Which you can, because I like both movies. What I did learn from it that I never picked up.
It was like that other one with the blue pill, red pill.
Yeah, the blue pill, red pill. Yeah. Oh, it was tough to diss, Thundercats and G.I. Joes.
Everyone is pretty much blue. I was like, wow, okay.
But one of the things that kind of came up that was cool in the Monster Squad episode to get you guys hyped to go listen to it. Give Now Watch This some love. They always give us love on almost every episode. Do you remember where they go see the guy, they call him Creepy German Guy? And he's telling them about monsters.
Yeah.
And they go, man, mister, you sure know a lot about monsters. And he's like, yeah, I do. And he closes the door. I never knew this until Joe pointed it out. Yeah, he has the concentration camp tattoo.
Yes, yeah.
I was like, oh, dang. That's like they don't touch on it. They don't talk about it. Like, it's just like, you have to know, to get it. And I was like, oh, damn, that's pretty deep right there, you know? But Joe said a lot of things in that episode that I 100% agree with. Some of them being that those monsters look pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
They were like a really good, he even talked about the Wolfman transformation in that, which I think we mentioned in our Werewolf episode that I had liked as well.
Yes, and we talked about how he played a Wolfman in that one and Fright Night Part 2.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Lucky did not believe that it was Uncle Rico from
come on. Yeah, it's Uncle Rico.
Spoiler alerts, guys. I'm sorry, spoiling the episode. Go listen and now watch this with Lucky and Joe Monster Squad episode. Jason says, y'all need Mario back on y'all show again. You never know, Jason. That could be happening sometime down the line.
Talks being mentioned right now.
We don't want to spoil anything for anyone.
It's just in the talking stage.
Yeah, it's just in the talking stage. Our people are talking to his people, but we're gonna see. But great comments, guys. We appreciate that. And let's go ahead and get into this one.
Let's get into it. Yeah,
this is a fun one. This one, I would say, AA did kind of for me. You know what I mean? So,
I mean, yeah, in some ways, yeah. But I mean, this was when he told me, I was kind of like, hey, you know what? Yeah, that'll be fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because what we originally had planned kind of got pushed back a week.
It got pushed back.
That's why.
Yeah.
But it's going to be.
Which he was very excited to talk about too. But I could not hold up my hand.
Hey, that's all right. That happens. It's all part of it, man. It's all part of it. All right. Well, let's get right to it. I'll bring us right back on the recording part. All right, guys, if you notice right there was no commercials. You just hear a blank spot there, but our commercial is kind of going away, so you don't have to worry about listening to me blab about it anymore. If you're listening to us on audio, you just got to know that every 30 minutes we got to take a little bit of a break for the audio to load, and then we'll come right back. But tonight, guys, on the eve of my birthday, and the reason why we're not on Friday like normal is because Double A said, be with your fam, be home on Friday night. This one, let's do an early show. I said, great. We had a topic planned, but like Double A said in the break, also got pushed back a little bit, which is totally fine. I started watching already. And I was like, dang, I can't wait to talk to this about this with you because I hadn't watched it.
I really wanted you to. I wanted to dig into it.
Yeah, and I was worried I wasn't going to be able to go as fast because I was like, man, I'm not going to.
I was really surprised.
But since I've seen it once already, you know what I mean? Like you're going to get to watch it and really enjoy it, like sitting there watching it. Sometimes I play things in the background while I'm doing stuff, so I'm not really like watching, but I was easily getting sucked in again where I was like, damn it, I want to. Nothing beats me watching it like on my big TV and just like vegging out or whatever. But you guys know I watch a lot of shit on my phone real quick because I'm like brushing my teeth, getting ready for work, watching it during my lunch break. You know what I mean? Or if I'm in the can, you know what I mean? I do that too. So watch a little bit on that. But tonight, guys, if my shirt is no indication,
or the background,
we want to talk about my favorite superhero. Double A, is he at least your favorite DC superhero?
Oh yeah,
I would say you got quite all this stuff in here is yours that we're saying.
I would say number 2 hero wise. Yeah, well, yeah, number two. Yeah,
wow. So ours are like or flipped pretty much.
Yeah. My number 1 is Green Lantern.
Oh, in DC.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it'd be Superman. So
where does he rank for you overall? Top
Superman?
5?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay,
sure.
top 5.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there you have it, guys.
Shit, I got so much stuff of him.
Yeah, I was gonna say literally every episode we do. It's a beautiful picture. Double A should have put it back here, but I stare at him every episode. Yeah, he's right in front of me. Great image, But guys, the icon, the first you could say, maybe not hero, but superhero.
Oh,
where you feel like it was
the first superhero, the one that started it all. I mean, there's no question about it. So he's the guy.
Right there, Action Comics number 1, 1937. Is that right? 1938. It's like kind of embedded in our brains, right? That classic image. And the man is literally globally recognized. The logo is a brand. It's a brand. Yeah. It is a brand. He's a global icon, known the world over.
That's a hieroglyphic. Like everyone can read.
Right, exactly. And how many things are like that? I mean, like the Nike check, the Jordan logo, this, McDonald's arches. Yeah. It's like, it's very like Americana. There's only so many things that are that slice of American apple pie, but Superman is definitely one of them. Created by 2 gentlemen, Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster.
Movies, cartoons, TV shows. Like you said, songs.
I'm telling you, man.
Golly, on candy bars, on pizza boxes, on soda cans. I mean, ice cream bars.
Yeah, I mean, it's like every generation has like a show. Like he comes out, then it goes, then another one comes.
It always seems like that. Yeah.
We're in the midst of one right now, whatever, which we'll talk a little bit about. Right. But where do you want to start, Double A? Should we start with maybe the comics and go from there? So Superman comes out and pretty much sets the standard. I mean, it's like it was a major hit for DC. DC was DC at the time. But again, it's this image you see right back here, right behind my finger, right there, where he's lifting up the car. He couldn't fly yet. I think back then it was leap.
Yes.
Leap tall buildings in a single bound.
I mean, pretty much he was this Superman. Can do everything.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it was nuts. It was nuts to think that there wasn't a character like that.
Yeah.
Created. It was a lot of pulp heroes.
And the cape comes out. You know what I mean? It's like last week you showed your statue of the Phantom. Now the Phantom was before Superman,
he was.
But he wasn't super powered.
No.
He was.
It's like him, Spirit.
Right.
Zorro. Just your typical kind of like.
They were like a masked hero, kind of. And that's the other cool thing. Superman doesn't wear a mask, you know what I mean? Like I said, and then the cape, and then the leaping, like he had like powers.
Yeah.
So he was fucking you up, you know what I mean? But
I mean, it's such a great story. It's such a unique story. I mean, this fucking advanced planet, so fucking far advanced, and yet Superman's dad Jor-El is trying to tell him, we've destroyed this planet so much. We drilled it. It's gonna fucking explode on us. No one's listening. They're like, no, blah, blah, blah. It's just really cool. First off, you're seeing like this other planet. He's an alien.
Right.
And this planet's about to be destroyed already in this first comic. And, what do? They shoot him off.
Yeah.
To Earth. And they say, don't worry, the yellow sun is going to make him really strong. His body's going to absorb it.
Yeah.
He's going to be a god among men.
Yeah.
He's going to be a Superman over there.
He's going to save his,
and maybe
only begotten son.
Maybe he can carry our legacy and kind of show the people of Earth, what they can accomplish.
Right.
It's just a really far out there story, science fiction story, of a baby getting sent to another planet and hoping he's going to be okay. I mean, golly, that's kind of brutal already,
Yeah.
Like, man.
And then the planet fucking explodes. So it's like, Krypton just goes, the way of the dinosaurs, man, and no more.
No one had an origin story like that.
No.
And not even close to it.
Yeah, and if you were to rank origin stories, this
man.
is probably my number 2, and I'll tell you my number 1. You'd be like, what? This is your favorite character. Why is it number 2? It's only because there's another story I think that is much more poignant, which I think I talked a little bit about last week.
Yes.
And that would be the Spider-Man origin, which I feel like, and again, Spider-Man's always a little bit more relatable because he's a human, and he's like, you were probably introduced to him when you were young, and he was young in the beginning, you know what I mean? So that's only reason why maybe it's more. And then there's obviously the tragedy of Uncle Ben. That's tragic about what happened to Jor-El and Lara-El as well, you know what I mean? But, again, that story, it tickles your brain in a different way because, again, it's the sci-fi aspect. It's like the space aspect, like, wow, this, alien from far away or whatever. And they look like us, so they're humanoid or whatever.
They're humanoids,
They look very, they're Kryptonians, but they look like us. And they're not super powered there on Krypton.
No, regular, because of the red sun that they have.
The red sun,
so
right.
That's what keeps them, normal.
Yeah.
So Jor-El scouts his planet. It was like, this is a perfect planet. He'll be great there. Even if, he runs into something bad, he'll be stronger than their normal humans over there, you know, so he'll be fine. He'll be good.
No, totally. And again, this is an origin that you guys have heard and had repeated you dozens and dozens of times over decades over. You know what I mean? Superman just turned 83 this year, right? We got to go to when he turned 80 a few years ago.
The 2018 pop-up, DC pop-up event.
In Austin. That we've talked about that before, where we got to meet. Brian Michael Bendis was about to take over writing duties on Superman. We got to meet
another hot writer from Marvel that was coming on board to try and revive Superman again. So.
Yeah, and the Krypton show was at that time just kind of taking off.
Sci-fi.
Yeah. They had the really great statue from like the I think is it Man of Steel or Justice League?
I think it was Man of Steel,
where he's kind of like posed down or whatever. Like later on, that statue gets broken by Superman in the Justice League movie, but that was out there. They were looking all cool. They had a really huge Jim Lee drawing of him on the edge of the building. I think that's your favorite, one of your favorite images of him. That is,
and I actually got it right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right there. And I love this one that we're here with Alex Ross, him turning, all that stuff, so iconic. Clark Kent, obviously, mild mannered reporter for the Daily Planet. And even his love story with Lois. I mean, like that's become classic, synonymous.
That's like the number one power couple.
Yeah.
Right
definitely. Definitely. And how often AA is your supporting cast as almost well known as you?
Perry White,
Jimmy Olsen, you know what I mean?
Lane,
Crypto.
Crypto.
He's a pretty prominent character in the Titans show.
Yeah.
So it's kind of neat. But yeah, guys, so okay.
Really cool story. He crash lands on Kansas. Jonathan and Martha Kent. Farmers, Kansas, Smallville, Kansas farmers. They raise them up right, tell them, use your powers for good. Don't ever kind of blow up and hurt someone. That's not what you're here for, all that kind of stuff.
And also hide your identity to protect yourself because people will want what you have, your power, and they'll try to hurt you. So not only that, I mean, like, the guy's got a great set of parents, and then he lucks out by having probably the two of the finest human beings end up raising him who couldn't have kids, so they had no children, and so they find this baby, and then they raise him up as their own. You know what I mean? And it's that classic story. You know what I mean? Like, Superman is, and we kind of talked about this with the Silver Surfer thing when we had in our DC Marvel one. Is like he is who he is because he was raised by humans.
Yes.
You know what I mean? The Surfer is different because he sees humans and is saddened by how we are, but he's not from here. He's like, man, you're a people that have the potential, but you just fuck each other over all the time. Yeah, and that hurts him. It makes Norrin Rad like, down. But see, Clark sees it differently because he was raised as a human, and he's like, I have these powers, but I still see the capacity that these human beings have for good. Yeah. And it doesn't make me sad. It makes me want to give them hope and inspire them. It doesn't make Silver Surfer a bad guy. He just, he's kind of mopey because it makes him sad that people are like that.
It's sad, and obviously all his other trauma.
Obviously,
destroying civilization,
destroying civilizations. You know what I mean? So, so in comics, Double A, let's stick with comics, right? I mean, obviously he blows up, he spawns. Where do you go next? I mean, like next, it's like we get Batman, Cap and 41.
Yeah, golly, the whole revolution starts. Right, Flash comes out, Aquaman comes out, Green Lantern comes out. Mm-hmm. The team comes together. Justice Society of America, I believe, is the first team. Yeah,
and he continues to inspire as we talk about characters like Omni-Man from Invincible, Homelander. The big thing now is the bad Superman. What if Superman went bad? Every story's been done. But he even did that first because you had Bizarro Superman, right?
Bizarro,
so those are really bad.
Mm-hmm. Hyperion,
the Sentry. The Sentry. You know what I mean? Like every universe wants to have their version of
like
it. Even
Gladiator was supposed to be the knockoff,
the Marvel one, the Mohawk, and they try to make him a little bit different. But you give him a guy a red cape that can fly, you're gonna think one thing. You know what I mean? Or what about Apollo from the Authority
with his powers to being in the solar category?
Yeah, exactly. So it's that's how iconic he is. Yeah. What did they say? Double A. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. So no one, you cannot be more flattered by that.
Like when you're coming up with that leader, you always kind of give them the Superman powers. I mean, that's just always the start of, always.
Yeah. And it is what makes it such a scary and interesting bad guy when you do write it that way. When you have guys like Homelander or Omni-Man, you're like, oh shit, we're fucked. You know what I mean? Like, if he did go rogue, we'd be out of we'd just be
out of it. We'll go into that further, but there have been a few cartoons that show him like that. Mm-hmm. So,
and we covered one of those. We're kind of like that, and he wasn't necessarily evil, but he, but things much differently than he does as we know now.
The Superman animated series has like about 2 episodes like that. So.
Oh yeah, that's right. And you have me watching this. We'll talk about that animated series too. This is a great opportunity for us to talk about that. But
I mean, so in the comics, you get introduced to, obviously becomes something that becomes kind of part of pop culture too. Mm-hmm. One of his weaknesses is kryptonite. Right. I mean, how many times have you heard what's his kryptonite?
Exactly.
A metaphor for weakness. You know? So we get introduced, part of his home planet crash lands on Earth and supposedly it can hurt him. It's like the one thing that can hurt.
You hear that more, I think, almost now. Okay, well, I don't know about if you hear it more, but it is the same as when you talk about someone Achilles' heel. Yeah. Achilles' heel, that's a great fucking old story. Yeah. And you use that or whatever, but you could say Superman's Achilles' heel is kryptonite, but you might say to somebody else, what's their kryptonite? You know what I mean? It's because,
And I've heard that and read that from so many places.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Like you said, it's ingrained in our culture that we talk about it that way. I mean, again, like I said, his planet is famous. His origin is famous. You know what I mean? His cast of characters is famous.
Another term that popped up because of him is Brainiac. Whenever you have someone that's really supremely intelligent, it's like, okay, Brainiac.
Yeah.
So we get a lot of that stuff from Superman comics. Jerry Seinfeld, huge on Superman.
Oh yeah.
Love the Superman character.
His total favorite, The Rock. The Rock always says he's such a huge Superman fan too. I'm sure he would have loved to have played Superman.
So, I mean, we get introduced to a lot of stuff. Lois Lane becomes a love interest. I mean, that's pretty much the prototype for just about every relationship, too. Mm-hmm. From Spider-Man to Mary Jane, Cyclops and Jean Grey. I mean, golly, you can go on and on.
Even the whole dual identity thing where it's like, she's smitten with Superman or whatever, but, he's his, secret identity, Clark Kent is trying to, get her to woo her, you know what I mean, as Clark Kent,
we get introduced to the sidekick almost with Jimmy Olsen, kind of.
That's right, yeah.
That friend, it's kind of like Rick Jones. They kind of make Rick Jones like that. The Hulk, Yeah. Like for the Hulk, that was his Jimmy Olsen, And then, what a cast of characters, villains, we talked about Superman's Rogue Gallery, how underrated it is.
Extremely.
When we're doing our Rogue Gallery fest.
Yeah.
And we're saying that, man, Superman actually has a really, really great Rogue Gallery. You got Lex Luthor, the brains, you got Brainiac, this terrifying AI. You got General Zod, a relic from Krypton.
Yeah.
You got Parasite. You got
Metallo with the kryptonite heart. You know what I mean?
You got Doomsday.
Yeah.
One of the greatest story arcs ever in comics.
Mongol.
Superman. Yeah, Mongo.
This other super powered, creature.
Cyborg Superman. You got that one.
I throw Darkseid in there sometimes too, because it's like
because that is the only guy that can
go toe to toe. Right,
yes.
right. If Darkseid's up against you and you don't have Superman, you're
fucked.
Yeah, that's a short fight. You know what I mean? It's like unless he's dragging it out for some reason.
When Superman comes in a picture, that's when you're like, okay, now we're gonna take out Darkseid now. Yeah. Finally,
I know that today my birthday is also tomorrow's my birthday, but tomorrow will be the eve of Batman Day, which I'm like, why do you get a day? You know what I mean? But okay, but I'm like,
obviously you know how we feel about the Bat.
Say what you will. And we do love Batman here, though. Say what you will about Batman, but I'm like, if it's Batman versus Darkseid, he's fucked.
That should be nothing.
Although I did read that he has beaten him twice.
Yeah, I was like, apparently he found Darkseid's weakness and shot him with a bullet over it. I was like, all right.
Now he's using guns.
He can do
We're
everything.
Gonna make up our mind, Batman.
He can fucking do everything.
All right, you know what I mean? And we love 66 Batman. We love Keaton Batman. We love
movie Batman.
Yeah. You know what? We love animated Batman. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I don't like comic book
Batman. And where the comic book community has taken it. But we're not here to shit on Batman. We're not. We're here to talk about
We
Superman.
can have an episode where we do shit on Batman.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Fuck him.
Yeah, at least comic book Batman, because I would like to bring up some of the bullshit that people say that he can't do. I'm like, all right, you know what I mean?
This guy can take out everyone.
I guess maybe we'll hash into those Darkseid victories or whatever. But anywho, like we said, in actuality, if you're up against Darkseid without Superman, you fucked, and Superman is going to give you more than a fighting chance. So quick, we're talking about comics, AA. So the powers, right? Super speed, super hearing, telescopic vision. So not just X-ray. So he can also like zoom in. He can see like He's like his eyes like a microscope. So that's not a power people talk about that much, but he does that. X-ray vision, obviously, so he can see through your clothes. Famously, like he saw, Lois's panties. You know what I mean? So he's not all Boy Scout.
Hey, she asked.
Yeah, she asked. And he could see her lungs, you know what I mean? That they were okay, she was smoking in the movie right now. Freeze breath, which is a power that they don't focus on it a lot.
They really don't show it a lot, yeah.
But one of my favorite scenes, and I know I don't want to get all over, but in Superman 3, as many people don't like that movie, I think it has a lot of cool shit in there. But when he freezes that lake, I literally was telling this story one day, and my sister was like, what movie is that? And I was like, that's in Superman 3. She's like, man, I didn't see it. That sounds cool. And I was like, yeah, he drops it on a chemical fire. Like, it's a cool scene. Like, that's one of his main powers. Heat vision. So also his eyes are doing a lot. He can, use heat vision or whatever. I think I already mentioned the super hearing or whatever.
Yeah.
And then obviously probably the big one is super strength. So he is extremely powerful. Extremely, like, to say strong is the biggest understatement. I think that they said he's moved planets, can move mountains, flown through stars or suns or something like that. But it's
I believe it.
Up there. And our favorite power that we like to talk about when he comes up is that the man is incredibly durable. It takes a lot to knock him on his ass. It takes a lot. And even if he's knocked on his ass, he ain't really dead or beat. It's like he can kind of go into this like Kryptonian coma that we know of. And then it's not only that too, but it's like, again, he's been changed over the years, kind of depowered or whatever, you know what I mean? But that's one thing about him doesn't change. It's kind of like the fighting spirit of Superman.
And even then, when you say depowered, it's not like massive. It's not like Grey Hulk. Where Grey Hulk's like a level 6. Compared to 7.
Yeah, the Thing has victories over Grey Hulk. I think. Yeah.
We're not talking about that kind of depowered. Just depowered more, where I guess he can have him go toe to toe. And not make him look so Superman-ish, but but still. still considered the strongest in the DC universe, even depowered.
Yeah,
you know, so
a lot of guys have taken swings at him, including Batman. He'll let you hit him, you know what I mean? Because he's like, oh, like he tells Batman, "You're lucky I rolled with that one, or you might have shattered your whole hand."
Yeah, Spider-Man tries punching him, and he fucking hurts his hand.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, not a good move. If you run into Superman, don't try to.
As we saw in Superman 2.
Yeah, don't try to punch him or whatever.
At the very end.
What's the one song, Double A? You don't tug on Superman's cape. You know what I mean? I love that line, you know. Although I think if you did, he'd be okay with it because he seems like a pretty nice fella for the most part.
So, I mean, you know, Superman has had some pretty amazing moments, you know, from his debut to Infinite Crisis on Infinite Earths, you know, plays a big role in that one.
Yeah.
You know, whatever happened to the Man of Tomorrow.
Whatever happened to the Man of Tomorrow, yeah.
Big story, big story there.
What are your favorite Superman stories, Double A? Which ones stick out in your mind, comic book wise?
You know, Death of Superman obviously is a big one.
Yeah, because it was so prevalent in the 90s in our time. You know, you were a little bit younger than me then, but we were all like,
it was only something like that for him that could happen that made news, massive
national news. The cover of Time,
yes,
the cover of Newsweek.
I mean, it was everywhere. It was crazy to see a comic book character have that much coverage, a fake character, you know, and everyone was talking about the death of Superman, you know,
it was like on the cover of the paper, like you were like, what the fuck, like,
this was,
you know,
this was huge news when he died, you know.
I feel like I shouldn't swear in the Superman episode.
So I mean, that was pretty fucking cool. That's always, you know, the trade paperback, from what I've read, is the most, is the one that sold the most trades out of everyone. It's the Death of Superman.
Wow.
That is the one that sold the most.
I think even Foxy Roxy owns a copy of that.
She does. I was like, wow.
Yeah. You know, I was like, holy shit. Okay. But it was like, you were like curious. You wanted to know, you know?
Yeah, who can kill Superman? Like, what can kill Superman, right?
That's definitely a great one.
Again, the Alan Moore, the Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow. So after Infinite Crisis, they asked him to write pretty much the last Silver Age Superman story.
Okay.
So that is considered the last Superman story, the last Silver Age. And it's a pretty brutal story. You know, Mixoplex doesn't fuck around. He kills a lot of people that Superman loves.
Whoa.
It like starts off with an interview with Lois. She's married to some other guy. And they're asking her because she was the last person that saw Superman. Like, just saw him. He disappeared. He disappeared for like, you know, it's been already like 10 years. He's just gone. And, you know, they recount all these stories about how all his villains got together and just hit him massively.
Fuck.
Very massive. I'm not going to really ruin it, but pretty much at the end, like, you find out that dude she's married to is Clark.
Oh,
you know,
interesting.
It's like they figured it out.
You own that story?
I have part 2 right there, but I need part 1.
Is it hard to come by?
Part 1 is. Yeah.
Oh, so it is hard to come by.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can get it in trade, right?
I'm sure you can.
Okay.
But it's considered one of the definitive Superman stories.
I am not familiar with that. I didn't even know that Alan Moore had wrote Superman.
He wrote it. And, you know, I mean, just, it sounds really cool. I really want to read it, but I got to read that first issue first. But it sounds really cool. And they're kind of saying that last story, it's kind of where they went with the Tom Welling version of Smallville.
Oh, interesting.
That they gave him that story. They gave him the Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow. So when they said that, I was kind of like, okay. That kind of made me digest it better. When they did that huge Crisis on CW.
Yeah, and he's not Superman. He's just like living on Kansas. He's got like
and
2
so
kids.
When they said that, I was kind of, okay, cool. They're giving him that one.
That's kind of neat.
Silver Age Superman story.
That's kind of neat.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not familiar with that. So you're educating me as you usually do. That's everyone's favorite part of the show. And Double A teaches me something. Man, mine too, because I'm like, damn, I want to go read that now. Right. Like I was not familiar with that. That Alan Moore had wrote it.
Obviously, that big run that Azzarello and Jim Lee did, you know, that was probably one of the most newsworthy Superman stories.
That was very badass. Obviously, gorgeous to look at. Like extremely easy on the eyes. You can not not read the bubbles and just be like, oh, this is beautiful.
The Jeff Loeb Batman Superman. Ed McGuinness run that they had.
Oh yeah, that was so great.
Was huge,
yeah,
you know?
Yeah, that was wonderful. For me, I think of some stories. Straczynski, that one Grounded. I just actually picked that up. I think I might have picked it from Mario Delgado of Authority Comics. That trade, but I had read that in single issues and I loved it. Obviously, him when he fights the Elite, that team called the Elite, the British superheroes, and it's what's so funny about Truth, Justice, and the American Way. That's a great one. I think Grant Morrison wrote that one. I think. I also love, both of us. I know we both love Kingdom Come.
Oh,
you know what I mean? It's not necessarily a Superman story, but
no,
obviously
but he's pretty much the focus.
Yeah.
He's the soul of that.
Yes, absolutely. As is almost any
Yeah.
Justice League kind of
With that one for
story.
sure.
For
And,
sure.
when I got to meet Mark Waid, I got to tell him that was my absolute favorite DC story ever.
Wow, that's cool. I
Like,
forgot
there's
that you
like,
met Mark
yeah,
Waid.
that was like, there's
What did he sign for you?
Kingdom Come
Kingdom
by
Come?
trade. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was just like, this is my absolute. There is no other DC story that I could read that's ever going to be better than this.
Yeah.
And
It's
that's the
fucking
comic that
stellar.
you turned me on to.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
You gave it to Will to read,
Mhm.
and then I read it after him.
Yeah.
So again, that was because of you,
Yeah.
and I got my own copy.
That's probably what started your love for Shazam then.
It is.
Oh,
It
wow.
is.
Okay.
It is.
Dang, that's cool,
Yes.
man.
Yes, because I
That's
was like, who the
awesome.
fuck is this character? Again,
Yeah.
because it was kind of like, wow, this guy is standing up to Superman.
Right.
And
Right.
so it was kind of like, it made me want to see who this fucking guy was. You
Yeah.
know? So, again, because of Superman, when you can stand toe to toe with the man himself. You're
Yeah.
like, okay.
I would have worn that shirt, but I had worn that shirt for our other episode the other day, so I couldn't rewear it.
But yeah, so I got to tell the dude
how awesome,
absolute
man.
favorite story, and just, it was amazing.
I look for it in hardcover, and it is very hard to find in hardcover and very expensive.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah.
that is one of my. I'm always hunting for that one if I find a nice hardcover.
I mean, he's just so badass in that story.
Oh yeah.
Superman is super fucking cool. From the way he looks like as a farmer when Wonder Woman comes to look for him.
Yes.
Doing the farmer work.
Yeah.
To where he puts on the costume again. To that last battle with Captain Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
Like, golly.
It's hard to find a better looking comic book Superman than Alex Ross's, because
Yeah.
he draws him so big, so Superman. You know what I mean? I'm
Yes.
like, damn. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like, it's like, when you think about Superman, I mean, I think about like Christopher Reeve.
Yeah.
But then I like look at that one and I'm like, man, but that comic book one is like the elder statesman of Superman, and he's
and there's
awesome.
this great, I wish he would sell it, like just prints. There's this really great drawing he did. It's like Christopher Reeve, and, dressed up like Clark Kent,
Mhm.
looking at George Reeves.
Ah,
Clark Kent.
how great is that?
It's a great looking image.
Yeah.
The 50s meet the 70s. I was like, that's such a badass print.
Yeah.
I wish he would sell it. So
That would be
I always
fantastic.
try to look
man.
for it, and I can never find it.
Although Alex Ross stuff, man, it goes.
But if
up
he sold
there.
it for like a print, that'd be awesome to have.
Yeah. Another one I liked is called Up and Away, which we titled the episode today. But that's the one that I had read kind of recently. I told you I saw like one image online, and I was like, man, I got to find this in hardcover. Easy to find. Picked it up, and pretty much the story about one little girl goes missing. She's abducted by aliens. And
That's right. You told me
and
about that.
Batman's like, go get her, like only you can go get
Yeah.
her. And he's like, I can't leave, like, because like Metropolis and all that or whatever. Which at first you're kind of like, what? Why would Superman say no? But then he explains it, and it's like, oh, you're right. He's like, as soon as I turn my back, like, Metallo's gonna show up, or Lex Luthor or something like that. And Batman's like, we'll get it or whatever. Like, he's like, you need to go do this or whatever. And he's like, all right. And he's even like trying to call Lois like from international space. It's a really great story. It's so fun. If one day we do one of our trade breakdowns like we do, I would like to do that one with you, get your opinions on it. But those two are there. I have also the hardcover of the Superman Prime one in my collection. I was looking through them before I came. I don't love that one in particular. It's like a younger Superman, like a different take, but it's essentially the same. You know what I mean? Like the classic origin, a modernized version of it. It's fine. But amongst the others, I mean, it's not there. I mean, obviously I own Red Sun as well. I bought that one after we did our episode on the movie version, thanks to a Holty Bear suggesting that one, which is different. But I like it. But I would say, Kingdom Come has to really be up there. Grounded is really great. He doesn't fly, and now when he's walking across America, he's trying to get back in touch with like the people.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And it's got some great stuff in there. He
Yeah.
finds a little boy getting beat by his dad, and it's about how he's going to approach it. You know what I mean? Like, Superman's not Batman, kick the door down and crack heads. Like, he's got to like be more diplomatic. You know what I mean? And he is.
Yeah, and then real quick, there's that six-parter John Byrne story where
Yes.
it kind of reintroduces Superman again to the modern audience. And it introduces the now version of Lex Luthor that we know, the businessman. So
Right. I want to read that one
that
too.
That 6-parter is a groundbreaking piece of work for Superman.
I've got a nice trade that came out when we got the pop up or whatever, but I need to go through what the stories are. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. Which we're not really breaking, guys. Just the audio has to load. So if you're watching us on YouTube, we didn't go anywhere.
It's kind of funny that you speak of that because I was telling you that I saw the Batman animated series, and it's the one where him and Nightwing kind of have their falling out.
Oh, nice!
And
yeah,
what kind of sends Robin over the edge is kind of like he did that. He broke the door down of some guy he was chasing, and the family was watching. And
Batman did that.
Yeah, and the little boy was like scared, and so Robin's like, like Batman, maybe we should do this somewhere else. And Batman's being Batman, and Robin pretty much says, "Screw this, I'm out of here."
See, that is the very essence. And we should definitely talk about that in that episode we talk about. That is the essence of the asshole Batman that people fail to see.
And that's where I said Robin was pretty much, screw this, know. And real quick, too, the Nightwing character, supposedly in comic books, he got the name Nightwing because of a hero that was on Krypton named Nightwing.
Really?
Superman told him about this guy named Nightwing, and he got inspired by that hero, and so he took the name Nightwing for himself. So if you look it up, it's from the story that Superman told him.
Wow, that is really cool.
So,
wait, is that in comics?
I believe so. I can't tell you where. It was like the world's finest or something like that. I can't remember which one, but pretty much he told him, there's this guy named Nightwing.
I'd love to track that down and own that little piece there. But that's really awesome because, as you guys know, I've become like a huge... I always had like a love for Dick Grayson and Robin, but Nightwing especially because that to me is like when he separates himself.
Yeah.
And
badass character.
He is the purer version, the better version of Batman.
Pretty much everything that was right about Batman.
Right. Without all this stuff, even especially let me take these kids and put them in the line of danger and then fuck up their lives and cause them all this emotional trauma.
Because I would even say even like Terry is kind of more Nightwing-ish, too.
I agree. Yeah. A couple of comments in here. Kara says, birthday boy. Hi, Kara. I appreciate you being in here. Jason says, what y'all drinking tonight? Thanks to Double A, we are enjoying the Dos Equis lime and salt. Muy bueno, sir. If you're not having any, you should get yourself some. Rizz says, the movie Brightburn is dope. I thought, did you like Brightburn?
I liked it too.
It was fine.
I'm kind of hoping they might do a sequel because I don't know if you remember the end. There were all these sightings about the other fucked up heroes.
Yeah.
Heroes.
Yeah. I think it needed a little fine tuning on the writing because I was like, there were some things that I were like.
I don't think James Gunn was taking it too seriously.
No. No. And I don't think
because obviously we've seen Suicide Squad and we've seen Guardians, so. He showed he can do a much superior movie. Than with Brightburn.
I thought the dad turned a little too quick, and I was like,
he was quick.
You raised this little boy, that's
damn.
Like your little boy. There's no way that would. And see, when you tweak a little bit and you have him have more conflict, and maybe it's hurting him, they're thinking of another way around it. You're more deeply involved to me. But great pull, Riz, on that one. He says, I didn't know it was by James Gunn. Yes, produced by James Gunn. Written by his two brothers, Brian and Mark. Oh, okay, nice. Okay. There you go. Maybe he says, now he's using Gunn's Make Up Your Mind. That had me rolling. Yeah, I know. Joe's going to jump all over my ass. There he is. Right on time, Joe. Joe says, Dick likes Superman to kind of up his bats off. Batman saves kids. No, he doesn't. No, in many ways, he's a rich yet deadbeat, emotionally dad is what he is. But we'll save it for that episode, Joe.
I did see that Watchmen part where they trapped that so-called vigilante, that Batman.
Yeah.
That was fucking funny.
Yes.
When they were fucking rich guys thinking they could become a crime fighter.
Yes, man. There's some more really cool stuff. Dang it, I can't wait till next week. You're gonna love it so much. But
Joe, I'm glad you're in the house,
Joe,
brother.
I'm glad you're here. Joe, who's winning the game? Since apparently Thursday Night Football and NFL is more important than just on Friday night. I don't know about that. It's the Skins and it's the Washington
football team.
Washington football team. It's so much to say.
For you cancel culture fans.
Double A, can they get a logo? Can they get a mascot already?
Yeah. Why not Washington Hogs? I mean, shit, they call their fucking Fans hoggets.
Yeah, all right. You know what I mean? Like,
you know those fucking dudes that would dress up like women and put the pig nose. Yeah,
wow.
Hoggets.
I'm telling you, the best one I saw was where they showed the actual red russet potato, and it says, keep the name Redskins and just show the potato as the logo instead.
Oh, it's like when Red Sox did the Red Sox.
Oh, really?
Remember?
No.
Yeah, Red Sox actually put Red Sox. You know? So, yeah.
That's awesome. Riz says, oh, no, now you're getting concealed?
Cancel.
Oh, cancel. Yes, I know. Yeah, sorry. I don't have my glasses on, guys.
He goes, Joe says my freshman plays on Thursday.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's my bad then. I didn't know. But yeah, I hope that he's winning.
Joe, we don't like the Batman character. I'm sorry.
Hey, there he goes. Although we are constantly accused of being a DC show.
Yeah.
Is it because I have a Superman shirt on again? Like 3 weeks in a row?
No, we have Mr. Marvel here.
I know. But everyone focuses on the Action Comics, I think, though. Which is the birth of the superheroes.
There you go.
You know what I mean? Like, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, if someone were to ask us off air, we'd say we're kind of Marvel guys in a way.
The Marvel outranks the DC.
But what are you gonna do, right? You can't please everybody, Joe. You know this, So, anyway, let's get back into the conversation. We'll switch it from comics, I think, and we'll maybe talk some movies. Guys,
movies.
Join us in the conversation. I want to read your comments. I want to hear what you guys think about.
We're not stepping on. Now watch this.
No. We're gonna do a bunch. That's cool about their shows. They watch the movie like with you, like they're watching it. Like they're like, "Hey, push play right now." We're pushing play, and it's like, all right,
we're pushing play. 3, 2, 1.
It's fun though when they're really watching the movie. They're both into it, and then it's like,
we forgot.
What about us? But Joe's always got some great facts he pulls up there about producers and shit like that. All right, here we go, guys. All right, guys, thanks for listening through that. Like, kind of a brief like. It doesn't sound like anything like a whisper. Like it sounds like a drop in the thing in the sound, and then we come back, and it's not. It used to be a commercial, but not anymore. So, here we go. Joe says
right.
One last comment, dude. I wish I could celebrate with you, but I got corn Saturday.
Corn.
Joe, you can get elotes here in San Antonio. We put mayonnaise on it and tahini spices and stuff. You'll see Friday Nighter Albert Olivares there. He also has tickets for corn. So
that's right.
I went to my first show in a long time. The last show of my 30s. I want to tell you something. The Aztec cheapest beer they had, $14.50. A big can of Truly was going for $17. I was like, we're not drinking here.
Wow.
The guy goes, you can win by buying a double shot of liquor. I said, how much? He said, $25.
Whoa.
No, thanks, man. Sorry, Aztec. I know you guys are probably hurting or whatever, but I ain't buying the booze there. And I'll be there next week for In This Moment with my girlfriend, Jess, and we'll be pre-gaming it because, it ain't happening. Guys, but we're not talking about boozing right now. We're talking about the greatest.
Real quick.
Oh, go ahead, Dublin.
What is the acceptable price for a concert?
In my mind, I went in there thinking they were going to charge us $10 for a can of beer.
9 or 10.
Yeah.
I was thinking that.
And I remember when I went to Plano for, what is it, Edge Fest with Albert and Invitation, Adam, and my sister. Now, this was already years ago, obviously, pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
And we got a big can, like a 24 for like $11. And I was like still like shocked by that. Like Miller Lite, a big can, $11. And we were at the Dallas Football Club field, whatever the soccer team.
Okay.
But I was still like, fuck this, man, but I mean, I get it. It's like, but I've heard that in Las Vegas, if you go to a club in Las Vegas, it's $20 for a bottle of beer. $20.
Damn.
I just don't, I couldn't bring myself to do it.
Yeah.
I couldn't bring myself to do it.
That Yingling, it's $22 for like a 24 pack. Like,
and you know what? I told someone that I said I bought one the other day, and I was like, "Oh, but you're getting 24 beers. It's like dollar beer."
Yeah.
But somebody was like, "Yeah, but you can get a 24 of like Bud for 18, I guess, or whatever." So for me, for that beer, it was okay. But hey, it is what it is.
Okay.
Enough of that, though, guys. Let's get off of booze.
Have a good time at Corn.
Yes, and be safe, Joe, out there. So have fun at that. I'm not in the taco truck now, Joe says. And he says,
good, I'll wear my
AEW sucks shirt for Albert. Just can't get out of that. And then we'll get
$8 beer.
$8. Okay. Oh, well, I think you're going to see it will probably be more when you get there. And Jason says, have we seen Candyman yet? We have not yet. Let us know if that was any good, Jason. We appreciate the comments there, brother. But let's get back in here to the topic of the night, guys. We're talking my favorite superhero, Double A's second favorite DC superhero, Superman. We talked a little bit about the comics, some of our favorite stories, but now let's talk about the movies. The man has, number one, okay, so his comic changes things. He becomes the first true superhero, and it just goes on the legacy, you know, from 1938 until we get to 1978. So when you get there, you get now the birth of this superhero movie.
And I mean, what a fucking movie this was. Golly.
And what a neat story, right? For him to start that.
Yeah.
The character starts that, then he gets to start this.
Yeah.
And his creators went through a little journey as well.
Yes, they did.
To get their names up there on the big screen with them. And a lot of the thanks for that goes to Neil Adams, yes, our guy we've both met. Not a cheap autograph, whatever. And obviously Mario Delgado of Authority Comics has his own story he says about Neil Adams. Maybe we'll get that out of him.
Yeah, maybe
next time we'll get that out of him. But my experience was okay because it was very straightforward. It was very transactional.
He actually gave me like a little quiz. That was pretty cool.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I got the one, it's like the classic cover of Batman with Ra's al Ghul, where Batman's like on the desert. And he told me, he was like, do you notice anything funny about this picture? And I go, no. He goes, look, Ra's al Ghul is holding the complete Batman outfit, but yeah, Batman's wearing pants. You know, because he's saying that you know, they wouldn't allow him to, I guess, just be
nude,
kind of, or not even like not show anything, but I guess just like his bare leg.
Yeah, like even in the shadows,
like
or whatever.
Yeah. You know, so he was like, yeah. So
well, to speak on that, right? It's like we're drinking beer, and at first I debated about drinking beer because I was like, Superman wouldn't drink beer, but that's wrong because in the Brandon Ruth one, he drinks Budweiser with Jimmy Olsen at the bar. But also, there's that famous cover where it's him and Pa Kent.
Or it's like that.
They're on the fence in Smallville having a beer in their hand, bottled beer. But apparently people made them change it, and they changed it to soda.
Soda, yeah.
But it was because it was like Superman wouldn't drink beer. But I was like, why not? He's an American country kid. He would definitely. Beer is as American as anything. I mean, it's German, but you know.
I don't even know if he could get drunk, honestly.
No, I think in one of the series or movies he says that he can't.
Yeah.
That he can't, like, it doesn't matter like how much he consumes or whatever. So you know what I mean? Like,
I mean, that's just stupid shit. It's like when they said Batman can't go down on Catwoman.
Right, like
come on,
again,
like really, he's a missionary.
You have a chance to make him. You have a chance to get me and Double A back on Batman's team by letting him go down, and then they are like, no.
Batman doesn't go down. That's what they said.
Or
Batman
heroes can't go down.
Heroes can't go down.
I like that the women were like, so they're selfish lovers.
Wow.
I was like, yeah, exactly. So, whatever.
So the movie comes out, man. 1978. We get an unknown as Superman, Christopher Reeve.
Mm-hmm.
But you got him surrounded by Marlon Brando and Gene Hackman.
Yep.
Two of the top stars of the 70s, and that's where we take place, 1978.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
did Margot Kidder have a kind of a career at that time?
I think Amityville was the only one.
Okay. You know, because Christopher Reeve was an unknown.
He was an unknown, yeah.
But, man, guys, there is not a better looking Superman. I mean, Christopher Reeve.
That movie is great. The effects are really good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the story is great.
Oh, yeah. I love it.
The costume looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Doesn't look tacky at all.
No.
Gene Hackman does a great Lex Luthor.
Excellent Lex Luthor.
You know, Ned Beatty, again, badass.
Wonderful supporting cast. Also had a bit of already a career, so he was another kind of name to be thrown
Richard
in there.
Donner, you know, right there, boom, director.
Good old Dick Donner, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's helping, you know. And I believe that the screenplay is by Mario Puzo.
Yes, Mario Puzo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Score by John Williams.
Yep.
So it's like
it's
got a lot of stuff
going
going for it. And when you get all those elements in the pot, you get the birth of the superhero movie, and it is fantastic. Even now, this day I look back on it, there's like only one campy part, and it's just like Lois when they're flying, and she's reciting her poem, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? But I guess it's meant to represent, like, she's goo-goo eyes. She's like a little girl in love with, like, essentially a Superman. A god. Yeah, you're like, this guy's taking me fucking flying? Like, they're flying. You know what I mean? I'd probably be spouting poetry too. I'd be like, oh, and I love you. You know what I mean? Your blue tights.
It was just super amazing. I still love that movie.
Yep.
I can still watch that movie any fucking time.
And part 2.
And part 2.
And for me, and this is my guilty, I like part 3.
Well,
I do like part 3.
When I was a kid, Superman 4 was my favorite.
Yeah, okay.
When I was a kid, because it was like him going up against another fucking superpower dude.
Yeah.
And Gene Hackman was still in there.
Right.
You know?
Right.
I mean, it was like Luthor still.
But you had wanted to see Superman slug it out with somebody.
Yeah.
Like, man, I want this guy to fucking hit somebody.
And I think that's what's so cool about part 2. You know, because he has 3 of them that he can do that with.
Yeah.
But, I mean, man, that first one comes out, boom, just tears up everything, makes $300 million in 1978. Golly, and just makes him a star, you know. Marlon Brando again, Gene Hackman, you know, it's like, damn.
How about that tagline, Dooley? You'll believe
a man can fly.
And I imagine at that time you hadn't really, you know, maybe you had seen some stuff and it was kind of like, there's strings, or it didn't look good, or like
this one looked really damn
really
good.
Great, and it still holds up. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's so many fun stuff that I will give credit to Holty Bear that he brought to my attention, like on later viewings. You know what I mean? Like the pimps. You know what I mean? Like you know, that's a bad outfit. You know, and then the little girl who's like, there was a man flying, and you hear the slap. You know?
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I was like, holy shit.
That's the late 70s, right?
Yeah, I was like, fuck.
But it's a great movie. You've talked often about the Christopher Reeve scream, the acting.
Oh, man, every time, like my wife even says that's her favorite part. Because what a great fucking part. What a great piece of acting. You know, he sees Lois dead, and man, the fucking tears come out. You see the anger and just that howl, man, that fucking horrifying scream that he does, you know. You know, you're just like, wow, you know. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully nobody was there like within 50 miles, because if they were, their fucking heads are just exploded right there.
We talked about Emerald Knight. We talked about Doctor Strange. But here's a guy that's like, I'm doing the same thing in that movie. You know what I mean? He's like, I think this will work. Let me take off and spin the earth backwards on its axis. It sounds insane, but he's Superman, and that's what he does. And it's fucking visually cool. You're like,
it is.
Your mind does this. Would that work? I don't know. And we'll never know unless you're fucking Superman. That you can spin the world backwards.
My brother said all he did was just fucked up the rotation. That's all he did.
Fucking day is night, night is day. Fucking,
he said that's all he did.
The fucking gravity, just everything just blows off the fucking earth. So, yeah, I mean, you know, I would love to hear what a real, like, you know, scientist says about what would happen if that happened. But you know, what a cool. I mean, I think it's cool. And it's the late 70s. It's awesome, and it looked cool too. You know, he's like going around. So it's so neat. How about Christopher Reeve? The look. The only
look was good.
No one else has not worn padding. He's the only one. They say he bulked up. He was already a football player, I believe, but he gained, I think, an extra 50 pounds.
Yes, a muscle.
Muscle.
I mean, he looks intimidating. First off, he's 6'4".
Yeah.
All right.
He's already a big guy.
He's already a big fucking guy. He's probably 250. Assuming 250.
At least.
You know, so, when you're 6'4", you're pretty fucking heavy.
Yeah. But then to be in shape, too, where he's wearing that, and that's his shape, and he looks really good. He does. Like a Superman, you know?
He looks good.
The blue eyes, the spit curl.
He got it. He got it. That's something that Brandon Ruth couldn't do.
No.
And, you know, Henry Cavill kind of struggles with that. He's probably the best visually looking Superman. Henry Cavill, probably straight from the comics. That's the guy,
right.
But man, he just doesn't embody what Christopher Reeve does.
What I did not love about Henry Cavill was like the hairline. I'm like the top of his head. Like Christopher Reeve's is better. It just looks better.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And then you have the key element of Superman, and no one does it better than Christopher Reeve, is his Clark Kent. His Clark Kent is perfect.
But not just that. What I couldn't stand about the future Superman movies is that they always kind of portray him as this kind of like Messiah. You know, he looks like too fucking heroic, where people are in awe of him.
Right.
You didn't get that with the Christopher Reeve Superman. He was humbled, human, you know, everything.
Yeah.
they didn't give him that fucking aura that, oh, you can't touch him, he's Jesus, he's God.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I can't stand it. They always seem to do that with him.
I wonder if that's a little bit of a commentary on cultures of the time, because maybe it's like they feel like right now people are so desperate for something to believe in that they would latch on like that.
I don't know, and I think that's what really throws me off. That's why I like him and George Reeves. Their Supermans were never like that.
Yeah.
It was just like, it's Superman. You know, like, boom, Superman. You know, like you can still be his friend.
Like,
not someone that you're afraid to touch.
Maybe almost like how you would maybe revere like your favorite sports player or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, that is kind of cool. It kind of, that's something I never really thought about, but that's a very interesting aspect.
They make them too, like you're too fucking godly.
Yeah,
you know?
Now they have, that's how they portray it a lot now.
Yeah,
I definitely agree.
You know, stop doing that.
And I do want to talk a little about the George Reeves one. We'll get into TV in a minute here in the next block.
So many of that. We can have our own debates. There's movie Supermans and then there's TV Superman. So
not to mention, animation or whatever.
Animation,
But okay, so we get that one in 78. Right, and then we get
part 2 comes out quick.
We get part 2 pretty quick.
Yeah.
Have you heard that famous story with the guy that plays the big guy? That he supposedly, he had issues with Christopher Reeve.
Really?
No. Yeah, behind the scenes. No. They say he tells the story. He's pretty vocal about it. You could look it up.
Wow.
Google the article. But he's like, because apparently that guy was like, had like some mob ties or some shit or whatever, and that Christopher Reeve could be kind of, I guess, a certain way behind the scenes, and that he, they were like, people saw him like have him up against the wall, by his neck, and was like, because he was like a bodybuilder or something like that too. I forget what his name was in the movie. What's his name in the movie? This character,
I don't know. Like, I only know Zon and Ursa, really.
Yeah.
I don't ever know the third one.
I can't think of his name either, but anywho, so that's the story he tells. I guess, like nobody, can't really confirm it, but they say that he did kind of strong arm him, but.
Sure, maybe the fame got to his head quick.
Yeah.
I mean, golly, one movie and boom, you're known by millions worldwide.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and then like you said, it was a huge success. So again, the 3 more sequels. It's fantastic. They're like I said,
really good.
Yeah,
2 really amped it up.
I think people consider that one their favorite of the 4.
I would still say part 1, but 2 is damn good. Lex Gene Hackman is a lot better as Lex. Terrence Stamp is awesome as General Zod. I mean, that became the standard for General Zod.
Yeah. Son of Jor-El, kneel before Zod.
That cool too, like Krypton. the kind of going back to that and put him in the Phantom Zone,
which was that was cool too visually.
Yeah, it's cool too.
Kind of mirror.
Yeah.
Did you watch the Donner cut? I think we talked about it.
I have the Donner cut. It's fine. It's probably more darker in tone. I probably prefer the other one better.
Okay.
Yeah.
The theatrical cut.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I probably prefer that one.
I have a 4 box set, but I'm not sure if the Donner cut's in that box set that I have. I need to go back and check. All right, so then no Superman for a while.
Yeah,
it's kind of like
what's surprising, right?
Right.
The first 2 are massive hits.
Yeah,
but because of Superman, you do kind of start getting some of the other comic book characters coming in. Like, they're like, okay, Superman worked. You have Swamp Thing that comes out.
That's right. Yeah.
You have some other properties that start coming out, more and more.
And I think there was a lot going on in TV, too. You know what I mean? Like, the Wonder Woman show was going on. There was, like, a brief Shazam show.
Yeah, there was.
The Spider-Man show that kind of people don't talk about, So it was kind of like superheroes were safe.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Conan came out. Red Sonja came out, So, yeah.
So it definitely opened that door.
Big time.
And then DC doesn't really get another big win until 89 with Batman. And I would say shortly after that, Superman is back in the limelight, but it's in TV form. We're going to get the Lois and Clark show.
Yes.
And we'll talk about that one. And then there's also the animated show going on. But we don't get Superman back in movies until, was it 2006?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I think that might be right. Yeah. I might have my years wrong, whatever, but it around that time.
Superman Returns.
Superman Returns, and it's the Brandon Routh
and it's
Superman.
supposed to be the straight-up sequel to Superman Part 2.
Part 2, yeah. They kind of want to, not make the other ones canon. But they do some interesting things here.
I kind of thought it was interesting, yeah.
I didn't hate that. I didn't hate that movie. It's just the one. It only got one, right? Brandon just got the one out of it.
Which I thought he was funny too. I thought
he was okay. His Clark wasn't that great, but he looked good.
Yeah.
The suit, I loved the boots. I remember loving the boots. They went with a little bit darker, like a maroon. They took the yellow S off the back of the cape. I always don't like that. I like when the yellow S is there. And it does seem like they kind of tend to go with that maroon color a little bit more in the modern ones.
I remember, too, this is Bryan Singer.
Right, Bryan Singer.
So,
he's hot off of
X-Men.
X-Men. He does not do X-Men, 3? Which he backs off one of them to
He
go
didn't do Last Stand. He did 1 and 2, which at that point he was considered like the fucking guy to get
for a superhero
for
movie.
superheroes. Yes,
yes. And he was popularity comes off with The Usual Suspects, which I love that movie, but I cannot really say that I really love any of his other movies. Like, love them. X2 is cool, and the X-Men's all right.
Usual Suspects by far is his best.
By
movie.
far. And so he leaves, and so people think that because he didn't do Last Stand, it was terrible, and I'm like, no, that's probably not why.
And then when he came back, it was like, oh, yeah, that's pretty bad.
Yeah. So when he left to go do Superman Returns, which I didn't like the small S either, but it looked fine. But I didn't like that it was like a little bit small. I like kind of it's more prominent.
That's right.
But otherwise, I thought he looked good. Brandon Routh looked good. Obviously, he got love later on because he comes back in TV form. He's the Atom, but then he does get to don the black.
Yeah, he kind of gets to put a stamp on his Superman, kind of end that.
Yeah.
So that
was
really
very cool for him.
I liked it. I thought it was cool. I popped for that.
Yes, me too.
I really did.
Me too. So that's a little bit more on the TV side, but again, I think it's a fine movie. Kevin Spacey,
he did good.
It's a good Lex.
You can tell big time he was trying to do what Gene
Hackman did, right?
And maybe even Michael Rosenbaum too, a little bit.
Okay.
I know he did say he was kind of influenced by him too.
And it makes sense, right? If they tell you, like, hey, these are supposed to follow the Gene Hackman Superman, Lex Luthor, you're going to be like, okay, well, then I guess I got to
try and portray his.
Right. And it looked good. Like, that little scene when they're up there is neat, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's in the all white, and he's bald. And
I thought he did fine. He was good.
How'd you feel about Kate Bosworth as the Lois?
I didn't like it.
Yeah, I didn't like it either.
I thought she was out of place.
I feel as though I kept feeling like I was not a huge fan of Margot Kidder. Like, I was just like, she wasn't beautiful to me. And I was like, Superman needs, like, a beautiful woman or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, so I did not like Margot Kidder. She reminds me of, like, a Shelley Duvall type. And then when I saw Kate Bosworth, I was like, all I saw was that forehead. And I was like, why'd they get you? Like,
and two, I just think she didn't seem right.
No, and by the time we get Superman Returns, I'd already seen Terry Hatcher, and I was like,
golly.
Terry Hatcher was like absolute knockout.
Yeah, she was like this. Like, I was like, oh wow. Now there's Lois.
Yeah. But yeah, again, so not critically acclaimed, not loved by fans. No. So we only get the one, and it was kind of like, dang, DC can't get Superman right in movies, blah, blah.
Yeah, so they put him on the shelf again and kind of continue more with Batman.
Right. And then we don't get Superman again until it's like
Steel, which is in 2012, 2013.
I think so. Dark Knight trilogy ends. There's no Batman at that moment, and so then that's when DC, they only got their 1-2 punch, so they pounce with Superman again.
I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of like, when it first came out, when everything was announced, I shrugged. Because I was like, well, they're gonna fuck him up again.
Yeah.
But then I kept seeing the trailers, and then I saw they were gonna put Zod in there. I was like, okay, so as the months went by, I got more and more excited about it.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm good. So I did go see it, like, right after work, right after I was at Walmart.
Yeah.
I went straight to the fucking theater with my buddy, and we saw it, and we were just like, wow,
You liked it right away, right after you walked out?
Not right away. Okay. Not right away.
Because to me, it needed to, like, set in my brain a little bit.
So what I didn't like about this one, it was, first off, like, him kind of roaming the earth.
Okay.
Needing to find himself. I didn't like Jonathan Kent's portrayal. I love Russell Crowe's Jor-El.
Great.
I love that whole scenery of Krypton. I love Michael Shannon as General Zod.
Michael Shannon is an excellent asshole. He's great in Shape of Water. He's great in Boardwalk Empire. Yeah. He's a great actor. And he's especially great when he's a bad guy. Yes, and he's a very bad Zod.
I love him and Russell Crowe going at it. Mm-hmm. I like Diane Lane. Loved her.
She's great.
Amy Adams.
I love Amy Adams. I'm extremely attracted to Amy Adams.
But I thought they kind of really skipped over a lot of important stuff about him.
Yeah.
The whole Daily Planet. You know. he kind of does that like at the end.
Yes.
The Man of Steel, and she already knows who he is, and and
You're right. That roaming the countryside kind of threw me off a little bit too. I was like,
because I thought they were like, because Christopher Nolan was the producer,
right?
And so I was like, oh great, he's trying to put Batman Begins kind of into Superman.
Does not work.
And
that's
I was
not
like,
his story.
He's not dark. He's not a dark character. He's Superman. That shit doesn't work with him. It doesn't. Put that shit, leave it somewhere else.
If anything, you just want to like maybe modernize somewhat the story.
Some things, yeah.
I like that Soundgarden tune that plays though when he's wandering the earth. I was like, oh damn, all right. But again, even adding that music to that scene is like you're trying to make it dark because they're kind of dark and moody and brooding. I'm like, what? You know what I mean? Like, okay. There's some things you're not going to do exactly the same, you know what I mean? But
visually, like I said, Henry Cavill does it for me. I've loved him in the roles of Batman vs. Superman. Like, I've loved him how he does that. I love him in Justice League. Yeah. I love him in the Snyder Cut Justice League. I think he's perfect.
He's a very good Superman.
Yeah.
Like, all right, you're wearing the S good, like, and you're being Superman-ish.
What's bad, though, is that along with like the Hulk, with Superman, it's kind of hard to do them in the movie for whatever reason. They just don't capture the audience's attention anymore. You got to put them in that role where they come in. Yeah, and you're just like, oh shit, the Hulk's in. Oh shit, Superman's in there. You know?
Isn't that what we like about Snyder Cut? Is when he just jumps on to Steppenwolf, and you're like, oh, you're fucked.
You're fucked.
You're fucked, Steppenwolf. Now it's over for you.
It's a different game.
And he's fucking him up. So it's like, and you're like, badass. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of like maybe how you would need to do the dark side one in a ways.
Or even just like how he takes out the Justice League. I pop for that part.
That's a great part.
When he sees Flash, and Flash is like, holy shit.
I mean, that scene, people talk about the two cuts, the Whedon cut and the Snyder cut, and it's like, that scene is like identical. There's like nothing changed at all.
He's holding Aquaman and Wonder Woman. Like the two power, the two bigs, he's just like, ugh.
It's pretty fucking cool or whatever.
But overall, though, I probably haven't enjoyed a Superman movie probably since, I don't know, Superman 1, 2, I mean...
I own Man of Steel. I bought that one. I probably have not ever popped it out of its case, but I think that I have it like on the digital version.
Stuff. I love the fight battle with him and Zod.
Yeah.
And even Ursa, or I don't know if that's her name.
She's no, but I think she's meant to be kind of like her. But
she is. I just thought, I don't remember her name, but man, she was badass. Somebody put it on Twitter the other day or Facebook that she was really great in that movie. I was like, I loved her. Yeah, she was really fucking scary. She was intimidating. you know, and I loved her fight with Superman.
And it's funny because Man of Steel is one now that fans talk about that like over time it grew on them, and people are like, Man of Steel is a really great movie, and I think that it is.
I just don't like the origin. Right. I don't know. Right. The him telling Jonathan, "You're not my dad." I'm like,
that's
you really don't need to throw that in.
Right, and then not only that too, but like the death. We always talk about it. Like the thing about the Jonathan Kent's death, when you do use it, is it has to be something that Superman can't control. Yeah, like the heart attack, he wouldn't be able to stop that.
Yeah, like we see in the '78 movie,
right? And it's like it happens like a way, like when he's not there, it's just like he just stops.
Even in Smallville, it comes at a really perfect moment in Smallville. How they do the Jonathan Kent scene, so they really do it very well in that show too.
I thought Kevin Costner was great, but the whole like hand waving him off thing,
I love Kevin Costner. I was super excited.
This guy can move at a speed that no one's gonna fucking see. And even if they did, I'd be like, you're freaking out because it was a fucking tornado or whatever. Like, are you crazy? I'd be like, there's no way that I'm not saving my dad.
I hate it. Yeah, I hate it.
Yeah. That's the whole thing about the heart attack thing is that it's like. It's something that not even he can control.
If you see it in Smallville season 5, it really has a big impact on him.
Yeah, and I know you're a huge fan of that. When we get to the TV section, I really want to hear you dive deep on that because as much as I love Superman, I've never really visited and dug deep into Smallville. Not that I wouldn't, I just never have.
Oh, I mean, it's kind of hard. I mean, you're talking about 10 seasons.
10 seasons,
over 200 episodes.
Yeah, I would need one of those Disney Plus type of like essential episode playlist. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I probably could Google it. Somebody give me the essential Smallville because we've talked about it like with the X-Files. Like there's so many like filler episodes. I'm like, I want to see the meat and potato story. You know what I mean? But I know there's a lot of great shit in there, and I've always been a fan of it since you told me about it. I think you got Quincy Bear and Foxy Roxy to watch
they watched it. We
because
all
of you.
watched it.
Together. Okay.
For like the first 3 seasons, we saw it together. That was always really cool because they came by when I was first watching it, and they're like they weren't even visiting for me, right? They're gonna see Boy or Willie, man. They're like, oh, what are you watching? I was like 10 minutes in, and I'm watching this show. It's Smallville. It's the first episode about Superman in Smallville, and they sat down.
Yeah.
And every Tuesday they would come. I see John's green truck. Whoop. Yeah. Here they come. Has it started? Nope. Yeah. You're just in time.
Hey, that's kind of cool. That's like a fun thing to do together.
It was cool for 3 seasons. We saw it while they had time, while they could, because he was still high school. Right. So he still had time to come on Tuesdays. So him and Roxanne would come. It would be just the 3 of us in the living room. Yeah. And we'd watch Smallville. So
that's funny, right? That's awesome because this is like maybe the only other way you could have done it would have been like recorded for them on VHS.
Which is crazy, right? Yeah.
That's like dating ourselves bad, right? The people are like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that was back in 2001. So
now you can just binge the whole damn thing. Like you said, it's on Hulu.
Yeah,
right?
It's on Hulu.
So we kind of went really fast to Superman Returns, and then the movies, which there was the Justice League, the Batman.
Superman, there's only really been in six Superman movies.
Right? Yeah, which is the 4, the Man of Steel, and then Superman Returns.
Wow, Batman has 7?
Yeah, but then you got to see what do you count Batman v Superman? Is it a Superman movie? Is it a Batman movie?
I would say that. Yeah,
it's like it's so he's been in those, and it was fine. It was great. Again, they took full advantage of we have this big handsome guy. And it's you don't need a lot of Clark. Yeah. Let's give people more Superman. And you're like, all right. He's big and he's fighting people. And then they also took, what if people said he hasn't fought, strong people. We haven't seen a lot of, him using the power. So they tried to incorporate that. Although there is so much stuff they could do with the movies that they've yet to do with Superman. And me and you both crave so that. Much. Give us a Metallo one. Give us a Brainiac one.
Look at the amount of Spider-Man movies they are. And look how many of the characters they've used from his rogue galleries. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's primed to be done. Give us that movie. Give us the movie of him versus the Elite. And I hear that the animateds have done a really great job with him. Yeah. And I haven't caught up with all of them, but I'd like to. So, guys, we'll take a quick blip, and then we'll be right back with the TV stuff on Superman, and we're going to read through your comments. All right, I see a lot of comments have rolled in. They might all be Joe biting our heads off, so let's find out. Foxy Roxy in the house. Roxy, we were just talking about whose ears were burning. Let me go right up here.
Right. Oh, Jason says good night.
Oh, good night, Jason. Appreciate you being here.
Chris says, remember when Soups got drunk in Superman 3 taking shots?
One of my favorite parts of that one, too.
You know what? That's a good one. Is it because he split? Maybe that's why he got drunk?
Well, the red kryptonite effect.
That's right. That's right.
I think he was drunk on red kryptonite, Rizz. Not necessarily. He was drinking the whiskey, though, and then he got horny for Miss Tessmacher, and he went over there and handled business, I think. He gave her the... Ooh, there's a whole side story, right? The bastard child that Miss Tessmacher has of Superman's. You can tell... Let me tell that. I'll write that Elseworld story and see... And we'll call it whatever year Superman 3 was. They have Batman 89 just came out, right? The sequel. And then I'll do the Superman. All right. Whatever it was.
That's right. They do. They have Billy D. Williams.
Yeah.
And they show us
and they say that they also show the Marlon Wayans was meant to be Robin.
Marlon Wayans.
Mm-hmm. That's who Tim Burton wanted.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, he was a guy that was he's great and we love him in
really? You could say him as Robin?
Requiem. I don't know. At that time, it was kind of like Living Color.
That's what I'm saying. You could see him as Robin?
You know what? It's not that I could see it. I'm curious. I'm curious about it.
I can't see that one.
You know what I mean? I'm like, all right, what was he going to do with that? You know what I mean? That's, Tim Burton's mind's kind of wild. You know what I mean? So that's very, very interesting.
Joe says, I like Superman 3 even though it's generally not liked. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he got my corner to cut.
There's a lot of things that Joe and Lucky talk about on Now Watch This, and even on Jerry's show, that Totally Rad Christmas, where they say, how... It's funny, right? You said how you used to like 4. It's like our little boy. My favorite Rocky when I was a little boy was 4. 4. Because when you're a little boy, those things are cool. But when
it appeals more to you, right?
Right.
Until you find out the story about the other ones.
Yes. Yeah. Just like you get a taste for wine and things that you don't like that are gross when you're a kid. When you get older, you appreciate it, and that's exactly the movie. You're like, oh. I used to love Jedi. Was always my favorite for the longest time. You know, and sentimentally it still kind of is. But Empire is the better movie.
It's the same way.
It's the best of those movies.
I used to like Last Crusade for a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and I used to think Raiders was boring.
Uh-huh.
Until I went back, I got older, and I was like, "Oh, Raiders is actually really good."
Yeah.
I can see why it's always up there as one of the best movies of all time.
Yeah,
It took me a while, but when I did, I was kind of like, "Okay, I can see it now."
Right, it's super fantastic.
Joe says LOL when he looks at her shoulders. And man, that's a bad outfit. He goes, the theme is just awesome.
Excellent theme.
It made you go buy Superman underwears.
Absolutely.
I mean, how many kids at that time, you know, you have the story. You put a fucking towel behind your shirt. You know, you try to find something red, red shorts, red underwear. You put it on top of your clothes, and you get on top of a ladder, and you just pretend like you're flying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know,
who didn't have that story?
And that's in Man of Steel, right? They show him like with the clothespin as a cape on his thing. And it's so funny, right? I think that was meant to be like, that's the thing about Man of Steel. Take away the kind of story, it looks fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
Like
I love
that
when he's
scene.
about to fly.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
When you see the
like the earth shaking, is like reacting to him.
Yeah, and then he's just like, oh.
Yes,
you know?
like that, and like I said too, that scene. How about just him being in the field of like the hay or whatever, the wheat or whatever, and like, you know, when he's embracing, even in Snyder Cut, when he's embracing with Lois and with his mom. I mean, I'm like just a mess. I'm like, this is really like, I'm like,
I
you
gotta
could
watch a movie with you.
Yeah, dude, oh man, it's bad though. It's really bad. And it's like, dude, it's like, it just looks so beautiful. It's a beautiful looking movie. Like that's a beautiful movie.
It is.
So, you know,
and then too, I love the Russell Crowe narration.
Oh yeah,
you know, when he's doing that part when he's about to fly.
Yeah, I love that. And even in the Superman Returns one, I like that when it's the voice of
Marlon Brando.
I will be. You know, he's looking at his son. We didn't really talk about it that much, but the whole son aspect was kind of like okay, like it was like forbidden fruit back then, but now it's like practically canon. Like there's Superman as a son.
Chris says we need to tweet Neil deGrasse Tyson about what he thinks will really happen if the Earth got spun in reverse.
Yeah, that's a great one, Riz. We got to definitely tweet him about that.
Joe says the Jesus Superman.
That's it. That's very Zack Snyder.
Good point with the commentary on the culture for that time period. Joe says the director told the guy, "Don't hit the face of Reeves."
Okay. When they were maybe doing some of the scene coordination. All right.
Joe says X2 I loved, and he also said I liked Parker Posey too in Returns. Oh, I forgot she was supposed to be Miss Tessmacher, wasn't she?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, and she is good in that. I love her.
Love her in Dazed and Confused,
and in Blade.
Golly. Oh, in Blade
I like
too,
it. She's a bad bitch in Blade. Yeah.
Joe says I've always hated the weakness Lois is for Superman. Yeah, I do too. That should always be kept like a secret.
Right. I also think too, like when your best Lois is when your Lois is like strong and smart, because that's what Lois was. She should be like one of these, you know, strong females, not like this damsel
we'll
in
get
distress.
into it, but that's what I loved about Erica Durance in Smallville.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I definitely want to hear your thoughts on that.
Roxanne says I hate Amy Adams as Lois.
Here we go. Amy Adams hate on my Lois there. Let's see. Did I go too far? Shit. Sorry.
Then she says hi guys. But she says I hate Amy Adams as Lois. Why, Roxanne?
Yeah, boo to that comment.
I didn't think she was bad at all.
Yeah, she was fantastic.
And she's a Smallville alumni.
And she's beautiful too.
Joe says he loved Man of Steel. Definitely a multiple viewing. Our first view of Krypton.
Yes.
Is it?
Wow. In Man of Steel?
Wow.
Oh, maybe he's right. That might be very true. That Krypton really, it got talked about a lot, but they didn't really. Well, don't you see it kind of a little bit when
I mean, it looks boring.
Marlon Brando is
there. It looks boring.
Just like white, like it looks like a damn ice palace. Like, what the fuck is this?
Joe says I like some of the animated movies. I mean, DC has it there. Golly, the animated movies are really good. Yeah.
Joe, give me some good Superman ones to watch, but message them to me because I do watch your suggestions, as you know, when you give them to me like through Messenger. Especially, I feel like when we're on a topic, you gave me some great Titan ones, and I know there's some Batman ones you suggested. But give me some Superman animated ones you'd like me to watch. I know those are really kind of based on the comics. Like I know that All-Star Superman's out there, but Superman-centric, and I'll definitely check them out.
Roxanne says, I was super excited for Man of Steel, but I left the theater disappointed. I did too. It had some good parts, but I just didn't care for it. And I know Henry Cavill can totally act, And Michael Shannon is an amazing actor, so I was
Mm-hmm.
confused why it didn't hit the mark. I actually thought those two, their chemistry was actually really good.
Mm-hmm.
I love the play from Henry Cavill and Michael Shannon.
Yes.
Roxanne says, Smallville. And she goes, it was the best watching with Kat. Thank you very much. It was awesome watching it
We
with
call him
you.
Double A here on this show,
It was
Roxanne.
it was awesome watching it with you guys too.
Yeah.
So
That's a cool
awesome.
story. I like that story of
And it
y'all's,
was cool too because like when it was 2001.
Mm-hmm.
So it was his freshman year, so it was my freshman year. So it felt like as the 4 years went, it felt like I was going to school with Clark.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
that was really cool. So
Yeah.
when I was a freshman, he was a freshman. So
That's neat.
It was
That
awesome.
was like
Yeah.
a show of,
So that was-
of that
yeah,
time.
so that
I've
was-
talked about things before when I watch certain movies, whatever that is like, oh, like American Pie came out, like they're like graduating.
Yeah,
I was
that's right,
graduating.
that's right.
you
Yes,
know?
yes, yes.
So that when it lines up like that, it's kind of neat.
So it was
you know?
really cool. Yeah. So I was actually I was a freshman with Clark. So that's the way I saw it.
I know our
So-
cousin Belinda, I believe she graduated in the same year that the Saved by the Bell kids graduated, and she was a Saved by the Bell fan. I
Okay.
believe I might be. I have to ask her to correct me if I'm wrong. But
Joe says Superman versus Superman was great in part 3.
in part 3,
I'm
yeah,
assuming.
that's I love
That's
that
always
part.
the
And I was a little
the
boy.
highlight,
I thought
yeah.
that was like, this is awesome. You know what I mean?
Joe says, what did y'all think about the kid being his son in Returns? I was really surprised. I was like, oh, wow. He
Yeah.
has a son.
I thought that was really neat
I
because
think that was the first time I ever read or seen anything where he has a son.
so I think the only time that I had seen that done was, remember they did like a Kingdom Come sequel. And,
yeah, but
and
I
then
never read that.
And then okay, so I read it because
Okay.
I thought that how Kingdom Come ended with the whole him and Wonder Woman thing
Woman.
was extremely neat.
Yeah.
And so I forget what happens in that story because it was not that story, but there is this one image that I remember. You know how Mario just told us about the page grading thing. If I had a
Yes,
page,
yes.
I would love to have this page. They show him grown up, and it's the Superman Wonder Woman son, but grown up, and he's in this like white and gold uniform, and it looks, you know, like Superman. It looked really badass,
Wow.
and I was like, "Wow, this is fucking cool!" Like that, that was the only payoff out of that Kingdom Come sequel or whatever that I thought was
That's a-
kind of neat. But so yeah, so besides that, then this was the only time that I'd seen like,
Okay.
oh, he has a son.
Yeah, I never did. So it was interesting. It was an interesting take.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, okay, so there might be another super powered human there.
Right.
You know, so I was intrigued by that.
Yeah.
I was intrigued.
I wasn't all for it then, but I would have taken another movie.
I was
you know what I mean?
intrigued by it. So, yeah.
And I'll talk about in our next segment how I'm extremely intrigued by that now.
Joe says, just like Monster Squad beating Goonies.
Wow.
Lucky.
Wow.
All right.
Not in the box office, Joe.
Roxanne says, Man of Steel is very beautiful looking, which is why I was excited about
Yeah.
it.
And it still looks beautiful. I mean,
Joe says, you tear up with Russell talking and the first flight.
yeah, no, for sure.
They will join you in the sun.
Yes. Man, there it
He's doing
goes.
it right
See, getting it right now. Hitting the fields, Joe. Doing a great job.
Roxanne answered. She goes, Amy Adams is beautiful, but she is boring. I can't watch her. I only really like her in one movie. What movie is that? Because
Yeah, that's
I
we're
like her.
curious.
I like her in Sunshine Cleaning. I like her in Arrival.
Oh, I like her in Arrival.
She,
Yeah.
with Sunshine Cleaning, she's with Emily Blunt.
Okay.
They play sisters.
Okay, I haven't seen that one yet.
I heard she was excellent in that Christian Bale movie with him and Jennifer Lawrence and she wanted, or I forgot. I think Belle wanted. He plays like some sleazy fucking dude.
Okay, I need to see that one
And
too. Then.
Bradley Cooper is in there.
Oh, Silver Linings
No,
playbook.
no.
Okay, I don't know it,
Oh,
but I
wow,
just
okay.
I liked her.
I think you'll.
I
know it.
watched her
'Cause
in
Belle's
that.
like in this movie. Belle put on weight, and he's like a balding dude
Oh, okay.
with sunglasses. And I guess Amy Adams is like
Oh,
his,
I know
Yeah,
what you're talking
yeah.
about. American something
like
American
that. Yeah.
something
American
like
Hustle?
that.
I
American
can't
Hustle.
remember.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
that. Okay, I need to check that one out. But I loved her in the Sharp Objects show on HBO.
Oh, okay.
And she's
okay.
like she's kind of like a reporter in that one. But she goes back to her hometown, and it's got a lot of like plot twists, whatever. But she's also like a cutter. She like cuts herself
Okay.
like to like
Eee,
cope.
yeah.
But she's such a great actress in that. Like it's
And
a
like I said,
fantastic show.
she had an episode of Smallville, so she wasn't in Smallville.
Cool. She was
Yeah.
already being primed. I loved her. I think she was fine as Lois. She can emote so well. So.
I don't understand this. Maybe you can help me. Joe says best part of Henry Cavill is he's a nerd.
Yeah. So he was eager to be the Witcher, to be Geralt, because he's a huge fan of the Witcher, and he loves Lord of the Rings, and like I think he might be a D&D guy too. Like he's like that kind of nerd. He's like yeah, fucking geek Henry Cavill.
Kristen Crook as Lana Lang though. Hot.
Oh yeah, she is.
Everyone was in love with her.
Fox, man.
Everybody.
Where's she now, Double A?
I don't. She's on the CW show.
Man, what a beauty! I remember looking at her like, wow.
Really? I never got that feeling for her.
No, you never got vibes from Lana?
I fell in love with Lois, with Erica Durance.
Right, but she didn't come out to like season 5? 4? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh
but
man,
when she came out though, I was like, whoo.
She's so hot I almost watched that Chun-Li movie she did. I did not watch it, but I almost watched it because I was like, man, she's hot. Yeah.
Joe says, we all know from Mallrats that Lois couldn't take the shot.
I know.
That. We're talking about that.
It wasn't proven, though. I mean, but, okay.
Joe says, Amy Adams has never played a bad part.
Ooh, okay. Strong words.
Roxanne says, Mrs. Pettigrew lives for a day.
All right.
It's a girl comedy, but it's my kind of funny. She is excellent in it.
I'll watch it for that.
And she said, I liked her episode in Smallville.
Okay.
Yeah, that was like season 1 or through 3. It was kind of still like that Monster of the Week format.
Oh, nice. All right.
So, Joe says Amy was in The Office too.
Who was she in The Office, Joe? I don't remember that because she looks to me kind of like. I
think Roxanne get mad at me here.
Oh, okay. Amy Adams kind of resembles the gal that plays Pam. Yeah. So to me, I would like to know what episode was that, Joe?
Roxanne says what? Lana Lee was hot.
Yeah, she was.
And Rizzo.
He says LMAO
because obviously he found her hot too.
Yeah, great comments, guys. No, I agree. There was something. She sells purses. Okay, I need to go back and look. Send me an episode, Joe. I know you will, and then I can go watch. But yeah, I thought that about Kristen Crook too. She had the really like girl next door look, where I was like, damn, man, like no girls living next door to me ever look like that ever. In damn near 40 years tomorrow, so.
And Rizzo says like a shotgun right through her back.
Yeah. I don't know. There's there's an interesting part I'll bring up in our next segment in the TV part or whatever. But I'll take one.
I'm sorry, I'm not a big fan of.
Man, I just thought I always thought you liked her. That you might have had a Jones for her.
No,
but all right.
No, I didn't.
Were you? Oh, you were more into the sex trafficking one.
Come on.
What was she up to again?
She is. She's a bad person.
Was that what she was doing, Double A? She was sex trafficking?
during the show.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, she was pretty much recruiting and branding.
She was worse than Lex Luthor in that show.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah. And then Joe says, I love Rizz for that. Rock says Chloe was hot too. Yeah. I'm sure she's really hot in the women's prison right now. Where she was sex trafficking people.
She was very attractive, but I don't know. There was something about her, and I was just like, like her too. Like she was very attractive, and I don't know, but it wasn't until Erica Durance came.
Yeah, and she's definitely a stunner, that Erica Durance, no doubt. But I might have chosen Kristen Crook. You know what? I think maybe you like the wavy hair. Maybe that's what it was.
Maybe,
I don't know. But Rizz says,
but her character sucks too throughout the series. Like I really started Lana. I started really disliking her character as the series continued.
She was like a Winnie Cooper, right? Like that tease.
Yeah. It wasn't like Superman 3, where you could tell they had a history. Remember when he goes back and it's Annette O'Toole?
And she's the mom. Yeah, Annette O'Toole is the mom in that one.
Yeah, but it wasn't anything like that. Put it that way.
Annette O'Toole also pretty hot.
Actually,
I think I like. It's known I like redheads. I don't know if that's known on this show.
Redheads.
My
wife knows that too.
Yeah, I'm like a Wolverine.
I always try to get her to dye her hair, but well, she's right because she's like, you know what? After I get out of the shower, it's just gonna be everywhere. I'm like, you're right. Yeah. It's gonna be on her couches. It's gonna be.
And your wife's hair's so dark, she'd have to like bleach it out, then go red.
So I'm like, nah, I don't. I would like it for a day. So.
You get a wig. Get wig out,
Maybe Mary Jane.
Let's see here. We'll get these last couple in. Rizz says his Kryptonian biological makeup is enhanced by Earth's yellow sun. Yes, that's very true, Rizz. Rox laughs, and then Rizz says, if Lois gets a 10, then okay, we're going to go through the whole Mallrats skit here. And then Rock says, I didn't care for Erica Durance. She looked old to me. Sorry, darling.
You're piercing my heart, Roxanne.
And then just a little Black Widow action. Yes, the redheaded Scarlett Johansson is the hottest Scarlett Johansson for sure.
You're hurting me, Roxanne.
Although I like her looking kind of trashed out in Lost in Translation, where she's like just in her PJs.
Yeah, she looks pretty good too in Chef. She's in Chef.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
More reason to go watch. You should have started with that. Lead with that, Double A. You buried the lead on that.
I forgot because she's kind of like a cameo. It's more of a cameo.
Okay. Riz says, I agree. Too bad she was psycho and did the spring thing.
Yeah, I was too. You know, I mean, she could have been fine. I don't know. Michael Rosenbaum too. Well, like, Kristen Crook was part of that group too, initially.
Really?
Before it all kind of went to shit. Before it became like a big cult. Because supposedly it was a self-help group.
Ah.
And, yeah, I mean, it just sounds scary. That whole thing sounds fucking nuts.
What did these young Hollywood kids need help with when they're doing on a successful show?
She would read books, like self-help books and shit like that. And that's all he would kind of go into. He really didn't go too much into it. But I was like, oh, okay. So she... I don't know. I was like, damn, she was mentally...
Yeah.
Fucked up, I guess. So.
Rough for them to be attached with that. And it's like, fuck, people. What do people say? Y'all didn't know? You know what I mean? Like, I don't fucking know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
well, she got a sweet deal because apparently she gave up everything about that guy. So she has a pretty sweet. I think she's only going to serve like 3 years.
Always make the plea deal, guys.
Yeah, and she sure did. So.
Damn, there you go. All right, guys, let's get into the next segment. We're going to be talking about some of the Superman TV stuff. So we've touched on it, but we're going to touch on it some more. No, that was the sex trafficking joke. I'm just gonna leave it out. Never mind. When you guys see me at the bar this weekend, I'll make the sex trafficking joke, which is not funny at all. So we're not gonna make fun of that. But let's keep it going here, guys. All right, guys. If you heard the little whisper of a moment there, we're just letting our audio load up, and we had some great comments that you can hear. It's not done yet. I'll finish right now. Okay. That are not all available to you on our YouTube.
YouTube page.
The YouTube version of the show. Thank you. As that burp grossly came out, excuse me. So listen to the YouTube version. You get to read through the comments that we read through here on the live show. Great stuff from Chris Rizzo, Joe of Now Watch This with Lucky and Joe, and Foxy Roxy, alumni of the Just Another Friday Night podcast. Yeah, two or three time alum, I think. Roxanne.
And Rizzo too, man. Invincible Comics. Rizzo.
Comics and more. Yeah,
always has good deals going.
Riz is an artist. He says he does not want to talk on air, but he will definitely draw you up something very, very wonderful.
So we got some superstars here. So
yeah, guys, and if I would like you guys to join us for a drink. If I have one on Saturday, I'll let you guys know off air where. So Double A TV. Let's take it back because I know we both have love and experience with this. So kick us off with our guy from back in the black and white days.
Love George Reeves. Love the show. Now, the Superman show, you're not going to see anything special, okay? You're not going to see Heat Ray. You're not going to really see the Vision. Hell, you're not really going to see full strength. I mean, he just pops into the window and beats everyone up. I mean, it's more like a serial. Mm-hmm. One of those classic serials.
It's like you're watching what a radio show would have sounded like.
Taking out, your very basic gangsters, criminals.
I watched this a ton on Nick at Night. I loved it.
I did too.
I loved the leaping through the window. Yes. I love this just him, like, I guess on a thing and they're flapping the cape or whatever, or wind machine. Yes. Do you know how they did it? How they did it?
It was a wind machine.
And what's he laying on? He's on strings.
He's on strings.
Strings. I didn't think that it looked like, for the time, I would have been pretty amazed. I'd have been like, it was fucking awesome.
No, it was one of the hottest shows in the 50s. All right. It ran for like 6-7 seasons. I mean, pretty damn good. And, so I had grew up with Christopher Reeve Superman. So I saw his Clark Kent. So when I saw George Reeves' Clark Kent, I was like, oh, wow, this is totally different. He's not bumbling.
No.
He's just as good as Lois's. Mm-hmm. It's Perry's like, these are his number 1 and 2 reporters.
Yeah, which is kind of how it is in the comics. Because he's a very savvy reporter.
And I love the Daily Planet stuff. You get to see more of the Daily Planet shit between him, Perry, Jimmy, Lois. You see that whole dynamic. So it was really cool to see that aspect of the character.
I think he looks suave as fuck too, man. He's just dashing at the hat.
He looks fucking big. He's another big fucking dude that's massive.
I gotta say that George Reeves reminds me of the Alex Ross drawn Superman. I'm like, oh
that's
shit!
What I thought too.
He looked like the big barrel chest.
Yes.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that
And
square jaw.
yeah.
He just looks like a man, right?
yeah,
Just-
oh, big time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
like it's like he's a reporter, but he looks like just like a big fucking
Compared
guy.
to like
Oh, shit.
Jimmy, like
Right.
this dude just looks massive. You
Yeah.
know? I love the Perry White that they have on the show. Love his Perry
I
White.
can't remember him.
I can't remember
It's been
his
a while.
fucking name too.
Yeah.
The cop too. That was a cool character that they brought in. The
Okay.
detective. But like again, simple episodes, simple 30-minute
Yeah.
episodes. Nothing fancy about it. You know.
I always remember that about the show. Though, was like he'd be busting up like criminals, but he'd be like punching them, and I'd be like, "Jeez, like Superman can't punch anybody now. Like a human, like it would just be dead."
It was crazy. Sam, there's this one episode that I always remember. For some reason, someone actually finds out who the fuck he is. They actually go to his apartment and they find his secret closet.
No shit.
So they send him like a ransom note. Like, I know who you are, and unless you do so and so, I'm gonna tell everyone you're Superman. Well, he finds this dude. He does work. He does detective work. He finds this dude, and man, like it's kind of crazy. He grabs this guy. He flies him to like some fucking mountain where it's snowing.
Oh,
I don't know
shit.
where he's at. He goes, I have to leave you here until I figure out what to do with you. Well, the fucking dude starts trying to climb down, and he slides off, and he dies. And I was like,
What
holy
on
shit. I was
earth?
like, I remember I showed Willow. I was like, what the fuck just happened here? He kind of like took this guy to like some middle of nowhere. And then he fucking died. I was like, holy shit. I was like, that's kind of brutal. I was like,
I
that's
need to
a
go
dark
YouTube
one.
that. Can you imagine Superman comes back? He's like, oh, this mess just
Oh,
cleaned up
yeah.
itself. Like,
Yeah. And,
all done
yeah,
there?
I was like, man. I was like,
Now-
whoa, that's brutal.
Now, Double A, he would like bend bars,
Yes.
bend guns
Yes.
sometimes, and
Yeah.
we sometimes see like the X-ray vision. They would kind
Sometimes
of
the
show
X-ray
like,
vision.
him
yes.
seeing through stuff.
And you would see the bullets kind of fly off.
Right.
So
right.
that was cool. What was so cool about him is that for a big generation, they saw him as Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and there's the famous story where he went out and did like some celebrity stunts, right?
Okay.
Dressed in a costume.
Oh
Some kid actually brings a real gun.
no.
Yeah, it's a real story. Some kid actually brings a real gun and threatens to shoot him, so because he wants to see the bullet bounce off.
Oh my
Well,
god.
he's freaking out,
Yeah.
freaking out bad, but he's composed. And he goes, "Look, I know you think it's cool and everything, but what happens when you do shoot it and it bounces off me and it hits one of the other kids?" And he was like, "Well, I don't want that to happen." And I was like, "Yeah, so when do you have the gun?"
Wow.
And he gets a gun from the kid, and after that, he stopped doing the Superman appearances.
Oh my
because he had so many
gosh.
people believing that he was fucking Superman for real.
Wow.
And so he never did that. And the other cool thing too is that he took the role so seriously that he never let kids see him smoke because Superman doesn't smoke.
Right.
So whenever kids were around, he would never smoke. So that was always off the table.
How
So-
interesting.
But
Man,
yeah,
that's
scary.
fucking cool.
Super scary.
Now, Double
Yeah.
A, tell me a little bit about obviously the actor George Reeves dies amidst controversy.
It's
correct?
very controversial because he was with a chick that was married, that had ties to mob. Like I guess all the old school Paramount or like
Yeah.
movie bosses.
Yeah, Black Dahlia shit, right?
So he ends that relationship. He gets with someone younger, and one night I don't know. He just goes up and there's a shot. Boom. They don't, but nobody checks on him. A lot of people suspect it's the fucking wife, of that dude, or it was a dude. Because he loved his wife so much, he didn't care that she was having an affair with George Reeves. He didn't care as long as she was happy. So they don't know if it was her, the husband, or if it was his new lover. No one knows because they're saying the gun is positioned just if. I don't know, the whole suicide thing. When someone commits suicide, it falls a certain way.
Yeah.
There's gunpowder on your head. It's all that shit.
The Kurt Cobain one's
Yes.
kind of like that, too.
Yes. And so they said the work was real shoddy, real bad. They don't think it was suicide.
So it was not. Oh, they don't think. So
They
it
don't-
was initially ruled a
A
suicide.
lot of
but
people
not.
don't think it's suicide.
Yeah.
But they ruled it suicide quick. Boom, it's done.
Yeah, and
You
they
know?
say that's when they think it's suicide, it's a quick open and closed case
Yeah.
for police. But
I mean,
wow.
and that devastated a lot of people.
Oh, I'm sure.
Superman, the headline, Superman kills himself.
How awful,
I mean,
man.
golly.
How awful.
And-
And kind of talked about in the Hollywoodland movie.
I
correct?
love that movie too. I would really recommend that one, Hollywoodland. It's Ben Affleck,
Yeah.
and he's kind of and it shows like a lot of his grief and anguish. Kind of being the Superman. That whole controversy too about the suicide. If it was suicide or murder.
And so it goes all the way into that.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
It's
and
really
it
good
also
movie.
shows you guys that Ben Affleck wanted to be Superman before he was Batman.
And they actually show him in the outfit.
That's neat.
So that's pretty cool to see him too, what
neat.
he would look like as a Superman. So.
Yeah.
But it's a really good movie. Diane Lane too.
Oh, okay,
she plays the
nice.
lover, the jilted lover.
Oh, wow. No
Adrian
shit.
Brody's the detective. You know.
What a great cast.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
Fantastic.
It really is.
All right.
Yeah.
And that's kind of cool too if you like those old Hollywood stories,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And like the Black Dahlia, I mean, like that's another fucking super horrific one. Okay. Yeah, I'm a huge fan too. Love George Reeve. I thought he was great. Great look. Fun show. Used to watch it again as a kid. My dad was like, "Oh, you're watching this again?"
loved it.
I always tell stories that my dad would be like, "How the hell do you know about it?" And I'd be like, "Dad, there's a Nick at Night."
And it was, yeah.
And we would then watch it sometimes together, and he knew that I liked it.
Sometimes me and my dad too would watch it together. Sometimes.
Pretty cool.
When
Pretty
it would
cool.
come on at a good time. So.
So I guess then we get maybe Super Friends next, right?
Yeah, so we get into Super Friends. Yeah,
in the 80s.
That's when you show the team, you know, and that's pretty fun.
That's
Fun
probably where I
cartoon.
fall, like maybe like initially in love, because I'm like I remember I had his original Super Friends figure. It had the cape yellow S on the back. It's got to have that. And then I don't remember what he did. He squeezed his legs, like, and his arms moved up and down. I think I'd love to own that
toys.
again.
How are they so expensive?
Yeah, I would love to own that again. I bet it's probably something.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're so shitty. It's like
I own much cooler Superman toys now. You know what I mean? But
after that, then I never got to see it.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a Superboy series that did run for about 4 seasons.
Oh.
Late 80s, early 90s.
Shoot, I don't think
There's
I'm familiar with that
period.
one.
Yeah, and it's just Superboy.
Okay. And Superboy was a big thing, too. Like, people like Superboy. They like the idea of there being a Superboy. So that was
I never
cool.
got to see it. If anyone saw it, let me know how it is. I don't know how that Superman was. I don't know that actor, how he did.
Okay.
So I don't know anything
I'd like
about
to look that up.
It ran
Just
like
some
4
trailers.
seasons, I believe.
Oh, wow. This was a nice little run.
Decent, yeah.
Yeah. And then I guess the next big one in the 90s is we get the New Adventures of Superman, Lois and Clark.
Yeah.
I loved this at the time. I thought
liked
that
it too.
I thought that
I loved
Dean
it too.
Kane looked a little bit ethnic, which I thought that was cool. I was like, oh, he's kind of like,
anyways?
you know, I read that he's like part Japanese.
Oh.
and there's might be some Hawaiian or something like that in
okay.
there. He's got like he's like mom is half or something like that.
Okay,
But
okay.
anyway, I just remember he looked kind of ethnic, and I was like, oh, like he's like
he's
olive
darker.
skinned.
Yeah,
He's darker. Yeah. And but I thought he acted very well in it.
Yeah,
I watched
loved
all of it.
Yeah.
John Shea as Lex
Yeah.
Luthor was really good. He had hair for most of it until the very end. And again, I loved Terry Hatcher. She was, and it was very like, you know,
I
she
fell
gets
in love
into
with
trouble.
Terry Hatcher.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, she's like the perfect. I was like, wow, that's the perfect Lois.
Gorgeous, smart.
Yeah.
I mean, like she was great. Yeah, and I think that she was a Seinfeld alum, and I think out of that is where she got maybe the Lois and Clark thing.
Where he thinks, where Elaine tells her, like, I don't think they're real.
They're not real.
yeah,
Yeah,
and she tells him at the end
they're real and they're spectacular. Yeah. But I thought Dean Cain was great. I thought that the show did a really great job of their romance. Like it's never isn't it?
Yeah, that's a good point on that one. Yeah, so it's more of the Superman or Lois and Clark.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're dynamic.
And
yeah.
it was like a hit show, I think, on ABC.
It was.
And it took a dive when they finally got together. That's when everyone was like, "Oh, a lot of people were hanging on for when is it? When isn't it?"
See, from what I read, and this kind of sucks, is that the DC kind of forced them to kind of follow the comics for whatever reason. Because when they got married in the comics, they wanted the show to be on that wavelength too, and I think that's where it fucked it up when DC got involved.
Yeah, that's
instead of just letting them be their own show.
And I think too that like I don't remember there being like a lot of supervillains. He used the superpowers. Lex was mainly kind of pulling the strings. It was kind of like
I think there was a Toy Man.
Formulaic in that sense. Yeah, there was some stuff that happened.
Do you know on these shows that really not a lot of the superpowers, I guess, right?
Right. Like
The
strength,
villains,
speed,
or the villains. I
right.
mean, right.
No. Yeah. It's more like thwarting some
Yeah.
like threat of whatever kind. But I do remember that first episode kind of said, it's funny because somebody just recently told me they watched it. It might have been Holty Bear. He said that in that first one, he just goes right up to Lex. He goes into the office and he's like, you know, because he's trying to figure out things about Superman. And like, who is this, you know, strange visitor from another planet? And he's like, he puts him through these kind of tests or whatever, but he's creating like, you know, like whatever explosions and shit like that to test him.
Oh, that's
and then he flies into the office and he's like, "You want to see how fast I am?" And he like shoots a gun at him, boom, and he catches the bullet. And he's like, "You want to see how strong I am?" And he grabs this big like broadsword that Lex has there, and he just like bends it or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, damn, like, all right, Superman, like you gotta be like kind of feisty and shit, you know what I mean? But it's a pretty cool, like, you know, moment. Like, all right, we're getting something a little bit different here.
And I'm not gonna lie, I've been wanting to see it because it's on HBO Max again.
Yeah,
and I have been wanting to watch it again.
I wouldn't mind checking out a couple episodes.
I like it. I like the chemistry that he had with Terry Hatcher. Again, Dean Cain was very easy. You know, very easy Superman to like. So
I remember too, like there was like some pretty fun, like, you know, tongue in cheek kind of parts, whatever. Like when the mom makes his outfit and she's got the tights on.
That's
and she's
right.
Like, they won't be looking at your face. That's for sure. And he's like, that's Mom, you know.
That's right.
But that's kind of cool. I think the dad is dead. They go with the dead Jonathan Kent.
Okay.
I think.
Okay, I thought he was alive.
Mm-hmm. I might be wrong. I could be wrong. It's been years. But I used to literally go into my bedroom when it was time for that show, lay down in bed, put the lights out, turn it up loud, and I would close my door. You know what I mean? My parents probably thought I was whacking off or something. And I'm in there watching Lois and Clark being like, "Oh, I hope they fall in love." You know, but I even thought like Clark's little apartment was cool because he lived kind of like a bachelor, like a poor bachelor, which I was like, you kind of didn't really see that. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, like, you know.
I guess even then he had to go to like really great lengths to show like I don't have all this badass stuff from India, Japan, you know, blah blah, where you could probably just, you know, get stuff.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Whereas like when I think about the George Reeve Clark Kent, like that guy was like a big shot reporter, so he probably had like a nice ass place. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, here it's like Clark's kind of like, you know, and then you're working with Lois, who's like the best. So it's kind of like, oh, fuck, like I'm not going to ever be up to that standard, you know what I mean? So you're just there, like, you know, and he would dress kind of like, not goofy, but he just wasn't dressed like that cool, you know what I mean? Like, I felt like he'd be wearing like mismatched ties and shirts, like tucked into jeans, his shorts. I was like,
that's right,
why are you dressed like
I forgot
but it was the 90s.
Yeah,
it
was.
I was like, all right.
People were doing that shit.
Okay, so then that ends, and then the next incarnation we get is
The Adventures of Superman, right?
No, which one is? Oh, the animated.
The animated.
Right. Because off the heels of the success of Batman the Animated Series, which was absolutely fantastic, we get the
which I think is a fantastic cartoon.
Superman the Animated Series.
Superman, yes.
Superman, yes.
Fantastic series, great writing, great series. Mm-hmm. You know, voice acting. Tim Daly.
Tim Daly
is always going to be my Superman. Always.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's who I grew up watching. You know, voicing him.
Oh, wonderful! All right.
So when they did Justice League right afterwards, I was like, "Who the fuck is this? That's not Superman." You know?
Oh, right.
You know, so I was used to Tim Daly, Kevin Conroy. You know, I was used to those two guys. You know,
interesting. Okay.
So great stuff, great cartoon. Highly recommended. It's on HBO Max.
Yeah. I didn't watch it as much as I watched Batman the Animated Series, but I even kind of quit Batman the Animated Series, and this is the only way I can really remember it, is when Joker's eyes went from
the
being
animation turned.
Right, and I was like, what is this? And I was like,
everything just got weird all of a sudden.
It was the same voices and everything. I just didn't like it no more. Like I got
Poison Ivy looked different. Yeah, everything looked different.
I was probably getting a little bit older too, right in that time I was growing
that
up.
bothered me too.
Yeah.
Like, you know how we always say the art's kind of like off, it always bothers me.
Like they made it more kiddish or something. And I was like,
I don't know, but that really, like, there's a lot of good episodes, but that really turned me off.
Yeah,
it really did.
Is the Nightwing one in that series?
Yes.
See, that's why I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
And once I kind of got out of that, I knew that Superman was coming out, and I liked him more, but I just didn't get into watching it. But just recently, Double A sent me some episodes, and I absolutely adored them. They were fantastic. I do agree. The art was great. I remember that they showcased a lot of his rogues gallery, and it was like it was a fun show. And the 5 you sent me recently were so much fun. Which ones were they? Double A, you sent me.
It was the Father's Day. Where he takes Jonathan out, and it's Calabac too. Trying to impress Darkseid.
That's right. Calabac's trying to impress his dad, and Jonathan gets kind of in the restaurant. They drop the ceiling on him or whatever, and it was kind of. I was like, oh shit, what the fuck's gonna happen in this episode? You know what I mean?
There's another one where he figures out a murder case that there's a guy that was sent to prison on death row for murder.
That's right.
He has to prove that it wasn't him.
And this is the real world's greatest detective, Superman, Clark Kent, not Batman. Batman, no detective is as good as Superman because he can see through shit and rifle through papers a lot faster. And he does.
Yeah.
And he has to, prove this guy's innocence or whatever. But at the same time, what happens is that Clark Kent dies.
Yeah, a dirty cop puts a bomb in his car and blows it up. So he's like, fuck.
And he goes off the road into the water. And he's seen and he's like, well, fuck, like I
Yeah.
can't. How can
Yeah.
I, you know?
Yeah.
And he goes to his own funeral. He goes to Clark Kent's funeral, and it's so funny because they call his parents, and they're all like, "Oh, okay, all right." And
Yeah,
he's like
they're
sitting there.
Do you need a moment to process this? And I was like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, and he's like, "Well, you know, like."
He's
they're-
pissed.
Yeah, and they're like, "Well, just get a new identity." He's like, "I can't just get like a new identity. Like I'm trying to like do this." Like they're not understanding. Like you're alive, so we don't give a shit. You know what I mean? So that's a really fun moment. It's a fun episode.
There's another one where they figure out how to open a portal, and so Lois goes in, where Lois dies into like another future, and Superman teams up with Lex. So that was a pretty crazy one.
And it's like a dystopian future, and he's kind of like a overlord in a way.
Yeah, big time
where
overlord.
he's, it's very Red Sun-ish, where he's thinking like, oh well, y'all aren't gonna act right, so I'll get y'all to act right.
And there was like two of them. I think I showed you with Brainiac, where he's just causing a lot of fucking havoc.
Oh, I love the
he
one
goes into Gotham,
where he dresses as Batman. He dresses as Batman. He's kicking it with Robin or whatever.
But he's like somehow he's able to change his voice too.
Yeah,
where he sounds like Bruce.
That's like a Superman superpower. He's like, I can do you if you want. He's like, no, it's okay.
Yeah, I was like, holy shit. So Sam really dug the episodes. He really dug them. He loved it. He thought it was great. And I really think all of them are really good.
They're like 22 minutes. They're so short. I watched like 3 during my lunch hour.
That's a really badass series. I love them. Will was watching them too with me. So Will loved them. And then Smallville comes out, man.
That's right.
2001. Brand new origin story. Young Clark, Lex Luthor. Somehow them two are best friends. Lana. No tights, no flights. That was the whole rule about this show.
Right. No, you telling me that.
Strictly Smallville. Yeah. Tom Welling, man, just emerges, becomes one of a lot of people's favorite Supermans or Clarks, I guess you would say. This was a series that kind of started bringing in more of the lore, finally. It took a while, even for the series, though. It took probably until season 5, pretty much, where they started bringing Brainiac, and they started bringing Hawkman, Green Arrow. They started bringing in Flash, Aquaman. All these teams. Darkseid comes out. Doomsday comes out.
Yeah.
Granny Goodness comes out. All these fucking villains finally are coming out. The Legion of Superheroes, they come out.
They do Darkseid?
Oh, yeah, in the last season.
Okay.
Yeah, General Zod is like the villain of a whole season.
Oh, wow.
So it's really fucking cool. They really bring out the mythos in here.
And it's the kind of birth of the TV verse that we know with like Arrow, Aquaman.
Yes.
Well, I know there's one with Aquaman, like a kind of a Justice League episode.
Yeah, there was. Yeah.
That Greg Berlanti, he's behind that one as well. Because he's the name that is associated now with all of like the current shows.
He might have been. I know it was like Mark Miller, and I can't remember the other one.
Okay.
I can't remember the two creators,
Okay.
but I don't think they have anything like Smallville doesn't have any tie-ins with these other shows.
Okay.
They're kind of different, but Smallville pretty much helped
kicked it off. We
off.
can introduce these other.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Yes. And John Schneider comes in as Jonathan Kent. Probably the best Jonathan I've ever seen.
Okay, awesome.
He's a younger dude. They he's like in his 50s probably when Smallville comes out. So he still looks good. He still looks strong,
And we all know him from
Dukes of
Hazzard.
Hazzard.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's a really good fit. Him and Annette O'Toole, they're like perfect ages for like a teenager.
Okay.
They're not like super old where you look at them like in other variations. They always look super old, right?
Yeah.
Like in the Superman movie.
Right. Yeah.
They look like really old,
older,
right?
Yeah.
And this one, he still looks like he can kick ass and do the Dukes of Hazzard shit and everything.
Right.
So
right.
He was really good. I really enjoyed him. I really was upset when.
Although Tom Welling looks a little bit like, I'm like, how old are you supposed to be? Like, you looking like a straight up man, bro.
No, he was. At that time, he was like 27, 28. Or
yeah. Oh wow.
Trying to play like a 14-year-old.
They're like, you are developed.
Yeah. But it was really upsetting when they decided to do the killing off of Jonathan Kent. That was a really heartbreaking episode. That was like season 5, episode 100.
Yeah. Oh, neat.
And man, it was such a big moment, and golly, it hurt.
Yeah.
It really fucking.
But
hurt.
what a great thing to do in a sense where it's like you've learned to love the character, and the
hard,
loss
man,
has felt harder.
Because I was like, they're not going to do it. It's already season 5. He's still alive. They're not going to do the whole origin story. They're going to let him live, and nope. Has a heart attack, and it's devastating. It's brutal. And John Glover I don't know if you know him. He did the voice of the Riddler in the Batman animated series.
Okay.
If you saw him, you probably will recognize him. But he does an excellent job as Lionel Luthor. Pretty much the prototype of everything that Lex would become.
Yeah, the long hair and the beard. I watched some episodes because I've actually tried to get into it several times.
What a fucking asshole that dude was. He was like Smallville's main villain for like almost for like seasons 1 through 7 almost.
Okay.
Golly, what a fucking scumbag.
Yeah.
Michael Rosenbaum was perfect as Lex.
I remember him being excellent.
Excellent. That guy was amazing. I loved his Lex. Erica Durance, golly, was a great Lois. She really develops in her own about around season 7 or 8.
Okay.
That's where you really get like her full range of her being Lois, because that's when they start working at the Daily Planet.
Yeah.
Around season 7 or 8. Yeah. That's when both of them are there.
And these are some of the concepts that are played with, right? Because it's like, is Metropolis far from Smallville?
No, it's not. They actually, it makes it sound like it's just like right there.
Okay.
Like they live in the country,
right?
You know, and the city's like right there.
Yeah, and so, the Superman lore never has like Lex and Lois being at Smallville. It's always he leaves Smallville to go to Metropolis, and there he encounters.
Lois is already like in Metropolis. Her and Lex, you know, they already know each other. It's Clark that comes in,
right?
Not knowing who these two people are, you know. So,
but in this show, because they're all set in Smallville, they're all there, which is fine, I think, because again, it's a little bit of a tweaking and toying with the mythology.
And it was cool. It was cool seeing, you know, what kind of friendship they could have had. It was really cool. To see that, you know.
Yeah. I like the idea of like the best friends that eventually become greatest rivals. You know
bad rivals.
So,
yeah. And you can feel the hate by the time like almost like season 6 comes around.
Really?
They were just like almost just like at each other's throats by that point.
Interesting.
You know?
So, it fleshes out, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
And they bring in a lot of the comic stuff, like you know, Lex tampering with the cloning process, you know, and all that kind of shit, and you know, the Justice League coming in and stopping him. You know, it starts moving more into the comics like around season 6 through 10.
Okay.
They really kind of leave all that Smallville stuff behind. It's still called Smallville, which is weird. Right. But towards the end, they're like fully in Metropolis.
Well, no, that's cool though. I mean, because it's like that's what the origin of the show was.
Now I know, like the thing that everyone did though, was like that last scene in Smallville. You know, it's finally into the future. It's finally set up. He comes out on the rooftop and. Man, he opens up the suit, and there it is, man. Now, we never get to see him in the suit. We never really get to see him fly, but golly, just that image of him opening the shirt.
It's like a big payoff.
Golly,
I like that. I think I may have even YouTubed that myself.
Yeah,
because,
I didn't even use the music.
Oh, wow,
I didn't even use the John Williams music, man. So and Christopher Reeve came on the show. He gave it his full blessing.
Right, I forgot he played like a scientist or something like that. He did. Right?
And,
how cool is that?
He kind of already knew who Clark, kind of where he came from and everything. So it was kind of like a passing of the torch. I remember that it was a huge moment in Smallville. It was huge. It was
because he was already in the chair after the accident.
Yes.
So that's so
but for him
awesome.
to come out and act, and he did a really good job. In that limited role that they gave him, but he did really great. I mean, it was just cool seeing Christopher Reeve there.
Absolutely.
And again, it was kind of like a big moment. I remember it was kind of like. He was giving him Tom Welling, like, here you go. You know, you're Superman now, you know.
Wow, that's cool,
kind of,
man.
it was really cool to actually get it from the man himself, you know.
I remember thinking when they did the, and obviously, you know, we kind of talked a little bit about it, but they did this, we have to take TV into the next block, but when we did this, they did the Infinite Crisis thing or whatever, right? And that was like the new superhero shows tying in, and they do this scene where they show Tom Welling, you know,
loved it too,
married to Lois, they've got kids, and he's like on a farm, and they're like, oh, can you come help or whatever? And I guess he can't. I don't think I remember, but
well, they're telling him pretty much that Lex is trying to kill every version of Superman, and just as I guess he's about to tell him. Lex comes out and makes him like go away, vanish, whatever he does.
Right.
And he tells him he's John Cryer, the new Lex Luthor.
And
he's like, "Who are you?" He's like, "I'm Lex Luthor." I was like,
"No, you're not." Yeah,
no, you're not.
I also think he says he doesn't have powers anymore. That he gave up his powers.
So at first you don't know because he goes, "You know, I'm here to kill you," and then he brings out like a kryptonite, and Tom Welling, like his version, just grabs it.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, and he just throws it.
Yeah.
You know, and he's like, "It's supposed to kill you." And he tries like stabbing him or something, and then he just punches him.
Yeah. And I remember when I had first heard about all this was going to happen, and then when I did actually see it, because I hadn't watched any of those shows until I watched these.
Me neither. I didn't either. So.
And I thought that it was a little bit corny, some of the stuff, but some of the stuff was really cool. Looking forward to. But I was like, damn, since they had already used Brandon Ruth in one role,
Yeah.
I thought that it would have been cool if they would have dressed Tom
I
Welling
think
in the Kingdom Come.
I think everybody was hoping to finally see him in a suit.
Yeah.
And so when it was revealed that he gave up his powers, it was kind of like, shit.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So I don't know how long it was supposed to have been between Smallville and then. Maybe he had already cleaned up the whole city. Maybe he already, I don't know.
He looks like, a fully fledged man. You know what I mean? Like, obviously he's aged.
But they got so many people. Dean Cain made an appearance. He played Vandal Savage.
Oh, that's
Terry
right,
Hatcher came out too. They had so many people. Obviously Annette too. She came out. They had so many people from a lot of the Superman series.
And that's nice to pay tribute to all of the previous stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And bring those actors in and give you that. I would love to visit it. I think that I tell you I watch a lot of stuff sometimes. Like while I'm doing stuff, I could probably just put it on and let it play and get.
I would tell you you can watch the whole thing, or I can tell you really just start at maybe season 5.
Yeah.
Season 8 is pretty much, or season 9 is pretty much all of General Zod. Okay. Season 7 is like Doomsday. Season 10 is kind of like the dark side, so the fourth world kind of stuff.
Okay, interesting.
So it's kind of, so.
Well, you know that I can burn through stuff, so I might, as Joe says, the completist that I am, I may have to start episode 1 and then let it run. I mean,
10 seasons, over 200 episodes. I think it's the longest running Superman series ever, so it was a huge part of my life. I loved it. I love Tom Welling. A lot of people still consider Tom Welling to be the Superman for them. Yeah. For a generation. So.
I know you had such that closest with it, and I think that you even got like Jack. Didn't Jack also get into that one?
Yes, even some people at work. I lent some guy at work photography of the fucking Smallville series.
Very cool. Okay, guys, well, we're at our next break, but we're not done with TV because I got a couple things I want to chit-chat about. So we're going to come back, read through some comments I see came in, and talk a little bit more Superman on the small screen. And what he did and meant to us there. We'll be right back. And again, guys, if you're listening on the audio version, you're not going to hear that break. But let's get to these comments. Me and Double A here. Somebody's disagreeing with us, probably. Let's see. She makes purses. She sells purses. Okay, we
right here. Okay, go back up a little. Right there.
We go.
Rizzo says his Kryptonian biological makeup is.
Yeah, we did read this. Yeah, I think it's a 10.
Oh, okay.
Let me see.
Right there. I agree. Too bad. No.
No. Let's see.
Yep, 3 years. Okay. Yeah, bro, that Alex Ross drawing. Mm-hmm. Joe says, remember watching the Superman Batman back-to-back shows? Yeah, that's what I was telling CM. That's what I was like. I saw Batman and then it was Superman. Yeah. So I'm kind of surprised he didn't really stick to watch the Superman.
I know I'd seen some, and if I probably rewatched them, I'd be like, oh, I did see this one. Because I do remember some of the Metallo ones, because I wasn't really familiar with that character until that show. I was like, there's a Kryptonite heart guy?
That cartoon really introduced me to a whole bunch of his rogue gallery. Yeah. And I was kind of like, oh, wow, this
I have to admit, that's what the Batman animated series kind of did for me. Although I was familiar with 66 Batman and some of those villains, I didn't really get,
Clayface, right?
Well, Mr. Freeze.
I didn't know anything about Mr. Freeze.
Super fell in love. Yeah. Well, that whole ninja story, like, I don't know if that is... If Kyodai, is that from the comics?
No, I think he was...
Okay, that's just... I mean, I just watched those the other day just to watch those 2 episodes.
I became a Parasite fan because of the animated series.
Yeah, right. See, I wasn't familiar with Parasite either until the Superman show.
Bro, I gotta watch that episode. Oh, and then this one's for you.
Yeah, happy early birthday, handsome, and cheers to many more. Thank you, hon. I appreciate you watching a little bit. I actually took my Superman koozie home, so I'm drinking out of my Darth Vader one tonight, which oddly enough in my Superman episode.
And I don't remember this one. Maybe you can help me. Joe says, I remember the story being on Unsolved Mysteries. I don't remember.
Oh, the George Reeves.
Oh yeah,
George.
Yeah.
It's Christopher Reeve and George Reeves or George.
It's Reeves, both of them.
Both of them are Reeves.
Yeah, that's what's kind of cool about that.
Oh, neat!
Yeah.
Wow, how cool.
Joe, man, Hollywoodland. I would really highly recommend that movie. You probably would like it if you're interested in the George Reeves stuff. So
yeah.
Rizzo says Dean's father was half Japanese.
That's what it is. Okay. Half Japanese. Yeah.
Joe says I think the new Superman looks very Dean Cain like. I guess Henry.
No, unless you mean.
Or are you talking about that Tyler?
Yeah, Tyler Hoechlin from the Superman and Lois show. It's not Lois and Clark, but the Superman and Lois show. Right. I disagree, Joe. I don't think so. He has, I feel like, his own unique look. In fact, I would say he almost looked more like Italian, maybe.
He's small though. Out of all the
He's a
Supermans
smaller
I've
guy,
seen,
yeah.
he's small.
I want to talk about that. That's why I would keep.
Okay,
we're going to
okay.
keep on TV
Okay.
when we get back for just a little bit.
Roxanne says Dean was hot, Terry Hatcher was hot. Two beautiful people. Rizzo says, yeah, I wanted to see some of the BTS action.
BTS.
Batman the series?
Oh, all right.
Batman the series?
Yeah.
Roxanne says, okay, but after they got together, that's when Terry Hatcher got that old lady haircut. So it was them getting together that broke the show back, or was it her ugly haircut? Things that make you go. Ooh.
I was gonna say I gotta maybe
That
see the
could be a
haircut you're
turnoff for a
talking
lot of the
about.
comic book
Yeah,
fans.
it was.
Yeah.
I remember for
But
a minute there too. She was
well. I've seen shows like you're saying too. It's like when they got together. That's
moonlighting.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like the whole. Are they or aren't they? And they even say like the X-Files. Everyone wanted to see Mulder and Scully get together, but once it happens, you know what I always think about Double A? Like to kind of take it to wrestling real quick. It's like we were so hyped for Daniel Bryan to win the title, and I have to admit that when he finally did, I felt a little bit flat because I was like, I was so hyped for it, but I was like, well, now what? Now he's the champ. What do you do next? Because it was him like versus everything trying to stop him from doing that, them throwing everything at him to prevent him. But once you have your hero kind of accomplished, it's like, we just talked about collecting earlier, me and Double A, and we were like, when the hunt is over, you're just like on to the next hunt. You know what I mean? We're a regular couple Cravens right here. We're like,
ooh.
I didn't want to get. Maybe I shouldn't have got it. You know what I mean? That's why you always got to have something like this in your that you can never have. You'll never.
I don't know what Joe means right here. I don't remember. Well, their Chuck was getting.
Oh, was it maybe been about the turning the lights off and watching the Superman show in the darkness naked? No, I wasn't.
Roxanne says, I remember seeing where Lois was hungry for Chinese and he flew to China to get her food. I was like, oh.
Yeah. Omni-Man did the same thing.
Rizzo says, very true. That haircut was awful. Definitely ruined her appeal for me.
Damn, somebody send me a pic. I need to see this, Lois.
Joe says, it was all to sell more toys.
I can't imagine Terry Hatcher not being hot. Sorry, I'm stuck on that.
No, me too. That Superman show went everywhere.
Yeah.
Joe says, I like the Justice League episode where Clark goes home for Christmas.
Ooh, nice.
Shit, I don't remember.
Hit me with an episode number and title, Joe, so I'll check it out.
Roxanne says Flash called himself Post in
Smallville. Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
But when he's reading the ID cards, he's naming he goes Wally West.
Neat.
Barry
That's
Allen.
neat. Yeah.
So
I remember when the Justice League came out. It was interesting.
It's actually Impulse, and for some reason, I don't know, with DC with all their bullshit, for some reason they couldn't call him Flash. So they had to call him Impulse.
There was a version, like a Kid Flash called Impulse in the comics.
But for some reason they couldn't just come out straight up and say Flash.
Okay.
For some reason. I don't know why. It's like when they really wanted to get Batman on Smallville, but for whatever reason, they couldn't.
Did Bruce Wayne come out?
No, they never couldn't. For some reason. There was like even within their own fucking company, there's you can't use him.
Right. That's weird. It's kind of funny because in our Titans episode, me and Amy kind of talk about how one of the things I tell her one of the things I liked initially was I was like, I felt like maybe it was going to suffer from that. That's what I thought initially in season 1. And I was like, oh, they're going to do a lot of stuff. But I kind of like when things are like, there goes, Gotham's billionaire right there, whatever. It's like you're not saying it, but you know who it is. I like when it's for you.
But see, they never even make mention of anything
so that's different
whatsoever.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Like Green Arrow was supposed to be the Bruce Wayne Batman character.
And is it Stephen Amell?
No, it's the one before him.
Oh shit! I didn't even know there was.
Yeah, there was and he was for what the fuck's his name? Justin Hartley.
Oh, okay.
And he was like the Green Arrow, like for a lot of people, he's Green Arrow. Like for me, I'm like, wow, he's Green Arrow, not Stephen Amell.
Okay.
For me, it's Justin Hartley.
Shit, I always thought that those overlapped. So that's
no, they didn't.
I didn't know that. All right, interesting. But I do remember they had that one episode, and there was or episodes. I guess I saw one, but it was there was the Justice League, and they showed the guy that's like Arthur Curry, but he's just got an orange shirt and green shorts.
Green
and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. John's in the house.
Holty Bear joins the fight, as they used to say in the old games.
Smallville, awesome show.
Let me move it down here. Oh shit! I'm always fucking this up, guys. You know.
Right there, and then Roxanne says, "Just a good old boy."
I guess regarding Jonathan Kent,
and she loves Jonathan Kent. Yeah. the John Schneider.
You just love guys named Jonathan, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Joe says Lex owns stuff in Smallville. I thought, yeah, LexCorp had a company. So Lionel sends him out. Pretty much, they always like reference like a lot of Roman stuff. He sends Lex out to rule the little fucking community. That's why he put Lex in Smallville.
Okay.
Was to grow his own company, a small fucking shitty company that was struggling and to make it money. That's why he sends Lex to Smallville.
Okay.
So that's why.
Okay. All right. Interesting.
He said he owned a castle. John says Margaret Kidder.
Yeah, we talked about Margaret Kidder.
And then Joe says that theme song would get me. I guess that saved me.
Oh yeah, somebody
Joe sings it. Oh, well, John says it, and then Joe has it.
And
somebody
we're singing
save me,
now.
Remy Zero, and yeah.
Riz is behind the scenes. Oh, okay.
Behind the scenes.
Yeah, or the BTS.
I was like, Batman the series. I don't
Riz,
know.
you know, we ain't up on all that young
sure
lingo.
Fucking.
And Roxanne also BTS behind the scenes.
Okay.
And Joe says Pam and Jim. Now I want to read the comment about the behind the scenes comment. Fuck, man. See, guys, this is why we shouldn't do it like this. But what are we gonna say?
Yeah, I was like, wow, BTS. What the fuck?
I know. I was like, what? Is that like a BDSM?
I don't know. It's somewhere.
I know, guys. You know what? We're just don't trust when we're.
I already had like
show.
4 or 5 beers.
Yeah, me too. I'm fucking getting.
Oh man, yeah, John Renacci. Don't forget the talent mix. She ran a fucking coffee shop. I forgot. Lois ran it.
And what was the Talon? Was that the name of the?
Yeah, it's the name of the coffee shop.
Okay.
Yeah, because
they're the Hawks. The Ravens.
No. They're what the fuck are they?
Falcons.
They were fucking birds.
They were a bird, right?
Yeah.
The crows.
The crows.
Yeah, look at that. See that? I know some shit.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Everyone's always getting on me.
So the fucking talent.
Every time I guest on a show, somebody's like, well, you need double A here to tell you. And I'm like, fuck you. No, I don't.
Hey, that's awesome. Yeah. That's cool.
All right, guys.
Oh, shit. I don't even know what you're saying, Rizzo.
See, that BDSM, that's what we're talking about, some dominatrix shit. Now you know. Let me get my zipper mask
And John comes in and says, crows.
Why do we got to take our Superman episode to these places, you guys?
Did you like the colors, too? Because they always made him dress like either blue, yellow, or red.
I did love that. See, I like little things. I like little nods like that.
And
like
then the kryptonite. They used
blue shirt, but red jacket.
Kryptonite.
There's a lot of kryptonite.
They used a shitload of it.
So they were like... Krypton blew up, but there's a big ass chunk.
It was a whole bunch in Smallville. So
that's funny.
Joe says they covered the Christmas episode on one of the Last Tisses podcast.
Oh, nice. Okay. Oh, cool. Okay.
Joe says it was Robbins.
I gotta go hear that. After every episode, go ahead.
John says after every episode they would advertise all the songs that were featured. Yeah, in the show. Yeah, they would. So you can, I guess, download it.
Buy them on compact disc back then, and
they would actually sell like Smallville soundtracks.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice. I remember a lot of shows did have soundtracks.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's get back into the recording. What may potentially be the last block, we think. I think possibly. We'll see here. But we'll get into it, and we want you all to keep commenting. Glad you guys are all here joining us, hanging out on the eve of my birthday. Our tribute to Superman, the greatest superhero of all, in my opinion. And it's the day before.
I'll say that too. He is the greatest hero. It's not my favorite hero, but he is the greatest.
We'll take it. And John says that was the talent mix. Wonderful. All right, guys. Okay, guys, and as they say on the Now Watch This podcast, and we're back. Although
you're gonna get sued.
Yeah, we're gonna get sued.
You're gonna get sued for this shirt.
Don't stick your lawyers on us. Right? Yeah, I think this S is from the New 52 Superman. That's why it's got the sharp edges or whatever.
Is that the Jim Lee one?
He might have drawn some of it. Joe, if Joe's still here with us, chime in and let us know. But
and John says real quick, happy birthday, you old bastard.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that, Hilti Bear. And Joe says
he's the first hero, I believe.
Well, we would say he's the first superhero. There may have been heroes before him.
There was Zorro.
There was Zorro, and the Phantom, and the Spirit.
With the guns.
And I guess if you count, at the guns. And David fought Goliath. I guess he could be considered somewhat of a hero. Jesus died for our sins. I don't want to take it too far there, but whatever. Superhero-wise, he did have powers. Jesus also had powers, so there's that. But we digress. So we're talking TV. We got through
Smallville.
Do you feel like you got through more?
Yeah. No.
I really wanted to hear your thoughts because I know you love that show so much. Yeah. And Superman's not your guy, but you gave a lot of your time.
For Smallville, it was. It was a really good show, well written. Everything was perfect about it.
And it's so funny because probably the age you were doing that show, the age I was when I was doing Lois and Clark, was when I was like, that's just so cool because it was like a superhero show on TV, and it was like the '90s, and we were reading like maybe some of those comics. So it was so much fun. But and
then we get like the movies during this time period. Well, like Superman Returns came in during the Smallville run, but then it was afterwards. That's when DC, I guess, started getting kind of serious about maybe their own universe. Yeah. So after Smallville, that's when we got the Man of Steel movie. So it wasn't too much stuff for Superman, like TV show wise. Until finally, like, what, 2-3 years ago, maybe?
Yeah.
When they finally introduced a whole brand new Superman, which is on Supergirl first.
That's right, the Supergirl show. And we didn't even talk about that, 80s movie, the Supergirl movie that had come out. But obviously, Superman's so popular, people were like, well, where's Supergirl? You know what I mean?
There's He-Man, where's She-Ra?
Sure. Yeah. So you just, don't get creative and you just
She-Hulk.
Yeah, you just basically give a girl a costume. It's like, okay, we have no creativity. But that girl that was Supergirl in the 80s was beautiful. I thought.
Helen Slater.
When
she came on Smallville too.
And was she also the one where she shaves her hair short in that one movie?
The Legend of Billie Jean.
Legend of Billie Jean. I like that movie. So very hot. You know what I mean? I like the outfit.
I know she was going to come to a Comic-Con in New Braunfels like a year ago. I was actually going to go meet her.
Damn.
But she canceled at the last.
I would have gone with you for that. That would have been one of those ones where it's like, we're just going for this one. Let's just go for the day. It was in New
Braunfels too. Yeah. So it was just going to be like, boom, boom.
I'd have been down.
Yeah.
So. I'd have been like, can you carry me or something for the picture? You know what I mean? Not right now, probably. Lighter back then. But anyway, she was hot. And then they made a new Supergirl show. New Supergirl show comes, and that goes cute too, which is now ending, I believe, or it has ended already. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think all those series have already ended.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, that the Arrow one has. So that's the thing. But like Double A said, in that show we get this Tyler Hoechlin,
new Superman.
We all knew him from a little boy in we did.
That's right.
Road to Perdition with Tom Hanks or whatever. He's a little boy. This little boy grows up and gets cast as Superman. So that costume was a little bit different, but looked cool. It was neat. And I didn't watch those episodes because I didn't know that show. I got my first glimpse of him when I watched that Infinity Crisis one. I wanted to see that. Infinity Crisis. Is that
Infinite Crisis?
Infinite Crisis, yeah. Crisis. Everything is Marvel to me. See, I'm a DC guy, so I've been told. But yeah, it's Infinite Crisis, that little series, and I was like, that was my first time watching like the Batwoman show.
Yeah, I had never seen. I was
like, what? I had never seen Flash.
I never saw that one. I never saw Arrow.
I was like, all right, this is cool. But it was neat because I got to see like the Ezra Miller scene.
That was fucking cool. I'm glad he agreed to do that. Yeah, that was really cool.
And that I guess, well, the movie people allowed that as well. Like, we'll let him pop up.
That was cool. So
so very cool. They were multiversing it before other people were multiversing
Conroy
it.
got to come out. He actually got to play a live action
Bruce Wayne. At one Batman. Yeah. So very, very cool. Obviously, we see Brandon Routh in the outfit again.
Awesome, man.
And again, this Superman is there. The Tyler Hoechlin. I hope I'm saying it right. Tyler Hoechlin. Superman is there, and we get to see that Lois, who's played by, damn it, her name escapes me. But I think she's beautiful, and I think that she's a lovely Lois. I really like her.
I was going to ask you, how's her Lois?
I think she's a fantastic Lois. Okay. And here's the thing. The show I want to talk about is the latest incarnation of a Superman show, which is Superman and Lois. It's that Superman, Tyler Hoechlin is there, and that Lois, damn it. I want to remember her name. Somebody help me if they're out there. Look her up. But she's beautiful and she's wonderful. But the main aspect of this, and they were going to come to the
they were
Celebrity Fan Fest. They were. Yeah, I was looking forward to it. I mean, they were not up there with like Luke Wilson and of course Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor, but I would have said they would have been the next tier that people were really interested in.
If he came, would that have been your first Superman?
That would have been the first Superman I ever met. Yeah, and I don't know how many people have met a Superman unless you've met.
I came close to meeting Dean Cain.
Okay,
starting a little bit.
Okay,
a lot.
And so you know what? I may have met one of them just for that aspect because I did love that show and adore it during its time or whatever. Although what you said about his recent comments, Elizabeth Tulloch is her name, the current Lois.
Who's recent comments?
Dean Cain's the ones you told me about. Where he was like, I'm like, oh man. leave your politics out of this. Man. We don't give a fuck.
I'm like, you're Superman, bro.
I'm like, what you're doing is alienating those con fans that would go pay to go see you right now. Like, leave it out. Nobody cares.
I think he was charging like 80 to 100. I was like, whoa.
I'm not paying that for that guy.
I was like, that's Christopher Reeve price, bro.
Yeah. So I think that this Tyler Hoechlin and Elizabeth Tulloch that were coming, it was only going to be like for both of them like 120.
Yeah, it was
for
cheap.
both. That's cool.
A real nice price.
I would have got picture and autograph from both. But what helps it, not just because they're Superman and Lois, but I've been watching the show and I really love it and adore it. I think it's fantastic. He's a great Superman and he's a great Clark, and it's a different take on the story. If you love Superman like we do, you've probably heard every story under the yellow and red sun.
Hey.
So you're like, hey, what do you got different? Well, how about Superman has twin sons? How about one of them has powers? You know what I mean? Like, that's different. You know what I mean? How about they move back to Smallville from Metropolis because Ma Kent dies. Spoiler alert. Sorry, guys. You know what I mean? I'm like, but you got to progress the story a little bit, right? And how about you have Superman dealing with things that he can't just punch or heat ray vision, but your kids are angry, angsty teens, which some people might be annoyed by. They're like, those kids piss me off. And I'm like, that is life. And if you're like around our age, you're not. Oh, you're at one teenager, right? You know what I mean? So, and you're on your way to a second. Like, eventually that will make a lot of sense. So it's interesting to see Clark, you know what I mean, deal with these type of dilemmas. And again, Elizabeth Tulloch is a really savvy, really, I think, beautiful, smart Lois, and Lois as a mom. And you're seeing Clark as a dad. It's like, we've never seen that before. I haven't, and maybe it's in the comics, but I haven't read those. So I really like and enjoy this aspect of the show. I will highly suggest anyone watch it. It does come from I think what they call the Berlanti-verse, which is like that Supergirl, that Flash, that Arrow, like where they were like at one time all, a thing or whatever. So, out of that infinite crisis where that happened with amongst those characters, this is amongst that. But I do feel like it's kind of separated itself. It looks really good. Where we're at right now, there's not like a Lex Luthor unless it's supposed to be the John Cryer one or whatever, but they haven't gotten to that yet. Yeah, it may be, but I don't know. I kind of feel like
I think he was a Lex for Supergirl, right?
Maybe.
I think that's where his Lex was.
And I do feel like they're trying to separate themselves a little bit from the rest of that stuff, which I do like. You know what I mean? Like, they're under themselves. Okay. Superman encounters some things that are different. You know what? I apologize. There is a Lex Luthor. So to speak. I'll say that because I don't want to ruin it for anyone that can still watch it. I think it's only one season out. They've been really great. It's been engaging. It looks good.
Did they bring any of the big bads or no? Like a Brainiac or a Parasite?
No, not like that. Not like that. Yeah, no. But there's some interesting stuff happening. Okay. I'll say that. Okay. And I think that this first season is now over. So I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for the next season. I think it did get approved or whatever. I think the two kids that play the sons do a great job. And again, if you love Superman, it's a fun, interesting, and different take on it. And I think that anybody could easily get into it and like it. So I think that's where we're at now. So it's like, if you still want to see Superman on small screen, at least you can. He's there.
So it's crazy, right? It's like, we gone through this 83-year journey, and it's kind of like either he's on shows, TV shows, or he's in the big screen, and he's always there, and they don't even realize it until we started talking about it. 50s, then he pops up, later, like in the 80s, 70s, 80s with the Super Friends, Superboy,
and the movies,
then the Lewis and Clark, the movies in between,
like 90s, and the
Smallville
cartoon
comes out, covers that
2000s,
whole 2000s, and then Justice League and Man of Steel and Batman versus Superman. I mean. Yeah, and then the new show, you know. So
it's like people say the world needs Superman, and DC will always go to that well because I think that even in his failings is still successful, I believe. You know what I mean?
When you do it right, people can connect with Superman when you really do it right. And, that's what I loved about the Smallville. It was so grounded where, you can, like, really... Like, he dealt with a lot of shit, not just with the fighting, but I mean, like in personal life too, his longing for Lana,
the relationship
and
stuff.
Lois, that you could relate to, that you're just like, fuck, man, that sucks.
Sure, no, for sure,
and and then now you're telling me with this show, he's dealing with the marriage and kids.
Being a dad,
It was
yeah.
like, wow,
It's funny because there's little dynamics within the show. Again, spoiler alert, not to ruin it for anybody, but there's little dynamics where you almost get the impression that Lois wears the pants in the house. You know what I mean? Because it's kind of like, well, I gotta run off a lot, and you get that too, where it's like, well, you're fucking always gone. You know what I mean? And it's like, can any one of us relate to that? When it's like, I gotta work or whatever, But
what's cool though is that when you really can like Superman, it's because when you can relate to him.
Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
I think that's why you relate more to the TV Superman than you do with the movie Superman. I think that's the thing that DC's not getting.
Right.
They're not balancing that.
Right.
People connect more. Like I said, for a lot of generation, their Superman is Tom Welling.
Yeah.
Because they could relate to that version. They can't really relate to the Henry Cavill version.
Yeah. The God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, but he played football. He went to high school.
Right. Which, while we acknowledge his power base, it's like, that doesn't make, you're not selling him to us in a relatable way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he spends little time as Clark in the Snyderverse
too.
Which again, it's Zack Snyder, and we know that he's into these big.
Yeah, but even like the relationship with him and Lois in the movie, it feels kind of so far off. It feels like he's right here and Lois is right here.
Yeah.
Like you feel like you need a Wonder Woman.
Right.
to match him.
She's almost in worship mode, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's kind of like, damn.
Yeah. I do think there's some beautiful things in there, you know what I mean? Like, I did love...
No, for sure. But I think it's just people seem to relate more to the TV version.
Sure.
Like I said, George Rizz was beloved.
Right.
Beloved as Superman.
Well, it's like we've said with the current Marvel shows, we get a chance to love you. You know what I mean? Like, I get a chance to...
Elizabeth Olsen. I can't imagine anyone else that had such a big boost in popularity because we got to see more of her. I mean,
totally.
People fell in love with Elizabeth Olsen.
Yeah, totally, man. She's like the new it darling. You know what I mean?
So it's kind of like, it's weird. Like the only one they really seemed to get right was Christopher Reeve, that people loved as Superman on the movie.
Right.
Then afterwards you haven't had that like like Henry Cavill. I like Henry Cavill, I do, but he doesn't have that same pull.
I agree.
It's like everyone's like, if he gets replaced, it's not like, I don't think there's going to be a huge backlash. Whatever.
I mean, to me, it would suck because he didn't get his chance to really get a good one.
I would say so too. I would be mad if he got replaced, which I thought he was going to get replaced at one point.
Yeah.
And then when you say who's going to go to Marvel and play some fucking sorry ass character, I was like, really? No. You can't go from Superman to that one.
No, I'm like, don't take that role. And if he's a nerd, like Joe said, then it's like, you should know, like, hey man, I'm not going over to Marvel to play anything less than like Wolverine or something like that.
Someone beefy.
You know what I mean?
Like
Namor.
Namor. Yeah, like I gotta have my own fucking like where I'm the boss.
Exactly. So, but yeah, and also I didn't mention, but I mean, like to kind of continue on the Titans thing or whatever, like from our Titans episode, is that if you're watching it and you're up to it, again, spoiler alert, turn off now if you're not caught up on Titans, at least by season 2 towards the end. You get Connor Kent, which, people like the Connor Kent character or whatever. And it's like, there you go. You get the Superman from the 90s Return of Superman, Connor Kent, the half clone of Lex and Superman or whatever. And it's really neat in this version. They put Crypto in there with Connor. So it's kind of cool. Like I said, you get Superman's kind of on TV twice in a sense right now, in a way. And, I do like how the comic kind of gave him this basic Superboy costume. It's like jeans and like a black shirt with the red hats. I'm like,
that's terrible.
All right. I mean, the 90s one looked kind of cool with his leather jacket and stuff, you know what I mean? But I'm like, all right, if you're going to go really basic, I mean, you can't get any more basic than that.
Jeez.
But that kid looks good too. He's a good looking kid, and he's a fine Superboy in my opinion.
Wow, so, that's cool. So they have Connor in there. Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it further proves that the world needs Superman. To touch briefly on it, AA, but I don't know what year it is. We talked earlier a little bit about the song. You don't tug on Superman's cape, you don't spit into the wind, but Superman's been in numerous songs, you know what I mean? Eminem has a song called Superman, he's saying I won't be your Superman, you know what I mean? But the famous Three Doors Down, the Kryptonite song, you know what I mean? The theme from Scrubs, people love that show, I'm no Superman. But
that's right.
It's there's numerous, numerous songs. Scrubs, you like that show? I've not really ever been. I don't like Zach Braff.
Really?
So, no.
Oh shit!
I even watched Garden State, which I think I know he wrote and directed for Natalie Portman because I adore her.
What's his name? The sergeant from Platoon, the third sergeant.
Barnes.
No, not Barnes, not Elias.
Oh, yeah, the Neil.
Yeah,
him. He's in the Scrubs.
He's
right?
fucking hilarious. In
Yeah,
Scrubs.
I have seen scenes with him in it, and I laugh at him
He's
or whatever.
funny.
You know.
Yeah.
I know. I think Joe's a big Scrubs fan. He's like, you like Scrubs? You know what I mean? So, but I never really given it a chance because I just don't get off to Zach Braff.
Why?
Even in that, I don't. Yeah, he annoys.
Really?
He to me is like a young Ray Romano. Like I don't okay. like that like neurotic. Like even like Ben Stiller really walks the line. Like I'm like. Like I'm like you're getting like into Woody Allen territory. We're like
I don't think he's that bad at Scrubs.
Okay.
I don't think.
Yeah.
So
maybe I need to check it out. I need to give it a chance. There's some stuff I haven't watched.
Maybe you don't like it.
I'll give it one or two. I'm willing to give anything a shot because I never watch either like Community or There's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
I hear everyone talking about the Philadelphia one.
And Danny DeVito's in it. So.
Everyone keeps telling me, it's like, you like pop culture, you're gonna fucking love this show. I'm like,
Charlie Day. You know what I mean? I think he's funny because I liked him in the Bosses movies, the horrible Bosses.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, I mean, like, if you want any Superman in your life, there's no lack of it. I don't know when it first originated, where they started to say that the symbol of the House of El, you know, we call it the S, you know what I mean, is the symbol for hope.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, does it come out in that series? They mentioned that. But
it might be.
I felt like I first heard that in the... the Snyder versions, you know what I mean? They were like, this symbol means hope.
Russell Crowe.
Yeah, and I loved that. I loved it being that. I love hearing Ben Affleck say, like, it has to be him because he inspires people. Like, Batman's weapon is fear. Superman's not weapon, but his essence is hope. That's why he leads the Justice League. That's why he's the first superhero. That's why he's, out there. When I think about Superman and Marvel in comparisons, not power wise, but just like morality wise, I think about Captain America. They're both idealists. I could see these two guys going to like a 4th of July parade together, eating apple pie together, and even drinking a beer together because they would still do that. You know what I mean? Like, they're both, in my opinion, Americans and patriots, and they're both the best versions. They're what you aspire to be. That's what Superman is to me. Like, you aspire to be like that. And again, while I understand some things Batman does and get it, I would not aspire to be like Batman. You know what I mean? That's not for me. I would aspire to be like Superman or Captain America. He's the best version. They're the best version of what we can be, what we want to be, and maybe what we need to be. What about you, Double A? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Superman's awesome. He should never be presented like in a dark way. Mm-hmm. He is a character for hope, strength, for honor. Yeah. I mean, man, he's just a really badass character. Right. I don't know why no one can seem to have so much trouble writing him. Yeah. It's weird how you have so much trouble writing this dude. Yeah.
I think, again, it's a little bit of a commentary on our culture where the main thing right now, everyone is so wet for, what about evil Superman? What if Superman went bad? I'm like, you know what? It's because he can't think outside of, nobody. It's almost what Stark tells Cap to go Marvel is, I don't trust a guy without a dark side. And I'm like, that's your problem, Tony. Yeah. That was your problem. Yeah. And that's why you wanted to wrap the world in armor, because you were afraid. Captain America and Superman, they're not afraid of anything. No. They really are men without fear. Yeah. And for good reason. For most part, nobody can fuck with them. You know what I mean?
No, but even like that part where he walks up to Thanos.
Exactly.
Before, Strange teleports everything.
Exactly.
He just gets up and he fucking... He's like walking towards him.
Even in the comic, right? In the comic, he goes right up in his fucking face. These guys don't back down. And that's what's amazing about them. That's what makes them supermen, superheroes, Double A, any comments on musically, anything like that comes to your mind?
Just that Three Doors Down.
Okay.
Really.
Okay. I'm sure we have some comments. Guys, we got about 10 minutes left in this block. I'm going to open up the comments. Let's read through some of them now. Maybe we'll get through the episode in this block, but if we don't, we'll go to the next block. I do have to pee real bad, though, which I often don't say on the show, but we want to read
Okay,
some
right
of
there,
it while
right there.
while we're on live.
Joe says preach. Joe says Helen Slater's so hot.
Yeah,
Joe says fair is fair. Billie Jean.
that's right. That's a great one. I didn't like when she cut her hair though. I need the long hair. I need the long blondie.
That movie's prices, bro.
Flash is still going. Oh
okay.
yeah. Oh, that's right. That's
Oh,
right.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
that kid is good. That kid's a good Flash.
Joe says love the parenting aspect of the show and love the girl from Entourage.
You know what? I don't know Entourage, so I don't know. Is that the Lois? Who's the girl from Entourage? Is it the redhead, Joe? Because I do like her. She's cute.
Rizzo says, yeah, Dean's comments for sure were tone deaf and unnecessary, but he was on Fox, so what do you expect?
Yeah, there you go. Right? You got to play to your audience, right there, Riz.
And he says, and of course he didn't read the comic issue that he was commenting on.
What an idiot. Huh? Don't ever talk about comics you haven't read, guys.
Joe says, there's a lot that don't relate to Henry as Superman, but I love him.
Yeah, agree. I agree. Just like how I've come around, and I never was not around to Ben Affleck as Batman. I think a lot of people now understand and like Ben Affleck as Batman. I know I do.
I don't know what Joe's saying.
Joe says, yeah, Joe, that one comment came in a little. The suit with the S is on there. I don't know. Either way, let's move on, Joe. Get back to us on that comment. John C. McGinley, that's who we're talking about from Scrubs.
And then Joe says the Scrub podcast is good.
Okay.
It's hosted by Zach Braff. Zach Braff and the one who plays his best friend in the show.
The dude from Clueless.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're really like best friends.
All right.
Joe says everyone loves Raymond.
Not me. I do not love Raymond. That show sucked, and I did not watch it.
Rizzo laughed at your comparison to him being a younger Romano. And he goes, dude, Joe says, dude, watch the Brendan Fraser episodes of Scrubs. I know why he's telling you, because you're going to cry with those.
I will, because I love Brendan Fraser like everybody else in the world right now. And
yeah,
he was great in Encino Man.
So that's why he wants you to read.
Okay, I'll watch him and cry.
True justice in the American way.
Damn right.
Joe says they will live with you in the light, Clark.
That's right.
Rizzo says, but Tony was right.
That's incorrect. That's incorrect, Riz.
Joe says,
Team Cap.
Joe says that's why you cry on your left scene.
Oh, that's right. That is why I cry on that.
Joe says Lois, I think.
Okay.
And then Joe says there's a lot of people out there that have the Superman tattoo. Oh man.
Oh, I know. Some undeserving.
But that's the other thing too, right? People get because it's like for them it's power.
Right. Yeah. Like, he's the strongest. And
like
I'm
Shaq, right? Diesel.
Yeah.
Right?
Diesel. Yeah.
He's Superman. He's a tough guy.
That's not. Yeah, you're missing the essence of it.
But still, that's a reason why people get the Superman symbol.
I would get a Superman tattoo if I wrote an issue of Superman and it was published by DC. I'd be like, okay, like I worked on this comic book. You know what I mean? But even at that, I would try to get like a different one than like what is out there. You know what? I get the Kingdom Come one. I've never seen anybody with that. Hey, y'all don't steal my idea, the Kingdom Come tattoo on that.
Joe says it's hope.
That's right.
And Rizzo says Captain Bucky sitting in the tree.
Yeah. That's right. Guys, what other songs out there? Did we miss some Superman songs? I know there's a bazillion. Because I actually typed it in Spotify, Superman, and it gave me like a big old list. Whatever. But the first ones I saw were the Eminem one and then the Three Doors Down one. But I know that it's been the subject of he's in so many songs, because again he has permeated.
Pop culture.
Yeah. I would say American culture and global culture. Probably.
For sure.
You know what I mean? I know there's different versions of him overseas and all that, so you can get overseas comics, things like that of Superman. He's just the icon. He's my favorite. Again, because he is truly something to aspire to be. There's so many of these interactions he has within some of the books I talked about where he just has this really human approach to things, but he's not human, but yet he is. How about the whole speech in Kill Bill?
Oh,
Volume 2.
Yes, yeah.
What a wonderful moment.
Do you believe that?
Not entirely.
Maybe that's what Tarantino.
I think Bill missed
the
point of what we're talking about because
his critique. Humans that were
that
bumbling idiots. I was like, wow.
No, you know what? His vision was almost kind of maybe what you could see Silver Surfer seeing it as having not lived amongst us. see, Superman has lived amongst us, so that's how he knows that, you know, we're flawed, but we are capable of greatness, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's probably like a villain.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah. Riz says, fun fact, RDJ improvised a line where Tony calls Rogers a liar. And then Joe says, the big blue Boy Scout, Clark is how Superman sees us.
There you go. Joe's listening to you on Kill Bill.
I was going to say, yeah, you know, I don't think that. Again, I think that there is, you know, he is trying to be as inconspicuous, as far from a Superman as he can. You know what I mean? Like, you know, talking about back at the George Reeve Clark, it's like, even if you didn't like Superman, you'd still like the George Reeve Clark because you're like, oh, this guy's like a cool guy. Like, you know what I mean? Like you look at this guy, you know what I mean? He's like looking good in the suit as a reporter. He's got a great job, and he's good at his job. It's like, you could look up to him anyway. You know what I mean? Like, when you make him like bumbling, it's kind of like not all there, you know?
Because that's the way Zod sees us.
Yes, I do agree with that for sure. You know, Zod. So, I don't know.
Let me ask you something. How do you feel about his 90s hair?
The long hair? You know what? I think that it was like okay at the time because it felt like, okay, he'd come out of something. You know what I mean?
And what do you think about the black costume?
The black costume was, I thought looked cool. When there was no cape. I know now like they kind of put the cape on.
They did, and it's kind of like gray with like the silver S.
Yeah. Yeah,
so,
but I think in the comic he didn't have that cape. It was just him in the black suit because there was a figure of it and the long hair. Yeah. I think if you think about it in that time, like this is him returning from death, and when the black costume got explained to me that it was like meant to absorb more sun. Yeah, like black would absorb more sun.
Smart.
Then that's pretty cool. Like I like that.
I had a figure of him. They had released that one with the cape, and Albert tried buying that for me so long, and it was actually like a hot toy. I didn't even know about it. I just liked it because it was.
Did you sell it?
It was a black Superman. No, I don't even know where it's at.
Oh, so. Albert, you missed out, buddy. I would love to see it myself. That we talked about
I know Boy has it. I know he packed it away. I don't know where. So
interesting. Yeah, interesting. Well, I mean, I could talk about Superman all night, AA, but unless we have anything else,
I could do this all night.
Yeah, I could do this all day. Unless we have anything else, we should probably.
Let me see. Rizzo says, "Isn't that why CM had his long hair?"
That is actually
lighting 90s Superman. Hey, I didn't even think about that.
Absolutely.
Joe says, "Batman, deep down inside, Clark's a good person, and deep down inside, I'm not."
I don't know what you're talking about, Joe.
And then,
is this from a movie, animated movie?
Well, I think he's trying to be like Batman said.
Oh, okay.
And then Rizzo says, "Just kidding." I don't know. I never thought about that. Maybe he was growing his hair because of Superman.
That's it. That's right. And then, what did y'all think of the Nick Cage Superman?
I think it looks stupid. I'm glad they didn't go.
Yeah, I'm glad that it didn't happen. Although I would have liked to have seen Kevin Smith's Brainiac script.
It was cool. I'm glad they actually had someone think about Brainiac.
Yeah.
So, but Nicolas Cage looked horrible.
No, it didn't. That was like, whoa.
And Joe says that's why Batman will win. He would never have a chance. I'm sorry. It's bullshit. There is no kryptonite bullet. Superman would just come real quick and break his fucking leg.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think more maybe what you're trying to say, Joe, is that, like, and I've heard Batman say this, is that Clark is more human than even he is, and he's not human.
He wouldn't give Batman time enough to think. He would just fucking lobotomize him.
Yeah.
From far away.
If they even had to even come to it. And I think that Superman respects Batman a lot. I think he does respect him a lot.
He's rich.
You know what I mean?
Why not?
Respect rich guys. You know what I mean?
Fuck Batman.
There you go, right there. That's the same thing Dick Grayson said in the first episode of Titans. So, I don't know if I'm going to get it out. Double A. Should we go to the next block?
Sure.
We'll go one block more. Okay. We take a quick stop right here, guys, for the cause. There's no commercial. Let's call it a quick break, and then I'm going to wrap it up in the next 5-10 minutes. I don't even think I got to say 10 minutes. It just went to the loading screen here. Double A, can you handle this while I take a quick restroom break?
Yeah.
All right, guys. Give Double A some business. Thoughts on Superman?
How about thoughts for this? Joe says everybody likes Dick. So, I don't know. Why he's taking a piss? Anyone want to comment? Do you think Superman is the greatest? I don't like that, man, so I'm not going to say he's the greatest. Is there any stories that you can recommend? Any DC movies that you would recommend? I don't even know where to start. He's going to go play with his Robin. Yeah, he is going to play with his Robin. Is there any DC movies you can recommend, Joe? That's just about Superman. Not Justice League, just Superman. You agree? You think Superman's number one? Smallville is a really good show. In case you guys haven't seen it, it's on Hulu. If you guys have Hulu, Why the Last Man? I don't know if any of you guys saw that. The first 3 episodes are out. It was a pretty good show. It's about a plague that wipes out all the males and on the planet, even animals. All the males on the whole planet. It's a pretty good show. It's 3 episodes in. It's going to be premiered every Monday, so check that one out. Any of you have a comic selection of Superman? Who's your favorite Superman? Is it George Reeves? Is it Christopher Reeves? Is it Tom Welling? Is it Tyler Hoechlin? Tim Daly? You know, Joe says, I like that. Egon, Richard Pryor. That's CM. CM loves Superman 3. I'm not a big fan of Superman 3. I think the sister was a take. Yeah, she's supposed to be Brainiac. I read that later too. I didn't know that was supposed to be Brainiac, but yeah, that kind of sucks that it was. I don't think Richard Pryor should have been in the movie. I know he was shit hot. I know he was a hot comedian. So, what about Superman 4? You guys like Superman 4? You know, Nuclear Man. I know he was supposed to be like what CM said, Connor. DNA of Superman and DNA of Lex Luthor, I believe. Nuclear Man was supposed to be. And, and then I don't even know. We didn't even talk about John Cryer was in Superman 4, and he ended up becoming Lex. Joe says, Brainiac is the villain we need. Yeah, Brainiac was really cool in Red Sun. I saw that movie, Red Sun. And the way he played Superman was pretty damn good. So, good on him. I mean, I would like to see Brainiac. He's really badass in the Adventures of Superman. I really became a big Brainiac fan there.
All right, what I missed?
Joe says that the Brainiac character, we're talking about Brainiac and saying how the sister was supposed to be kind of like a Brainiac version of Part 3.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I totally forgot about that. And then
I remember that scene being kind of scary. I think we talked about that before or whatever.
Then,
but when she gets wrapped up in the wires, I was like, what in the fuck?
And then I forgot John Cryer comes out in Superman 4. It's kind of funny that he went to play, Lex.
Maybe that's why they chose him.
And then I forgot, too, you're mentioning Connor. Isn't Nuclear Man supposed to be
a clone of
them two, right?
Yeah, you're right. That is, I think, the story of that one.
So I was kind of like, oh shit! I wonder if they might have got that and kind of
rolled with that. Yeah, they did
because he got the hair right. Remember where they have to?
That's right. Yeah,
his
it's
hair.
the strand that's holding up that big.
It's like 1,000-pound ball or something.
Yeah. Which makes you think, would it be like hard to like fold or like why does it?
Yeah, I know, right? I was like,
how the hell do you manage it? You know what I mean?
Joe says, who could play Brainiac?
Does he need to be a human? Should you CGI it? You know what? You need a great voice. You know what? I'm gonna go with this. You maybe you CGI somewhat the body, but right there, the Watcher himself, Jeffrey Wright as the voice. He's already got that like an icy, like a cool sounding voice. I'm telling you, he's at the top of my like voice list right now, like amongst like your James Earl Jones and your Morgan Freeman's. I'm like, damn man, this guy's got like, he can kind of pull off, like a creepy, whatever, you know what I mean? Like I like him as the Watcher, so I would say maybe do the CGI body somehow and then Jeffrey Wright's voice. Okay. Or you could put somebody in a suit, I guess. Do you think he has to look humanoid or
no? Because I've seen a lot of comics drawings where he looks fucking creepy, like as a robotic thing.
I remember him from Super Friends in that silver, and he was kind of like, it looked kind of almost like alien-ish or whatever, you know what I mean? And it was like freaky. But I remember how the animated series one looked when he was like that kind of purple and like, but...
You know who did a real badass job voice acting? Michael Ironside. When he did Darkseid. His Darkseid's pretty fucking cool.
Interesting, okay.
From the Superman...
Is he still alive?
From the Superman animated series. Yeah,
okay.
He's still alive.
Be good. I'd
be for that. Cool too because it was like you had Michael Ironside doing Darkseid, and then you had Clancy Brown doing Lex Luthor.
That's awesome, man.
So that's pretty cool, right? The two Highlander guys.
You know what? If he wasn't already, I guess. Depending on how they switch it or whatever. I mean, like he's Alfred, but Jeremy Irons is.
Jeremy Irons would be really good.
I kind of like always have thought like Jeremy Irons would have been like a good Doctor Doom also, like, but you know he's so old. You know,
No, that's the thing. You always like. I always want to say Doctor Doom's supposed to be like an older character, but I always forget he's supposed to be the same age as
Reed.
As Reed.
So it's about how young or how old you make your Reed or whatever, you know. So
hey, you got to make them like what, in their 30s?
Yeah. Now, could you have him maybe do the voice like inside the suit? Once Doom's in the suit, you get Jeremy Irons.
Oh wow!
But I don't think so. You're going to keep the voice of whoever you get to act the role, you know.
Almost.
And maybe like alternate a little. I'll alter the voice a little. Where are we? Did we read through all this already, right?
Yeah.
Then you're right. Jeffrey
Batman.
Wright's going to be Gordon
right,
now, so
right.
you know, we're scooping up all the good actors or whatever. You know, what about?
Could you see a woman maybe doing Brainiac's voice?
That would be interesting. That would just be an interesting concept altogether. I could go for that. You know. What about Lawrence Fishburne?
I love his Silver Surfer.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Again, more like kind of like
With
icy
Doug
and
Jones's
cool and
movements.
Yeah.
Loved it.
I could kind of see maybe like a Lawrence Fishburne too. What do you think about on that one, Joe? Lawrence Fishburne is that? He said, "Fuck, the dude that's Dwight Schrute." Rainn Wilson as Brainiac.
Oh, jeez.
All right, that'd be definitely a more comedic take on it. Maybe I don't know. You might be able to play it. Oh, Stanley Tucci. Oh, that's good.
Stanley Tucci.
Where you know him from?
No, him as Brainiac. I'm trying to hear his voice.
You know,
for Brainiac.
As far as maybe like body wise, what about that Mark Strong? You know Mark Strong? He was the villain in the first Shazam movie.
Oh, him. Yeah.
I mean, you know, he's kind of
his
plays a villainous guy.
Too.
Yeah.
His voice is pretty
And he could even maybe do like a makeup thing or whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
His voice is pretty good too.
Or
what about Jude Law? Just does voice as Brainiac?
No, I don't think so.
No, really?
Too English. What about what's his name? What's the other guy? Oscar Isaac.
Oh man, I love Oscar Isaac.
He was
I don't know though. I don't know. No, I mean, he has like such a subtle voice.
Yeah.
It's not really like commanding.
Right. Yeah. Okay, that's a good point.
Yeah.
You need that more like strong voice.
Yeah, but I do like him. Like I like him a lot in A Most Violent Year.
Yeah.
He's really awesome in that one.
Although that movie, the year wasn't very violent.
For them it was. For them it sure fucking was.
Was it? Man, I don't know, man. That was a real snooze to me, though. Like,
I liked it a lot.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did.
Shit, maybe I need to rewatch. I put that one. I ranked that one up there with Mean Streets, where I was like,
no, that one I liked it a lot.
This movie?
No, I liked it a lot because they're hijacking a shitload of his oil.
Yeah,
and trying to find out who the fuck it is.
Right.
Yeah.
But man, it just was such a. I don't know. Wow.
I liked it. I liked it.
And I like him and I like her. They're in that new thing on HBO.
Scenes from a Marriage.
Did you watch that one?
I haven't because I'm afraid to see it.
Okay. Yeah, I know those usually turn. I watched the fucking. Thanks, Kylo Ren in that one with Scarlett. I was like,
that's why I stayed away from that.
Man, what a bummer. Huh?
What about him?
Adam Driver.
Yes. He has a great fucking voice for that kind of shit.
Yeah, you know what? We need Adam
especially
Driver.
When he sounds like in the mask in the Kylo Ren.
Yeah. There we go, Joe. Adam Driver as Brainiac.
Don't bad talk Mean Streets, he said.
Oof. Not my favorite Scorsese movie.
Joe kind of looked like my Jude Law one.
Okay. All right.
And then he said Rick from The Walking Dead.
Andrew Lincoln?
Yeah, Andrew Lincoln.
Carl.
He's
a little guy.
Cal.
You know, I like that. I like that, Joe. I could see Andy Lincoln pulling it off.
Oh, he didn't like you talking bad about Mean Streets.
Go watch the Scorsese episode, Joe. You hear me talk about Mean Streets there. Did we lose Rizzo? Riz, he's still out there, man. It might just be us three guys hanging out here. But ready to close it out, Double A?
He says no, his English voice. Oh, Rick from just in his English voice.
Oh, well, I think about Love Actually.
Love Actually,
it's super English in that one. Yeah. So are we going with the CGI body? I don't know if I don't know. Now I kind of want to see somebody in makeup. Like,
oh, really? No,
well,
I think we should do.
Well,
CGI.
once you said, you know, and
Adam
Driver, because he's big.
He is big.
Yeah,
he is pretty fucking big.
He fucking probably knock old Henry Cavill around a little bit. You know, okay. I mean, not beat him up, but I mean,
I know what you mean.
Not that Brainiac really fights, right?
he can get physical when he wants. But
Okay.
usually, no, I don't think he chose.
I was gonna say,
like
you don't
Red
want
Sun was perfect
to degrade,
right?
Yeah,
Of how they use Brainiac.
yeah, where he's like a real manipulator.
Manipulative,
Yeah.
And he's got the weapons to kind of take on Superman, somewhat.
Now I'm thinking about what a dark side fight would have looked like in the damn movies. We didn't get really. I mean, we saw that little bit with him and the old gods, but I'm like, damn, should have really got fucked on that one. Oh, Riz is like, heard my name. Sorry, I had to step away for a second. Oh, no, it's all good.
And Joe says, I've watched the Scorsese episode. And then he goes, no, that's why Stanley Tucci would work.
Yeah, okay. So we're going to go with the voice.
He says the devil wears Prada is Stanley Tucci.
I only watched the pornographic version, The Devil Wears Nada.
Oh,
that was the one I watched. But
yeah, I was like, sorry, Joe, I've never seen that movie either. Does he sound cool in that movie?
I like him in lots of stuff. Like,
I do too.
He's Professor Erskine, and he's I like him in that Easy A movie where he's the dad of Emma.
Yeah.
Emma Stone? Is that her name? But yeah. Let me borrow that one. See how I got you, Riz.
Prada is great.
The Devil Wears Nada.
Joe says that face on with Darkseid was great at the end.
Yeah.
And Joe says Prada is great.
Joe, will that be in the watch box for the Now
shit.
Watch This watchers? I don't think you're going to convince Lucky on that one.
Hey, you might pick up your female audience.
There you go. That's true. I don't know how the female audience is doing, but it might do good. You guys are definitely invited if I go out and have a drink on Saturday to join. I will let you know. I know that Joe's going to be eating elotes in Austin, I guess, with Albert. More important than my birthday.
Man.
I'm only turning 40 once, but whatever, I guess. I mean, you can still sell them, Joe, on StubHub. Riz, if you can make it out, it'd be cool. We're trying to go somewhere maybe kid-friendly, I think. I'm not sure somebody can go out there and play. I did not talk about that, you know what I mean? But, the love for Superman extends right into family names, so I won't go into too much detail there. But those of you that know. But let's start recording again so we can close this one out. What do you think, Double?
Oh, shit, we weren't recording?
No.
No, we're recording. No.
All right, let's get it back in here.
Damn.
All right, guys. So there was a block there you missed. If you're listening to us on audio, I went to the restroom, and Double A handled the visual duties here. If you were joining us on Facebook Live, or you were joining us on YouTube, if you're watching this. But the episode is fattened up here a lot more than we thought it was going to be a quick one. Not the case.
Yeah,
but
that doesn't look very appealing.
Yeah. Oh gosh, no. Yeah, when she did cut her hair, I just saw the Terry Hatcher short haircut. I mean, I'm not gonna tell her to leave my apartment. You know what I mean?
No, hell no.
No, I mean, it's not as nice, but it's not terrible.
Not season 1.
No, that
Clark.
Long, what I call it, like a long bob.
Yeah,
I don't know what you'd call
that was
nice. But yeah, Joe says he definitely will cover The Devil Wears Nada. I know that would be up Lucky's alley for sure. Guys, we talked all things our favorite Kryptonian, the Metropolis Kid, the Man of Steel, the Man of Tomorrow. Tonight, my favorite superhero of all time, Superman, Clark Kent, the kid from Smallville. Double A, what are your final thoughts on it?
Superman's just a really badass character when they actually do it right, and he can prove to be very popular when they do it right. It sucks that I have to say it when they do it right.
Yeah, the episodes you sent me of that animated series,
yeah.
You really chose some really interesting episodes.
Yeah.
I love that little list. You chose the one where, he dresses as Batman. He kind of has to use his brain, like he's thinking.
Even like those Justice League, I wanted you to see with Vandal Savage, where he accidentally gets transported.
Those were so great,
that was
too.
A great episode.
Yeah, those were really great.
He's using a lot of his instincts because he's not powerful.
He's not powered, yeah. You know what I mean?
So it was pretty cool to see that, too.
Yeah. And I always hear the arguments like, oh, Superman can't fight. And I'm like, no, Superman can. He just does not have to, so he does not. You know what I mean? It's like, but they do say the guy can read a book in seconds, and he can train in seconds, and he can do all that he could read an entire library in like less than an hour. You know what I mean? So to say that he doesn't know that, and I do know that they did even introduce some type of Kryptonian kung fu, which people don't like or whatever, but they were like, that was, I think meant to answer some of the questions or whatever about that, but we still are reading comments here. We got the comments going as we're in our last moments here of this episode.
Hey, Joe is still defending Devil Wears Prada. He said Meryl Streep is an American treasure in Prada. Okay.
No one's going to deny Meryl Streep's, value. The woman has the most Oscars, I think, of anybody, man or woman.
Shitload of times.
Yeah.
Rizzo said, yeah, she's not that bad, but definitely not her best.
Yeah.
She lost some points.
Yeah, lost some points. Definitely. Keep the hair long, Terry.
Joe says, happy birthday, Chuck. Great show, boys. Thanks for the Thursday show. Missed the live shows.
Yeah, man. We miss having you on, Joe. We really appreciate it. Man. Great work on Now Watch This. It's been really good, man. Been loving it. Love the Monster Squad one. You were a vicious defendant of Monster Squad over Goonies, despite what box office numbers may have said.
Yeah. So. And Rizzo says, I love that one with Super Stress as Bats. That was a great episode, man.
I probably had seen some of those, but it was that, Double A gave me this 5-6 episodes.
It was just like 5.
And like I said, I could burn through them pretty quick. And so I was watching and I was like, man, these are like so solid.
They're really good,
he chose these ones that showcased a different side of Superman than just punching the bad guy and overpowering them, which he can do. This required him to have to, think and showcase those aspects of Superman that don't get showcased because people use him like we saw in the Snyder Cut, where he just shows up at the most direst of moments and really outmatches the opposition and, hard flex, I'm Superman and that's that, Joe says, I'll send you the Scrubs shows to watch. Great, Joe. Don't forget the Superman stuff also, the animated ones that you really enjoy. Zach Braff, tough sell for me.
Yeah, that's crazy. I never even knew anything from him other than fucking Scrubs. So.
It's funny. Well, like I said, Garden State, I watched it because
I know, but I never had heard of that dude until like I saw Scrubs, and I don't know anything else where he would come out from. So.
I know, but it's funny because I compare him to Ray Romano, and there's a scene.
That's fucking funny too.
In that movie, did you watch Funny People with Adam Sandler?
I only saw a little bit.
Okay, there's a really great scene where like Ray Romano, like he has this party, Adam Sandler, and it's like celebrities there, and Ray Romano is there, and he's talking with Adam Sandler's talking with Eminem, and like there's a scene where Ray Romano like looks over from the table, he's like looking at Eminem, and he's like, "What the fuck are you looking at?" And he's like, "I'll kick your fucking ass." And he's like, "Hey, don't look at Eminem no more." Whatever. He's like, "No, I won't." But and Eminem's telling him, he's like, "I thought you were dying. Like you should have fucking stayed dying." He's like, I can't go to Target. I can't go to Best Buy. He's like, I can't go anywhere. He's like, you're fucking stupid for not dying like you were gonna die. It's a pretty funny scene. You guys haven't seen Funny People. I like that one better. One of the better Adam Sandler ones.
Joe says, if you don't like Braff, you'll love the janitor. The janitor is a character.
Okay.
Rizzo says, I wonder if there's some deep fakes out there with Zach Braff's face on. Everybody loves Ray.
Yeah, there's just something about like when a guy plays like a too neurotic of a character. Like I start to lose. Like I'm like, ugh, all right. Like I said, Ben Stiller really walks that line a lot of times in the movies where he plays like the straight man. When he's over the top, I love him the best. Like I love him in
Happy Gilmore.
Yes, that one because he's over the top. Yes, and that one he's over the top. But when he's always just like kind of like
Meet the Fockers kind of.
Yeah, like I'm like, all right, like it's like, that's like a little bit too much. Okay. Yeah, like I'm like, I can only handle it in doses. I like him when he's extreme Ben Stiller. You know what I mean? That's I think when he shines. But yeah, guys. I mean, like
Zoolander.
I said, Zoolander is an excellent example of when I like him, Ben Stiller. But yeah, guys, Superman, again, my all-time favorite character. Thank you, Double A, for this suggestion, man. For my birthday, talk about my favorite character here. For your birthday, we got to do your favorite character. I'll love that conversation, too.
Yeah. I don't like to celebrate my birthday, so...
Yeah, well,
I don't give a shit.
Nor do I. I was having a little bit of birthday blues earlier.
I don't give a shit about my birthday.
I actually do feel the same way in many ways. And I mean, it's like I think it's just that we switched subjects so quickly. I was like, oh, I need to get something quick or whatever. But I did like your other backup, and we should get to that. Send me some stuff on that to watch because
okay.
I watch a lot of that, but I need to like narrow it down. Yeah. You know me, I like to try to tighten it up. Even though y'all know my research is shit, and then I never have any facts anyway, and rely on you guys to do all the work for me. So it's always fun.
Rizzo says The Secret Life of Walter Mitty was great.
I'll give that a chance.
Hulu, so.
I've heard good things about that one, so I would watch that.
Okay, and then Joe says we'll do a Super 3 Now watch this show.
All right,
Wow.
yeah, and speaking
Is
of now watch,
Lucky gonna be involved? I mean, like, is he gonna be like awake for Superman?
we do have something in the pipeline with now watch this, guys. We're not all locked down yet, but it's in the pipeline, so that's good. Yeah, your research is sitting next to you. Yes, it is. I know. As often I get told. So
that's funny that you get told.
That's great. I love it. I tell them the same thing.
That's fucking funny.
I'm like, I mean, I said I wish I could just dial him up all the time, but the man's busy. So, but guys, I love talking Superman with all of you, and especially with you, Double A. Obviously, like I said,
Love the character.
Even with Smallville, like that's a huge chunk of a show. You would think that as a Superman fan, I would have just watched my way through, but I guess I just did it.
It was in the 2000s,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm not saying that I would never not revisit it, so I certainly would. And I would definitely, we should definitely look back at some of those old Lois and Clark episodes just to see what the highlights were.
Big time.
Especially since it's on there. And I would suggest anyone check out Superman and Lois. It's a great, different, alternate take on the character. And, I love the Snyder stuff, you know what I mean? Like I said, I own, I think, just Man of Steel or whatever, but I have the other ones, I think, on digital copies. Like, and I would look at them, you know what I mean? Again, I mean, Snyder Cut's on HBO Max, so, I mean, I'll watch it or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, I thought it was awesome, so.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and again, like, getting back to the comics, I mean, got to read Kingdom Come. I would suggest Grounded. There's so many, you know what I mean? There's so many great Superman stories. They did that big volume of that 80th anniversary one, which you can just, get some of the classic stories in there. I think they even wrote new stories for that.
Yeah, so they usually do. Like, maybe new stories. One or two.
Yeah, so that's pretty sweet, too. I haven't heard a lot about the Bendis one.
I didn't either, man. It's weird. It's like Bendis, I don't think did what they were hoping he was going to do, and same thing like Azzarello when he teamed up with Jim Lee. I don't think that one did what it was supposed to.
Interesting.
Which is crazy. They're like two of my favorite writers. So.
Yeah, it's just funny. Some guys can't write a certain character.
But they said the Jeff Loeb Batman Superman that was like one of the best.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Jeff Loeb, I don't know, maybe he's better.
I do love Jeff Loeb. I think it's how you handle the character.
I think so too.
I don't know if Ennis could do a great Superman story because it's like I don't know how he would feel towards that type of character.
Yeah, I don't think he likes those kind of characters.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So it's like you're not going to do that well or whatever. You know what I mean? But someone like Jeff Loeb, I definitely could see.
Yeah, they said you know what I mean? I've heard that run was great, was excellent. That actually outsold this one.
Interesting.
The Jim Lee Azzarello one.
Yeah.
And that was supposed to be the moneymaker.
Damn.
Because Jim Lee had just came back.
Right.
So he, So.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, there's I really want to get into that First Thunder story or whatever. I've got that at the house. We could check that out too. But guys, unless there's anything else, Double A, close this one out, guys. Thank you all for being here with us so long in this long episode in my pre-birthday episode. But something we always like to say at the end of every show, and that is, if there is something that you want to do, guys, something that you want to accomplish, make happen, a dream come true, or seek,
Siegel and Schuster,
like there
creating
you go.
Superman.
Yep, the guy,
the ultimate hero.
Superman. Yeah, you got to seize the day, guys. Go out there and get it done. It's only waiting for you to make it happen. So do that. And although this is a Superman episode, we'd still like to quote Cap, as he says in Endgame, you got to do whatever it takes. Again, we talk about, all the various incarnations of Superman, people that wanted to bring this property and this character back into the forefront of their minds. They made it happen. You know what I mean? They, proposed a Lois and Clark show, proposed a show where Superman has kids, proposed a movie where Superman has a son, you know what I mean, that he doesn't know about.
Right, him and Lex are best friends.
Yeah, that too. That, you know what I mean? And it ran for 10 seasons. Whatever it takes, guys.
Seize the day.
You got to do it. Seize the day and do whatever it takes. That's what we always say here, just another Friday night. Last few comments here, it looks like. We'll read
just
those.
saying goodnight.
Rizzo, Joe. Thank you both guys for being here so long, too. My favorite guests to join us. Some of the two fellow creators of things who I think both seize the day and do whatever it takes.
Yeah,
so they live the motto and the mantra of just another Friday night. But guys, for myself, CM Chuck.
Double A.
We are out of here. Have a good, safe night. And
we'll see you next Friday.
Next Friday.
Yeah.
And you're going to like that one. It's going to be good. All right, guys. Good night. And up and away.